What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
12BH. Chapter 286. Why is this woman so strong? One more. Advertisement. Driven by Kenichi, the Uchiha clan quickly made up their minds and sneaked into the Hokage building in an attempt to kidnap Uzumaki Mito. Despite being obstructed by the Onbi ninja, however, under the powerful illusion of Uchiha's clan, these dark ninjas quickly defeated. On the one hand, the Uchiha clan prepares more. On the other hand, it was because these dark ninjas didn't expect it at all. The Uchiha clan will do it at this time. What do you want to do? When Uzumaki Mito reacted, she was surrounded by the Uchiha clan. In fact, these Uchiha people have no idea of hiding their identities. If this matter can succeed, then their patriarch Kenichi will definitely become the new Hokage of Konoha Yin village. Power is in control. No one at all would care what means Yi Xianyi relied on to become Hokage. On the contrary, if it fails, they can also find out that they did it through clues. After all, the pupil technique of the Uchiha clan is too obvious. Based on this and other relationship, these people directly clarified their identities to Uzumaki Mito. Under Uzumaki Mito's wary look, the Uchiha clan retreated to both sides like a tide, giving way to a path. The slowly coming ninja is not someone else. It is the current patriarch of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Kenichi. Master Mito. Shanyi's hands were naturally drooping, his head held high, and his whole body exuding a terrifying aura and strong confidence. He walked step by step. Sheni. Recognizing the person who came, Uzumaki Mito frowned and asked loudly, "What do you want to do, Kenichi?" Seeing the posture in front of him, Mito couldn't help but feel a bad feeling. However, she did not lose her mind and yelled. Instead, pretending to be calm, he looked directly at Uchiha Kenichi, took a deep breath, and slowly exhaled it. Immediately afterwards, at the moment his eyes closed slightly, Mito decisively activated the unique ability of the Whirlpool clan. Kagura's eyes confirmed the condition of the entire Hokage building. Now that the door is not there, he left the Onbi ninjas stationed in the Naruto building, all of them fainted. It is not difficult to see that Uchiha Kenichi came prepared this time. We just want to get back what belongs to us. Kenichi thought for a moment. The people who established Konoha Hidamura were not only the Thousand Hands clan, but also the Uchiha clan. But now, Kenji not only kicks us out of the Konoha political center, but also suppresses us in various ways. It should be us who is Hokage. Advertisement. Shion made a loud noise, as if all his mistakes were committed in a thousand hands. Hearing this, Mito also immediately realized Kenichi's purpose, so she subconsciously touched her stomach. These guys clearly want to rebel. He did not hesitate to become Hokage through a coup. Obviously, the bones are still not cold between the pillars. Dream. Without thinking about it, Mito said, the best candidate for the second generation of Hokage is Feijien. This is an indisputable fact. It is the result of the hope of the village. Kenichi, you are the patriarch of the Uchiha clan. I advise you to dispel this stupid idea before things become difficult to stop. Otherwise, it will only make your clan fall into the abyss of immortality. Even in the face of the elite geniuses of the Uchiha clan, Mito did not show the slightest weakness. On the contrary, she has a tough attitude and full of momentum. He didn't act like a weak woman at all. Rao is Kennel, who can't help but admire the current Mito. If you were replaced by someone else and saw such a scene, I'm afraid I would have been frightened and fainted, and begging for mercy. Today's things, I can assume that nothing happened. Seeing that the Uchiha clan remained silent, Mito further emphasized, even if it is not for you, I must take care of your family. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. However, Mito's words, like a fuse, completely ignited the bomb in Shanyi's heart. It's useless to say more. Uchiha Kenichi quickly made a gesture. The two Uchiha people on his left and right drove straight to Mito. Although the Whirlpool clan is very famous, Mito is only a woman after all. Where can you go even better? Moreover, they are all the geniuses of the Uchiha clan who have opened the eyes of righting rounds. Any ninjutsu, illusion, and chakra flow can all be seen through. However, bang, bang, there was a percussion in the room. Mito's physique is far more powerful than they thought, and in just one round, her fist hit the door of the first person to rush towards her. Then he raised his leg with one foot, and almost cut off the other one. Next second, Mito grabbed his skirt and pulled it hard, exposing the leggings underneath. Although it looked a little embarrassing, it made her move more freely. Thump. Advertisement. Wow. The two ninjas rushing towards Mito flew out on the spot, and one hit the coffee table in the back. The other crashed into the kitchen. Countless plates crashed and fell on him. The corners of Shion-il's mouth twitched unnaturally. Thinking about it, Uzumaki Mito's ability to marry Zujian is not only the identity of the princess of the Uzumaki family. She herself is also an extremely powerful ninja, and also inherited the best lineage of the Maelstrom family. That said, how can a woman who can seal the nine tails be a waiting person? Seeing that the tribe wanted to continue to take action, Sheni immediately stopped them. In his opinion, this kind of thing would only waste manpower in vain. You are not the opponent of this guy. Shion finished his words, kicked his feet directly, and quickly approached Mito. Oh, what do you mean, you must be my opponent? Mito couldn't help but chuckle, and then released the unique ability of the Whirlpool clan. The silver white iron chain burst out from her back and entangled towards Sheni. King Kong blocked. I saw Mito yelling, facing Kenichi. When other Uchiha people saw this, they were all dumbfounded. No one thought of the combat power of Uzumaki Mito. It's so amazing. Is this the wife of Master Zujian? Okay, what a powerful force. The unique sealing technique of the Whirlpool clan. For a moment, these people were dumbfounded. Rao is the head of the patriarch Uchiha Kenichi, and he can't help but feel exhausted for a while. The speed of this silver-white chain was faster than he had imagined. The dynamic vision of Sengoyu Shaolunyan can't be captured. In that case, Kaleidoscope writes round eyes. In an instant, Kenichi Uchiha will upgrade his writing wheel. The 3-go jade rotates quickly and becomes a kaleidoscope pattern. This sudden scene made Mito unexpected. And Sheni seized this opportunity and quickly released the illusion. Uzumaki Mito only felt his brain sink and lost consciousness. Chapter 287 My grandma was kidnapped. 2 more. Advertisement. Hefeng hurried to the Hokage building. Since the death of Zujian, he has been busy and helped with many things. Now I came to the Hokage building, in fact, to find Uzumaki Mito. This is actually what I mean. Although the loss of the pillars made many people feel sorry and sad. But in his opinion, the most sad and regrettable person. It is undoubtedly the wife of the eldest brother Zujian. Whirlpool Mito. She is undoubtedly the person who loves the eldest brother the most in this world. In order to avoid her feeling uncomfortable, Fei Jian used the task as a reason to ask Hefeng to go to Mito to discuss some trivial matters. In fact, it is for the spirit of Mito to have some sustenance. After all, as soon as the eldest brother Zuma died, as the younger brother, he always ran towards Mito. It's a bit bad after all. However, when Hefeng came to the Hokage building, it looked strange and quiet. He can hear his breathing, heartbeat, and the breeze clearly. This made his heart inevitably have a bad premonition. What happened? Zefeng frowned. When I usually come here, if I can't take a few steps, an Anbi ninja will show up. Then show yourself the way to find the door. But today, not only one of the Anbu ninjas did not show up, nor did they encounter anyone else along the way. If something goes wrong, there must be a demon. It's weird. It stands to reason that the village should be more tightly guarded. Between the pillars is the overseer of the peace agreement. Only if he is alive can the peace agreement between the 5 ninja villages count. Once he is gone, the so-called peace agreement is nothing but fragile waste paper. With his mind in mind, it is impossible for him to have such a vision. The Hokage building is undoubtedly the top priority of the village. Oops, Hefeng suddenly thought that this Hokage building was not only an office place, but also a place where Hokage lived in the past. Although Zhu Jian is dead, Uzumaki Mito is the sister-in-law of Shu Jian and the most important person in the village, Zhu Li. She still lives here, which makes sense. At the same time, it is precisely because there are 9 tails in her belly. So it is not strange to be coveted by other ninja villages. Thinking of this, Hefeng squatted down suddenly, his index and middle fingers pressed together against the floor. Next second, Hefeng decisively activated the ability of Kagura's Hard Eye. Advertisement. Perceived the entire Hokage building. I found out. In the room between the pillars, a large number of ninjas are gathering. A conservative estimate is that there are more than 15. In the ninja world, this is already a ninja army. At the same time, Hefeng also used Kagura's eyes to confirm the location and status of Uzumaki Mito. His chakra flow is becoming stable. Have you hit the illusion? No wonder those ninja chakras, I would feel familiar. Hefeng muttered to himself and judged the identity of the other party. Combining with the previous rebellion by those people Uchihasera. Hefeng immediately realized the other party's true intentions. Excluding all the impossible, then the remaining possibilities seem no matter how impossible it is. They are the only and correct answers. The gentle breeze rolled his throat, and his eyes widened suddenly. Most of these Uchiha clan guys were vying for the position of Hokage, so they stretched their poisonous hands to Uzumaki Mito. Trying to use the 9 tails in her belly. Otherwise, how to explain that these Uchiha clan guys used illusions on Mito? Kidnapped her. These guys have rebelled over and over again, it's really enough. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The gentle breeze spit out, his legs were like the wind, and he strode towards the room where Mito was. At the same time, with his powerful kaleidoscope illusion, Kenichi abruptly controlled Mito, and then stepped forward and carried Mito on his shoulders. Leave here quickly. In his opinion, it won't be long before all this will be discovered. It must be done quickly. However, just when Xian Yi carried Mito into the corridor outside, he suddenly saw the guy appearing at the end of the corridor. Not gentle. Who else can it be? Really? When Xian Il discovers Hefeng, Hefeng also notices Xian Il. And Mito on his shoulders. The patriarch of the Uchiha clan. Hefeng's eyes narrowed slightly, and he deliberately avoided Xian Yi's. So as not to launch his illusion successfully. Where do you want to take my grandma? The gentle breeze has a low voice, with a somewhat questioning tone. Sheni couldn't help but stunned. He never thought that he would encounter the kid Hefeng in such a place. By the way, he is not an ordinary kid. It's a pretty powerful kid. Advertisement. Not only inherited the wooden escape technique between the pillars. Also learned the fairy mode. If you fight directly with the wind here, maybe it will attract the fate, or more Anbu ninjas. That kind of situation. It's not what Sheni wanted to see. He took a deep breath and simply handed this place to others. Carrying Mito on his own, he chose to escape from the window. The remaining Uchiha clan looked at each other, and some chose to retreat with Kenichi. Probably only 5 ninjas were left, procrastinating in the wind. Shani's goal is even more direct. After jumping out of the Hokage building, he went straight to the residence of the Uchiha clan. I just want to escape now, isn't it too late? The gentle breeze made a low voice, chasing after him without even thinking about it. Mito is not only his current grandmother, but also the most important person in the village. In any case, Sheni cannot be allowed to succeed. Boy, do you think we eat dry food? Be immersed in the illusion of writing round eyes. Dead. Seeing the Japanese wind rushing up, these Uchiha ninjas tried to stop the Japanese wind. However, how could their strength compare to the current gentlemanship? I saw these people using Shaolin Yan. Hefeng almost didn't hesitate at all, and he also opened the writing wheel. And, his current writing wheel eye is already a kaleidoscope level. Even if it is in the state of 3 gold jade, it is better than the average writing wheel. Those illusions that were released were actually returned by Hefeng in the same way. Thump. A ninja from the Uchiha clan fell immediately. Click. Immediately afterwards, he patted his hands with both hands. The tree world is here. The vines spread out from the floor under his feet, growing wildly, and directly patted all the remaining ninjas on the wall. For a time, these ninjas are all firmly bound by the Japanese-style wooden escape. Immobile. These people are all geniuses of the Uchiha clan. At a young age, he had 3 Guyu Jade writing round eyes. However, in front of the wind, it is still vulnerable. The strength between the two sides is fundamentally different. Hefeng didn't even look at them, but he chased them out in a stride. Return Mito to me. Chapter 288 Right round eyes. Who hasn't? One more. Advertisement. The combination of the writing wheel eye and the Kagura heart eye has improved the tracking ability of the Japanese wind by several levels. Moreover, although Hefeng's body is only 8 years old, its quality far exceeds that of his peers and even adult ninjas. If you want to catch up with Uchiha Kenichi, Hefeng can easily catch up with the 8-door Dunjia. However, Hefeng did not do this, he just used his perception ability to firmly lock Uchiha Kenichi's position. Then he kept a certain distance and followed him silently. Soon, Uchiha Kenichi left the center of the village with Mito on his back. Even the retreat route was calculated by Uchiha Kenichi. Although there will be a few passers-by on the way, as long as you use the illusion of writing round eyes, you can easily bring them down. The Uchiha clan's writing wheel eyes, despite their strong pupil skills, are not as good as the Uzumaki clan's ability in perception. Chakra, who couldn't feel the gentle breeze, thought that the 8-year-old kid had been delayed by the master of the clan. Without thinking about it for a while, he took other members of the tribe and returned to the station together. This action can only succeed, not fail. Yun-Il thought to himself. He could even feel his breathing become a little fast and his heart pounding faster. If the plan goes well, it is successfully implemented. Then he is the new Hokage of Konoha Hidden Village. On the contrary, once it fails, the patriarch of the Uchiha clan took the lead in rebelling. Undoubtedly, the entire family will be pushed to a situation where it will never be restored. This is a dangerous move. It's almost here. Looked at the station that appeared in sight. Xian-Il's heart was slightly relieved. Just break the seal on Mito, release the 9 tails, and then use illusion to control it. In the whole village, no one will be his opponent. Whether it is a gentle breeze, or a fate, will only die under this violent force. By then, the Whirlpool Mito will become a victim of this coup. Although this is somewhat cruel to Mito, for the glory of the Uchiha clan, she can only be wronged. Kenichi muttered to himself, and glanced at Mito on his shoulder. Although Mito is now an elderly person, her skin is still breakable, fair and tender. It looked like the skin of a 9-year-old girl. The facial features are exquisite, like a young girl. Even Kenichi could smell the faint fragrance floating from Mito. For a while, Sheni couldn't help feeling jealous of Zuma. In terms of strength, he is recognized as the god of ninjas in the ninja world. Advertisement. Born to have such a powerful blood succession boundary as Mu Dunshu. The amount of chakras is even more exaggerated. Marry this flowery whirlpool Mito not to mention. He also has a grandson of monster-like genius like Hefeng. On the other hand, I was unremarkable. During the Sengoku period, it was suppressed by Uchiha Madara everywhere. In the village, all parties were suppressed. The children born are also incomparable with the wind. Nowadays, I have to rely on a woman to come back. This kind of thing, Rao Shisheni himself, a little despised himself. But he has nothing to do. The power of the 9 tails in Uzumaki Mito's belly is vital to his plan. However, just when Shanichi was about to enter Uchiha's station, Hefeng suddenly opened the 8 doors Dunjia, continuously opened the triple restrictions in the body, and greatly increased his strength and speed. I saw the wind passing through the Uchiha tribe like a wind blade. After an emergency stop, he turned around and stood in front of the first class of Shion. He put his arms around his chest and closed the 8-door Dunjia. He raised his head to look directly at Sheni and the others, his voice was low, and he used a tone that was almost commanding. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi, let go of that. The sound of the breeze stopped abruptly. What he wanted to say was, let go of that girl. But he reacted violently. The Mito that Kenichi carried on his shoulders was not a girl. She is now in her 50s. And, in terms of relationship, she is her grandmother. Anyway, let her go. With a gentle breeze, he raised his own volume and warned Sheni and others. The Uchiha ninjas present were all dumbfounded. Because just now, they left 5 masters in the clan to delay Hefeng, and then ran back to the station without looking back. Result: Hefeng just caught up with them. Then, isn't it the same as saying that all the Uchiha ninjas who stayed there were all killed by the wind? Is this kind of thing really possible? Look at it. A Uchiha ninja couldn't help exclaiming, his eyes widened. Because of the momentary surprise, everyone did not react. Advertisement. Now that they were reminded by their companions, they suddenly noticed that Hefeng's eyes had turned into Shalanian. Moreover, both eyes are 3-go jade. Rao is looking at the entire history of Uchiha's family. He had a 3-go jade writing round eye at the age of 8, and it never happened. This guy is a real genius. Nothing to fuss about. Kenichi Uchiha noticed the reaction of the tribe and immediately reprimanded him loudly. Keep them calm. Don't be affected by the gentle writing round eyes. In fact, as early as in the game, he noticed the gentle breeze, and had the ability to write round eyes. Even when Huohei and you returned to the station, they even mentioned this to the tribe. It's just that everyone thinks it sounds mysterious, and they didn't take it to heart. Now that Hefeng really has a writing wheel, I was shocked. But as Sheni said, now is not the time to be surprised and shocked by this incident. The most important thing is how to hold back the wind. Don't let him influence his plans. You hold him. Xian gritted his teeth one by one, simply slammed his heart, and ordered the other tribesmen to stop the wind. He took Mito and ran towards the shrine. These ninjas of the Uchiha clan naturally chose to obey Kenichi's orders. They stepped forward quickly, surrounding the breeze. But what they didn't even dream of was that Hefeng's eyes had changed again. Not to close the writing wheel eye. Instead, the 3 Guyu swiftly rotated in Hefeng's eyes, disappearing, and replaced by a red 6-pointed star. Every ninja who noticed this process of change glared at him and took a breath. I only felt a gust of cold air spreading from the top of the head to the soles of the feet. Hefeng, this 8-year-old kid. Did you turn on the kaleidoscope writing wheel? Come on, just kidding. Even the geniuses of these tribes have no way to spy on the power of the kaleidoscope. Result: Hefeng, a stranger with a foreign surname, actually opened a kaleidoscope to write round eyes. Still at the age of 8. This kind of thing simply shattered their cognition of Shaolun Yan. However, just when they thought that the breeze was excessive enough, a majestic chakra burst out of Hefeng, and it became materialized on the spot. Chapter 289. 8-year-old Susanoo, I asked if you were afraid. 2 more. Advertisement. In full view, Hefeng not only directly opened the kaleidoscope writing wheel, but also released Suzuo Nohu on the spot. The purple chakra envelops Hefeng's body like a flame, then materializes a white bone, and then extends an arm from the shoulder. Kaleidoscope writing round eyes. Susanoo, a lie, let's not say that Hefeng is the grandson of Senjujuma. How could he master Suzuo no Shi when he was 8 years old? The ninja of the Uchiha clan was dumbfounded on the spot, only feeling that his brain was hit hard by someone, and his consciousness was spinning around, and there was an extremely unreal feeling. Without exception, they are all ninjas born in the Warring States period. Follow the strong Uchiha Madara. On the battlefield, I witnessed Uchiha Madara using the power of a kaleidoscope more than once. Suzuo Nengu is one of the representatives. At that time, they dreamed every day that they could open the kaleidoscope to write the wheel. Use this Susanoo who only Uchiha Madara can do. But with the end of the Warring States period, they had to give up this idea. They even feel that in a peaceful era, it is impossible for someone to master Suzuo. Uchiha Madara is undoubtedly a swan song. Until the emergence of the breeze, they completely shattered their ideas. The reason why they can't open Suzuo Nengu has nothing to do with the era of war and the era of peace. Their talent alone is not enough. Compared with geniuses like Hefeng, they are synonymous with waste. Even unleashing the gentle breeze of Suzuo Nengu did not treat these people on the spot. He didn't even have the desire to shoot a spike. I chose to ignore it directly. This is the current Zephyr. He kicked his feet, shook off these ninjas, and chased after Xian Yi. And these ninjas, despite being dumbfounded for a while, have displayed ninjutsu and illusion. As a result, the most proud of their Uchiha clan, Huodun, could not break through the defenses of Susanoo. Illusion doesn't work even more. After 3 or 4 could not breathe, Hefeng directly caught up with Sheni. With his mind, Hefeng controlled Susanoo Nohu, stretched out his 5 fingers, and grabbed it towards Mito. In terms of speed, Hefeng is the same as Kenichi. Hefeng, kid, what kind of monster is it? Sheni couldn't help but complain. He originally thought that Hefeng was just a way of transplanting his eyes to obtain the writing wheel. It's already outrageous enough. Advertisement. As a result, he even upgraded the writing wheel to a kaleidoscope. Rao is the true master of these eyes, and he has no such talent. For a time, Sheni couldn't help but love and hate the gentle breeze. What I love is that he is indeed a unique genius in the field of writing round eyes. Among the tribesmen Kenichi had met, there were strong people like Uchiha Madara. They are far inferior to the current Zephyr. Joke. 8-year-old Susanoo can be. Is this something humans can do? However, what he hates most is his identity. He is the grandson of Senjujuma. Not the grandson of Uchiha Madara. Not even his grandson. If this is the wind, if it can be surnamed Uchiha, then I need to do so many things there. Damn it. Thinking of this, Xian Il's eyes were bloodshot. By now, regret is no longer a useless thing. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. He clenched his teeth, took a breath, and his eyes changed quickly. Instantly upgraded to a kaleidoscope riding wheel eyes like the wind. Next second, Shion no longer hides his own power and releases it with all his strength. In the same way as the Japanese wind, chakra bursts out of the body and materializes it. In an instant, another Suzuo Noga appeared out of thin air, wrapped Shinichi, and enveloped Mito in it. Seeing Kenichi's Suzuo Nohu chose to grab his fist with 5 fingers, and with a backhand wave, he hit the palm of Hefeng Suzuo Nohu impartially. The strong force directly bounced the latter's arm. Let the grabbing of the breeze fail for a while. Don't think about it, stop my plan. Shion turned his head and said viciously towards Hefeng. Hefeng was startled when he saw his grasp being bounced off by Shion Yi. Unexpectedly, in the Uchiha clan of this period, there is still hidden an unnamed master. Mastered such a powerful pupil technique as Susao Nohu. But Hefeng quickly relieved himself. In any case, this Kenichi is a ninja who has lived from the Warring States period to today. He is also the patriarch of the Uchiha clan. Turning on the kaleidoscope to write round eyes is naturally not a strange thing. Advertisement. The opening condition of the kaleidoscope is to lose fetters and love. Nowhere is it easier to witness this kind of thing than on the battlefield. If I remember correctly, Fuyu's writing round eyes were opened on the battlefield of the Third Ninja World War, after seeing the tragic death of his companion. After that, Fuyu has always chosen to conceal it. It wasn't until some time before the night of the annihilation that he told Uchiha Itachi this secret. But, Uchiha Kenichi's writing wheel is not an eternal kaleidoscope. It's just an ordinary kaleidoscope. If that's the case, let's compete, Sheni. Look at our personal kaleidoscope, who is stronger? The gentle breeze has a low voice, unreservedly releasing his power. Even if the corners of the eyes are bleeding, the breeze does not hesitate. More and more chakra burst out of Hefeng, and the Suzuonung that wrapped him grew meridians, muscles, and skin. Then came the peculiar armor. In the form of full body, guarding the wind, then he drew his bow and arrow and aimed at Kenichi. You kid, you really are a monster. Seeing Susao Nogu that the Japanese breeze showed, Kenichi's heart was even more frightened. Although he was a kaleidoscope opened on the battlefield, it was already 3 months later when he was fully adapted to his eyes. Wait until the time when Suzuo Nengu is turned on. It is the 6th fall in which he has these eyes. For 6 full years. And how long has it been since the Hefeng transplantation of Zhuanyan? Hefeng, you are the one with the most horrifying talent among all the ninjas I have ever seen, but... Just when Uchiha Ken couldn't help but praise Hefeng. Hefeng immediately bit his thumb, drew blood on his palm, knotted his hands, and finally stretched his 5 fingers and slapped towards the ground. Bang! A cloud of white mist dispersed. 2 toads then appeared. It is the deep work from Miaomu Mountain, Zima. They looked around, confused about the situation in front of them. Another one, Susanna. Shen Zuo blinked and noticed Xian Il's pupil technique. It's too late to explain, merge first. Hefeng said without thinking, and let Shen Zuo directly, and Jima came up first and talked about it. Shen Zuo exchanged glances with Shima, and quickly followed what he said. Chapter 290. You are looking for a dead end. One more. Advertisement. Shensaku and Shima quickly jumped onto Hefeng's shoulders without any hesitation. Although they are not sure what the situation is, they are more willing to believe in the wind than the Uchiha clan. What's more, they are originally psychic beasts of gentle wind. Shen Zuo, Jima, patted both hands at the same time. The breeze stayed still. The 3 quickly merged. When Uchiha Ken saw this, he had an ominous premonition. Suzuo Nengu, who hastily manipulated his own, shot towards Hefeng. Boom. The 2 Suzuo Nengus collided strongly, stirring up the air, bursting out a terrifying air current, and spreading out in all directions. Because the whole earth couldn't bear this force, it suddenly fell apart, and the cracks spread out layer by layer. Climb the wall of Uchiha Station. The ninjas of the Uchiha clan were dumbfounded. When they saw Hefeng take action against Sheni, they still wanted to go up and help. Result. This power. This shock. Go up and help. Do not make jokes. This force is so terrifying that it can't be approached. Why does Hefeng, an 8-year-old kid, knows the pupil technique of our clan? However, I didn't expect that the patriarch Shion had a kaleidoscope writing wheel. Yes, even Uchiha Madara's Susano, the patriarch has mastered it. If there is no harmony, these people will definitely fall in love with the 5 bodies worshipped by Shion Yi. However, Kenichi's Suzuo Nengu couldn't handle the harmony at all. The 2 sides tied for a moment. Under such a contrast, set off. On the contrary, it seemed that Shion Il was not so good. Even Uchiha Kenichi at this time had sweat beads on his forehead. The heart is extremely frightened, shocking the power of the wind. You know, he is only 8 years old. I understand now, that guy's intention. At this moment, Shion recalled it suddenly. What happened when I first met Baiju? The information that guy has is definitely not simple. Plus the wood escape and fairy modes, I will lose. Shanyi's kaleidoscope is much stronger than Sengoyu Shilunyan. The flow of the gentle chakras is undergoing amazing changes. Do not. Advertisement. To be precise, the chakra flow of Hefeng followed Shensuo, Zima, and the 3 is undergoing amazing changes. Their chakras should have been rivers with no intersection. But now, it seems like a river flows into the sea, converging in one place. The chakra volume of the 3 is turned into a whole. Not only that, but there is also a very special energy that enters the body of Hefeng through deep work, Zima, and the chakra, which merges with the three, merges again. On the corners of Hefeng's eyes, orange eyeshadow gradually appeared. It is the fairy mode under the art of fusion. Mu Dun, fairy model, kaleidoscope writing round eyes, and Shuzuo Nengu. Uchiha Kenichi couldn't help feeling a little mad inside. In his opinion, the 8-year-old Zephyr, to a certain extent, is simply a combination of the pillars and the Madara. I don't know, I thought that the breeze would be born to them. At the same time, Xian Il's scalp felt a little numb. Today, although he is 8 years older than Hefeng, he only has Suzuo Nengu. And on the issue of chakra volume, he is indeed inferior to Zephyr. If just fight like this, I will undoubtedly lose. Yes, it is. After a calm analysis and serious thinking, Xian Il came to the conclusion that he would lose instead. Just when Xian Yi felt a little nervous about this, Hefeng decisively took a step forward, and Suzuo Nohu became stronger and more prosperous under the blessing of the fairy model. Come on. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi accompanied by a gentle sound. The purple Susanna was the first to attack, and a sharp chakra arrow shot out from the purple longbow in his hand. Susao Nohu, who penetrated Kenichi in an instant, passed by his body. If it is not for the safety of Mito, the arrow just now might penetrate Shanyi's body directly. Although I am stronger than Kenichi now, Mito, Hefeng thought to himself. There are also strong and weak points between Suzuo Nengu. Amaterasu, add Earth Fate. They are all very powerful moves. As long as the amount of chakra is sufficient and the body can eat it, it can burn all things in the world. But if this power is used, Mito will undoubtedly be implicated in it. It seems that you can only use the most primitive method. Hefeng muttered to himself, and what he called the most primitive way. It's brute force. Rumble. Loud noises rang from behind Xian Yi, and he immediately turned his head and glanced at him. I saw a huge hole penetrated through the wall of Uchiha's station, and the front and back were translucent. Not only that, but it is the same with his Suzuo. Advertisement. If it weren't for Mito, the power of this arrow would be unimaginable. Yun Yi took a breath, then gritted his teeth and made up his mind. Although his original plan was to kidnap Mito, take her back to the shrine where the Uchiha clan resided, and then release the seal on her. Kyuubi was finally released. But after all, the plan cannot keep up with the changes. Hefeng, an 8-year-old kid, is stronger than himself. Forget it. Kenichi's expression suddenly became serious, and he put Mito directly on the ground. Then she opened her eyes. Forcibly changed the illusion. Enter the spiritual world of Mito. For the current Kenichi, it is not difficult to affect Kyuubi and even Mito. The most evil and majestic chakra volume of 9 tails spread out from Mito's body little by little. But Mito gradually resumed her actions. With her own strength, she stood up from the ground, her white arms drooping naturally. In the world of illusion, she saw the tragic death between the pillars. The tragic death in the door. Even the tragic death of Zefeng. No matter how Mito struggles and stops, it will not help. Kyuubi also began to whisper at this time. Slowly, Mito's consciousness was swallowed. The pale red chakra burst out of her body and swept through her body, forming something like a coat. Mito, who raised his head again, lost the brilliance in his eyes. She looked directly at the wind, but mumbled between the pillars in her mouth. Anyone who reads it can understand how bad Mito is now. Not to mention the gentle breeze of being a traverser. Whether it is 9 tails, Renjuli, or illusion, writing round eyes. No one here knows better than him. You beast. The blue veins on Hefeng's forehead bulged one by one, and he felt extremely angry. Uchiha Kenichi, this guy, turning Uzumaki Mito into a chess piece. This kind of thing cannot be forgiven. Anyway, after crossing into this world by myself and returning to the village. Mito is almost the best person to him. When she was in the game before, she stepped forward to protect herself. Uchiha. Hefeng's eyes revealed an unprecedented murderous look. Chapter 291 Full Body Susanoo is here. 2 more. Advertisement. Seeing Mito under Kenichi's control, Hefeng's heart breeds unprecedented anger. He secretly vowed that he would never let Sheni go. However, Mito was eroded by Kyuubi faster than the wind had imagined. After being wrapped in a pale red chakra coat, Mito's first tail soon grew behind him. Then there is the second root, the third root. The color of chakra on his body has also become darker and darker. Mu Dun Wood Dragon Technique. Seeing the breeze, he had to pat his hands to release Mu Dun, and the earth began to shake. The ground under the gentle breeze cracked, and countless vines drilled out of it, and then grew wildly and condensed in one place to form a thick wooden dragon with a lifelike face and a fierce and evil face. He opened his mouth in the blood basin and twisted toward Mito. The only regret is that although Hefeng controls Mu Dun, his Mu Dun ninjutsu is all obtained from the punch card package. Only the wooden man's technique, the wooden dragon's technique, the arrival of the tree realm, and the Mu Dun clone. It is like a move between the pillars to restrain the tail beast and suppress the 9 tails. Zephyr is not used nowadays. Based on this and other relationship, he had no choice but to use the most primitive method to control the water households. We can only find a way to solve Kenichi first, and then dispel the illusion on Mito. Hefeng thought to himself. But how can he not see his thoughts? Seeing Hefeng's goal had changed from himself to Mito, he quickly controlled Susanoo, waved the Chakrata sword in his hand, and squeezed out a sword chi, and went straight to the wooden dragon. Boom. Accompanied by a loud noise, this sword aura fell on the wooden dragon, instantly splitting the wooden dragon into two. And Mito's tail grew a fourth at this time. She was wrapped in crimson chakras all over her body, and something similar to animal ears grew on top of her head. She couldn't see what she was like at all. It's exactly the same as Naruto in the Tiandichou period. The gentle breeze looked at Mito. Now he does not have the necklace of the original Hokage, nor does he suppress the wooden escape of the tail beast chakra. At the same time, the safety of water users needs to be ensured. For a while, he felt a little tricky. And Xian Il had no plans to watch the show obediently. He took a deep breath and released chakra unreservedly. By now, victory or defeat is in one fell swoop. If you can get rid of the wind here, then we Uchiha clan, succeeding the new Naruto, will no longer be a fantasy flower. Sheni clenched his fists with both hands, pressing his future, hope, and family glory on the battle. He now has nowhere to go. Advertisement. Suck. Call. Sheni took a deep breath and exhaled it slowly, releasing all the chakras at once. Let his Suzuo Nengu, in an instant, swelled several times. Come to Muyeyan village in the posture of the god of war. The key is, this is not the later stage of Sarutobi Hizen's reign. The Uchiha clan was driven to the edge of the village because of the misunderstanding of Konoha's senior officials. Today's Uchiha clan is the hero of the creation of Shinobu village, and their residence is almost the highest position in the village. And the full body of Suzuo Nengu, the size is like a mountain. Even the smallest size, the height is more than 200 meters. Such an amazing behemoth naturally attracted the attention of many eyes. Among them, there are thousands of hands. Is that Susanoo? Looking at the direction of Uchiha's station blankly, he is now dealing with some things at the station of the Senju clan. As a result, this situation was discovered. Although he is not close to Uchiha's station now, he is a behemoth over 200 meters high. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It's not easy not to notice. Susanoo is not a gentleman. The first reaction in the interim is the gentle breeze. But I suddenly recalled that the gentle Susanoo was dark purple. And the appearance is more powerful than this Suzuo. It's not Uchiha Madara's either. It was ruled out immediately. Although he doesn't have many chances to fight Uchiha Madara, he has witnessed Madara's Susanoo on the battlefield. It is dark blue. For a while, I couldn't help but feel confused. In the village, there is actually a third ninja who has mastered Susanoo. Anyway, let's go and see what's going on first. After thinking about it for a while, I decided to go over and talk about it. But just when he did something and wanted a destination ahead, the open space in front of him changed, and one white guy after another came out of the ground. Master Shunjian, you shouldn't be involved in matters over there. The person who came is not someone else, it is Baiju. In the blink of an eye, more than a dozen Baiju surrounded the door. Advertisement. Want to delay his time. According to the agreement they reached with Sheni. Just postpone it for a while and give him time to get the 9 tails. Then he has nothing to worry about. Although there has been a little change now, I can only try my best to hold it back. Hope Kenichi's adaptability. It will be stronger. The boss stared with both eyes wide, looked around, and suddenly found that the guy who surrounded him followed the guy that Hefeng had brought back from Miaomu Mountain. It's exactly the same. At the same time, in the face of the 8-year-old kid Hefeng, Sheni had to choose to go all out to release the full body form of Suzuo Nohu. Then, pulling out the Chakrata sword on his waist, he hacked it down. Mito also turned into a half-tailed beast at this time, opened his mouth, condensed the chakra in the body, according to instinct distribution, condensed into a dark black tail beast jade, directly aimed at the wind. In her eyes, Hefeng is no longer a beloved 8-year-old grandson. Instead, it took away everything around her. Out of hatred, Mito launched the tail beast jade without hesitation. With the determination to kill Hefeng. The more this time, the more chaos. Hefeng couldn't help but spit out, so he had to pat his hands with his hands, Mu Dun Mu Ren's art. Although his wooden escape technique does not have the ability to suppress the tail beast chakra. But blocking the tail beast jade is not difficult. I saw a broad palm stretched out from the ground, with 5 fingers spread out, catching the tail beast jade that Mito spit out. Boom. There was a loud noise, and the palms were held. Immediately afterwards, there was a giant wood more than 10 meters tall, rising from the ground, blocking Mito and Hefeng. However, at this moment, Mito's body changed again. At the base of her tail, a 5th tail grew. The chakra volume becomes stronger. Seeing the situation in the breeze, I had to use the full body Suzuo Nohu first. For a time, 2 war gods, who were formed in the form of chakras, stood impressively in Konoha's village. Uchiha Kenichi was dumbfounded on the spot. How proficient is Hefeng, an 8-year-old kid, in kaleidoscope writing? Even the complete Susanoo can be mastered. Chapter 292 Gentle, catch the tail beast with bare hands. One more. Advertisement. 2 tall Suzuo can almost appear in the village, attracting everyone's attention. Again, another one. What the hell is going on now? That behemoth, what is it? The villagers talked a lot, only feeling incredible. Then, unprecedented fear spread throughout the village, causing great panic. Everyone should stay away from Uchiha Station as much as possible. I'm afraid I will be implicated in it. Only a few ninjas recognized this Susanoo. In the Sengoku period, Uchiha Madara became the top powerhouse by virtue of this pupil technique. That person is a gentle breeze. Some ninjas with excellent eyesight suddenly saw the ninja above Susanoo's head. One of them is Kenichi, the head of the Uchiha clan. However, as the strongest of the Uchiha clan today, he is also a genius who has opened the eyes of writing. Show such power. It's not incredible. On the contrary, the gentle breeze shocked them. Gentle. Isn't it just 8 years old? Isn't it the grandson of Master Zujian? Why, he has a writing wheel, and he also uses such a technique as Suzuo Noho. How did he do it? And also, why does he Feng fight with Xian Il? If it's just to learn from each other, shouldn't he find a location in no man's land? What is going on here? More and more ninjas are puzzled. But there is no doubt that the power of Suzuo Nengu is very powerful. Powerful enough that just the aftermath of the shock can kill ninjas who are not strong enough. Master Phaegian, where are you now? After seeing this astonishing scene, the patriarch of the Nara clan quickly rushed to the Hokage building. Not only failed to find the door. Instead, traces of the battle were found here. And the Uchiha ninja who fell to the ground, unconscious. An ominous hunch came up spontaneously. When he left, he happened to meet Patriarch Sarutobi, Patriarch Hyuga. Advertisement. They all rushed here because they were worried about the safety of the village. In short, first find a way to evacuate the people and avoid the power of the gentle breeze and Sheni from jeopardizing the village. The Sarutobi Patriarch made a loud noise, shouldering the responsibility of organizing the overall situation. And now this kind of thing is not the time to entangle superfluous things at all. The other patriarchs nodded and expressed their support. Then, the ninjas of each family launched their actions. Organized and disciplined began to evacuate civilians. And at the Uchiha station, the Wind and Kenichi face each other with 4 eyes. Mito, who is completely out of control, sits at their feet like a fox, looking more like a miniature pet all the time. Why do you have a gentle breeze? You must be Sano. The ninjas of the Uchiha clan stared with incredible expressions in their eyes. No one thought that Hefeng, an 8-year-old kid, could master Susanoo. Damn it, why the Wind can open the kaleidoscope to write round eyes. His talent is simply unreasonable. Monster. Hefeng is a monster. The ninjas of Uchiha's clan talked a lot, feeling indignant in their hearts. But helpless. They couldn't do anything except watch the battle between Hefeng and Sheni. But, read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Hefeng did not rush to start. His eyes began to move. Being at an altitude of 200 meters above the ground, the gentle breeze has a pretty good line of sight. Coupled with the kaleidoscope's vision capture, Hefeng easily saw the general situation of the village. Phaegian did not appear, but the patriarchs of each family have spontaneously shouldered the work that originally belonged to Phaegian. It is not difficult to see that these people have a sense of belonging to the village. Ninjas in the Warring States period had an average life expectancy of less than 30 years. The reason is that countless children were forced to go to the battlefield and died prematurely. Hefeng couldn't help but sigh. Then, the manipulator Susanoo bends down, stretches out his left hand, spreads his 5 fingers, and grabs the whirlpool Mito on the ground. Seeing the huge Suzuo can almost act, the half-tailed Mito also felt uneasy. The 5 chakra tails behind him grew rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. They became big and thick, like a sharp sword, and pierced into Susanoo's palm. Passed. However, the Japanese Suzuo Nengu is not an ordinary chakra materialization. Among them, there are a lot of fairy chakras. Suo Nengu's defense will be improved a lot. Rao is the current Mito and cannot penetrate the armor formed by chakra. Advertisement. Bang, bang, bang. Along with the loud noises, a terrifying air current burst out and spread out in all directions. A huge shock wave was set off on the ground. The ninjas of the Uchiha clan did not even have time to react. It was lifted into the air by this force, like a kite with a broken line, flying for a certain distance before the back fell heavily to the ground. Gentle style. When Xian saw this, his heart became tense. It was only at this moment that he fully realized that he underestimated Hefeng and overestimated himself. From the very beginning, he shouldn't treat Hefeng as an 8-year-old kid. The power he possesses is even more exaggerated than himself. Go to hell. With a roar from Kenichi's throat, Suzuo Nohu pulled out the Chakrata sword under his will. And this time, Kenichi's Suzuo Nohu is in a state of complete body. The drawn Chakrata sword instantly lifted the air to form an air current. An extremely sharp sword aura went out vertically and horizontally, and went straight to the Hokage rock in Muyein village. Shattered the first-generation Hokage head portrait that had just been sculpted. Such a horrible scene even scared the ninjas in the village who were organizing a retreat. The statue of Hokage-sama is destroyed. What the hell Uchiha Kenichi wants to do? Rebellion. This is definitely a rebellion. For a time, Konoha's ninjas were all angry. Feeling righteous indignation about what Sheni did. However, everyone can tell how strong Sheni is now. It's not an enemy they can deal with at all. Even. These ninjas attacked Uchiha Kenichi with words. Not that person rushed to Uchiha's station. Instead, the hope of defeating Kenichi was pinned on Hefeng, an 8-year-old kid. It's just that they don't understand. Why didn't Hefeng shoot directly, but bent down instead? It looked like he was bowing to Yun. However, such doubts did not last long. Because of the gentle wind, Suzuo quickly straightened his body, and there was a guy with a crimson chakra all over his hand. The 5 tails fluttered in the wind, and they were held firmly by Suzuo Nengu, but they kept struggling. It is Mito, the whirlpool turned into a beast. In Suzuo Nohu's hands, it looks like a hand. Chapter 293 7th Tale. 2 more. Advertisement. As that, Mito. Although Fei Jian was held back by Baiju, his attention was focused on the battle between Hefeng and Kenichi. When Kazuka held Mito and got up, he recognized the unusual chakra at a glance. Obviously Mito is out of control. And Hefeng will naturally not deal with Mito. In any case, Mito is his grandmother. Although Hefeng is only 8 years old, his strength is already so strong that even I can hardly match it. He doesn't need the power of a tail beast to fight with Sheni. Eliminate all the impossible, then the remaining possibilities no matter how impossible they seem. Both are correct answers. Yun-il. Fei Jian's gaze retracted from Hefeng, staring at the Baiju who surrounded him, throwing out the kunai, and asking them. In order to defeat the Japanese wind, he did not hesitate to trigger Mito's rampage. He mentioned this risk as early as when he decided to seal Kyuubi in Mito's belly. If Mito's will is not strong enough, Kyuubi's will have the opportunity to take advantage of it. At that time, the violent people's strength will cause an even greater crisis. Although the wind is powerful, he doesn't understand the sealing technique. I have to hurry over. Fei Jian thought to himself in her heart, and then activated the Flying Thunder God technique, which flashed behind Baiju in an instant. His 5 fingers grabbed hard, and firmly grasped the kuwu thrown out by him. Next second, with a stab at the backhand, kuwu was directly penetrated into Baiju's neck. Kill on the spot. These guys who look exactly the same are not so strong. It's just that there are a lot of them, and it's a time delay. He couldn't rush to Hefeng's side. And the residents of the Uchiha clan. The wind controlled Susao Noge, holding the violent Mito in his hand, not giving her a chance to break free. Although I don't know any sealing technique now, I can't use the wooden escape technique to restrict the tail beast's rampage. But, my kaleidoscope writing round eyes can release illusion. Hefeng thought about the solution to Mito in his heart. His kaleidoscope writing round eyes is Sasuke's 6-pointed star. Although the field of specialization is Amaterasu-based adding earth life, illusory cannot be compared with Itachi and Shisui. But it is undeniable that Sasuke's illusion is not weak. On the contrary, his illusion skills are still very strong. It was only during the period when Sangoyu was writing round eyes that he relied on illusion to kill Dashimaru in the spiritual realm. Later, when fighting against Danzo, he relied on illusion to complete the comeback. Based on this and that kind of performance, Hefeng felt that it shouldn't be difficult for Mito to calm down with his illusion. However, Sheni would not stand in place, obediently watch the gentle performance, and do nothing. Advertisement. He sees Mito as his hope of becoming Hokage. It is also the hope of the Uchiha clan to rebuild their glory. I can't let you succeed, gentle. Kenichi yelled hysterically, and Susanoo switched to holding the sword with both hands, and raised the Chakrata sword high above his head. Aim at the left back of Kazuka Susanoo, with a vigorous wave, he chopped off. At the critical moment, Hefeng reacted in time with his perception ability in the fairy mode, reversed his left hand, and used the armor on his forearm to resist the opponent's tachi. Damn it! The Chakrata sword rubbed against the wristband and burst into flames. Even though Mito was caught by the windy Susanoo and couldn't break free, her head was exposed. There is no alternative. If you want to stop the current Mito with illusion, you can only look at each other through your eyes. This guy, Hefeng gritted his teeth, and his situation became a bit awkward for a while. Really speaking of strength, he is better than Xian Yi. But, his situation is much more embarrassing than Xian Yi. Although Susanoo's left hand controlled Mito, it couldn't stop her from gathering the tail beast jade. Only the right hand was left, and it was obviously difficult to deal with Sheni. The most important thing is that the environment in which they fight is not an unmanned field. It's in Konoha village. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi and Uchiha Station. This period is not the edge of the village. It's almost in the center of the village. One of the best locations in the lot. Not only connected with other family residences. With a little carelessness, a large number of buildings will fall apart. Hefeng doesn't want to destroy the village because of his fight with Xian-il. He is only 8 years old physically. Both thinking and consciousness are adults. Plus he wants to be Hokage. Hefeng would not do things like hurting the village. For a time, he could only be forced to defend, while paying attention to the movement of the village. Bang, bang, bang. 2 Susanoo, who looked like a god of war, kept fighting each other. The wind maintained its defense, retreating again and again. Shen Zuo and Jima were puzzled for a while. Little Hefeng, why don't you fight back? If this continues, we will lose. Advertisement. Shen Zuo's look can't help but feel a little nervous. It is very clear in its heart. The fusion time cannot be maintained for too long. Once the fusion is over, there will be flaws. This is the village. Hefeng heard the words, unavoidable to explain. Only then did Shen Zuo and Jima react violently, and they couldn't help looking at the village. A large number of civilians were evacuating from the ninja, leaving the center of the village. Go to a safe location. Hefeng did not fight back because he was forced to defend. It's not because of Kenichi's oppressive feeling. But considering the innocent people in the village. Small and gentle, Shen Zuo rolled his throat, but admired Hefeng energy for the sake of the overall situation. He is a born leader. I believe that Konoha Hidden Village, led by Xiao Hefeng, will enter its heyday. Shen Zuo believes in this. However, another problem lies ahead. At this time when Hefeng was forced to defend, Mito condensed enough chakras to form the tail beast jade. And during this period, her tail changed from 5 to 6. White bones appeared on her body, protecting her body. Call out. In the next second, the tail beast jade shot out from Mito and went straight to Hefeng. And Susanoo's other hand was holding a Chakrata sword to resist Kenichi's swordsmanship. It is simply lack of skills. Rumble, accompanied by a deafening loud noise. This beast jade blasted directly at the front door of Suzuo Nangu. Hefeng's sight was obscured by the flames and the billowing smoke, and he stepped back again and again, almost losing his balance. The power of the tail beast jade is increasing. Hefeng clenched his fists with both hands, and couldn't help but sigh. Immediately afterwards, Xian-il seized this rare opportunity, holding the Chakrata sword in both hands, sweeping vigorously. Abruptly, he cut off the left hand of Kazuka Susano. Chakra, the flame-like entity, began to dissipate. Mito was completely released. This is Xian-il's plan. Wow, Mito roared like a beast, and another tail grew behind him. Become Naneo. At the same time, the strength has greatly increased. Chapter 294 I am afraid of my own power, one more. Advertisement. As long as Mito can transform into a Kyuubi, I can defeat the current Japanese style. Kenichi's eyes fixed on Mito. She is now firmly controlled by the power of the kaleidoscope. 7 tails have grown behind him, and his body size has begun to increase sharply. Mito is the princess of the Uzumaki family, with the most perfect Uzumaki bloodline. The amount of chakra is far beyond the average ninja. Plus the amount of chakras from the 9 tails. Just the Naneo form shocked Sheni. If it can be transformed into 9 tails, cooperate with your own Suzuo Nangu. Sheni didn't think that in the entire ninja world, who else would be his opponent. Even the gentle breeze in the fairy mode can never be his opponent. What's more, the gentleman Suzuo Nohu has already been cut off by himself. On the left chest is the tail beast jade shot out by Mito, running through a hole. According to Xian's understanding of Suzuo Nangu, Suzuo Nangu in this state may not last long. It's you who lost, gentle. Yun-il's emotions rose gradually, and he yelled at the breeze with excitement. As if the outcome of this battle has already been known. In fact, Xian-il really couldn't think of how he should lose. Although Hefeng opened the kaleidoscope to right round eyes at the age of 8, he was shocked to master Susao. In the final analysis, he is also a kaleidoscope writing wheel, and he is also completely obsessed. And his actual combat experience is far more than Hefeng. In addition, Mito's power is controlled by himself and stands on his side. Lose. Non-existent. Thinking of this, Xian-yi relied on his Suzuo to be intact, and continued to attack Hefeng. I saw him holding Chakrata knife in both hands, and he stabbed him towards the wind at a very strange angle. Puffed out. The tens of meters long Chakrata sword pierced the gentle wind Susanoo Nohu directly. The distance between the two is very similar. Xian-il could clearly see the expression of the Japanese style. Below, Mito, who had 7 tails, didn't sit there obediently. Instead, his body began to bulge and his body grew several times larger. Let the people in the village see her terrifying appearance. Next second, Mito's tails rose up into the sky, each with a diameter of at least 5 or 6 meters as exaggerated, like a sharp sword, extending upwards, directly stabs the windy Susanoo. 3 of them pierced through Suzuo Nohu's left leg. The remaining 4 pierced directly into Suzuo Nohu's right leg. Advertisement. Wow. Mito was not satisfied with this. She clenched fists with both hands, opened her blood basin and opened her mouth wide, and her voice was like the most primitive beast, making her scalp numb. The most terrifying thing is that her brute force is also quite amazing. She controlled her tail tightly, tearing it hard. He forcibly tore the legs of Kazukazu Sanahu into 2 halves. Such a terrible scene. She was stunned directly. Ji-ma. Little gentle breeze. Now, it's terrible. The 2 of them took a breath at the same time, but they didn't expect that the situation would suddenly change. Obviously when I was in MT. Miyauki, I fought against the Wind Uchiha Madara. After returning to the village, he greeted the thousands of hands between the thousand hands pillars. Facing these 2 legendary powerhouses in the ninja world. There is no embarrassment in the gentle wind. Heroic and heroic. Face it calmly. It was suppressed everywhere as it is now. Even Suzuo Nangu was ruined by others. If you don't get it right, the breeze is very likely to lose. But who knows, when Shensaku and Zima thought Hefeng would be stunned by the scene before him, frightened. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. His face did not change. It seems that all of this is indifferent. Kazuka floated in Susao Nuga's body indifferently, staring at Uchiha Kenichi in front of him. Say nothing. No one knew what he was thinking. Hefeng, this kid, was you frightened stupid? Xian's eyes narrowed slightly, looking at the gentle breeze. He neither resisted nor surrendered to beg for mercy now. It looks like a stone statue. Sheni couldn't help but be puzzled. But soon, Xian-il's heart was completely relieved. If you think about it carefully. After all, Hefeng is only 8 years old. Even if he has a talent for shocking the world, he can't change this most basic fact. No matter how good he is 8 years old in his heart. In the previous game, the reason why the gentle wind can show a strong force. It's because he knows it in his heart. He is the grandson between the pillars. No one will kill him. Naturally there is nothing to worry about. But this time it was different, I was rebelling. Advertisement. Attempt to compete for the position of Hokage with a stronger force. Throughout the whole process, he has not scrupulous about his identity as a gentleman. Moreover, his greatest reliance, Shinshujujian, is already dead. Now I will be shocked and dumbfounded, naturally there is nothing strange. Even Shen Zuo and Ji Ma would think so for a while. Quickly comfort and wind, now is not the time to give up. Although the enemy's strength is very strong, but he is not without opportunities. Wooden escape technique, must be able to be arrogant, immortal mode. These powers are all real powers that Hefeng has now mastered. At the same time, Mito's consciousness went completely out of control. From behind her, an eighth tail suddenly grew. Not to mention the tremendous increase in strength, his body swelled to a height of 100 meters. Although compared with the two Susao Nengu around him, it was still a bit worse. But its almost nine-tailed appearance has undoubtedly become the most terrifying existence in the village. Even in the middle of seeing this picture in the distance, I was frightened silly. Unexpectedly, Mito would lose control to this point. And, on the Japanese side, Kenichi was suppressed. At stake, suddenly, as the second grandfather of Hefeng, he couldn't help but start to worry. But was dragged by a large number of Baiju. Can't get past in time. Gentle style, he gritted his teeth and his face was gloomy. However, just when everyone is worried about Hefeng, whether it is because of insufficient psychological quality and want to give up. Hefeng's hands moved suddenly. It should be almost now. Hefeng muttered to himself, as if he had been waiting for something. Shen Zuo, Ji Ma, and Xian Yi are undoubtedly the closest units to him, and they are also the ones who clearly heard him talking to himself. What? It's almost there. Shen Zuo, Ji Ma, unanimously. Doubt also appeared in Xian Il's eyes. Until then, the unsmiling gentle breeze raised the corners of his mouth slightly. Look, the people in the village have been evacuated to a safe place. The gentle breeze reminds Shen Zuo and Ji Ma. From the beginning, he didn't worry about Kenichi, or the runaway Mito. Actually, I am worried, my power is too violent. If you are not careful, you will destroy the village. That's why I dare not act rashly. Chapter 295 Where the Leaves Fly, the Fire is Endless, 2 more. Advertisement. From the beginning, Hefeng had not worried about Kenichi or Mito's power. The only reason that made him feel jealous and didn't want to take a shot. The villagers of Yayan village in its solid wood have not yet evacuated to a safe area. That's why he hasn't done anything. Ren-Yu Kenichi and Mito perform in front of him. However, it was during the time that Kenichi and Mito joined forces to attack. Sarutobi family, the Jikyun clan, the Hyuga family, the Nara clan, wait for the ninja clan, volunteering to take on the responsibility of protecting the village. They were neatly organized. They found the villagers who were shivering because of fear, and then took them away from the area that would be affected. Just when the wind Suzuo was about to collapse. These ninjas successfully took all the innocent villagers away from the dangerous areas of the village. Get the guarantee of safety. Right now, Hefeng has not even had the last worries, so naturally he can fight with all his strength. As for the destroyed buildings, just rebuild. Konoha village has never been a place. It's where the villagers are. As long as there is a place where leaves fly, the fire is endless. It's just that Hefeng's words shocked everyone present. Xiao Hefeng, you have never made a counterattack. You are worried that your own power will destroy the village. Ji Ma was stupid as a whole, and suspected the toad on the spot. What Hefeng said, is it human? What do you mean by worrying about your own strength? That's why I dare not make a move. He hasn't bothered Kenichi and Mito in his eyes. Can he end the battle at any time as long as he wants? Small Japanese style. Deeply rolling his throat, turning his head to look up and down at the breeze, he didn't know what to say for a while. How terrifying is the current power of the small wind. Only in this way can he be born with such confidence. Say something like this. Just to what extent Kenichi Suzano can play, he has witnessed it with his own eyes. This guy is very strong. Coupled with Mito runaway. At least you need a Naruto-level ninja to fight. And many more. Advertisement. Shen Zuo's 2 eyes suddenly widened, and he stared at Hefeng with an incredible look. The current Xiao Hefeng already possesses the strength of the Naruto level. He's only 8 years old. Shen Zuo was directly shocked by this thought. But the expression on Hefeng's face didn't seem to be bluffing at all. Uchiha Kenichi even had a question mark on his face. What did you say? He seriously doubted whether he had heard something wrong. Did Hefeng just say it? He didn't make a move because he was afraid that his power would destroy the village. This is not the same as saying. From the beginning, didn't Hefeng take himself seriously? Do not. Uchiha Ken couldn't help but shook his head, unable to accept this fact in his heart. You are just bluffing. Your Suzuo Nengu is only one step away from the complete collapse. Mito is completely out of control now and will transform into a real Kyuubi at any time. You can't change all of this at all. Ken Uchiha shouted hysterically. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. He couldn't accept it, let alone believe it. What the breeze said. However, the current Hefeng doesn't care about the reactions of these people at all. He was too lazy to prove. Do not. To be precise, Hefeng is now too lazy to prove this kind of thing through explanations. Yun-il, don't you even notice such a simple thing? Hefeng despised Kenichi with a scornful attitude. What? Xian Yi and 2 eyes stared like donkey eyes, unable to understand what Hefeng said. Seeing Xian Yi's reaction, Hefeng couldn't help but shook his head helplessly. The corners of his mouth rose, and a wry smile appeared, as if he was hating iron for steel. Actually, I am very reluctant to explain this common sense. Fortunately, you are still the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, the strong man who opened the kaleidoscope. Susanna is nothing more than a pupil technique that substantiates chakra. As long as the operator's chakra is sufficient, repairing the damaged Suzuo Nengu is just as easy as a piece of cake. As he spoke, the wry smile on Hefeng's face disappeared, replaced by a serious face. Immediately afterwards, the majestic chakra volume burst out from his body and spread all over Susanoo Nohu's whole body. The hole in the chest that was pierced by Mito's tail beast Jade, healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. The arm that was chopped off by Xian Yi grew out in an instant. Advertisement. As well as Susanoo's legs, they were restored to their original appearance in the blink of an eye. The dilapidated Suzuo Nengu was easily repaired by the Japanese wind. Not only that, he raised his newly grown arm, grabbed his fist with 5 fingers, and aimed at the Suzuo Nengu in front of him with a single wave. Boom. With a loud noise, the iron fist banged directly on the opponent. Shanichi was frightened by this sudden scene, but he was too late to defend. Susanoo was forced to release the Chakrata sword that was stuck in the opponent's body, and stepped back again and again. After retreating 80 feet away, he almost regained his footing. Soon, Sheni clearly saw that the windy Susao Noho pulled out the Chakrata sword inserted into his body, and squeezed the fragments directly with a slight force. The last wound on his body also disappeared. At this time, Mito had grown wildly to the size of Susanoo. With teeth and claws, he couldn't see the appearance of a human at all. More like a scary beast without skin. The 9th tail, ready to move, grows out. Grandma Mito. Although Hefeng is not like dealing with Mito, there is no way. Mito opened his mouth directly to himself this time. Even if I don't use kaleidoscope to write round eyes, I can see her throat. As well as the black chakras that are coming together. Tail Beast Jade. And this time the Tail Beast Jade is more terrifying than any previous time. In that case, there is no way. Hefeng took a deep breath, his eyes became serious and sharp, and he controlled Susanoo to take a step forward and grab Mito's neck. Interrupted her Tail Beast Jade casting spell. Mito, who has lost consciousness, naturally does not want to be treated so rudely. She struggled hard, but in strength, she lost to the wind Suzuo Nohu. Rumble. Loud noises lingered in the ears, spreading far away. Kyuubi's body was forced to the ground by the gentle breeze. The surrounding air was directly lifted and turned into a terrifying air current, forming a white shock wave, spreading out in other directions. In an instant, all the walls of Uchiha's station were destroyed. Together with the buildings they noticed, as well as the facilities of the village. None of them were able to withstand this shock. Shensaku, Zima, and Kenichi. Dumbfounded on the spot, it turns out that the wind. I am really worried that my own power will destroy the village. Chapter 296. Do they use Suzuo, or do they not need Suzuo? One more. Advertisement. What kind of existence is Kyuubi? Of all the tail beasts, the most powerful one, destroying a village is even easier. Wagging his tail, calling the wind and calling the rain. Second, wagging the tail, the earth shook the mountains. A fierce beast like a natural disaster. Even Miaomu Mountain, facing 9 tails, is enough to drink a pot. Shen Zuo couldn't help but sigh with emotion. If it is not necessary, existences like Kyuubi will not provoke them at all. For ninjas, this is even more so. Why is the Pillar Room known as the God of Ninjas? It is because one of his achievements was to capture all the tail beasts except for the one-tailed guard crane, and then entrusted them to various shinobu villages. This kind of thing can only be done between the pillars, and only between the pillars. Therefore, in everyone's eyes, the pillars will be the God of ninjas. But now, in everyone's mind, the most powerful Kyuubi. Now that he was 8-year-old Zephyr, he choked his neck with one hand. He also pressed it to the ground. Who is not shocked by this kind of thing? It's like dreaming. Hefeng, what kind of monster is he? Uchiha Ken's 1 or 2 kaleidoscope writing wheels stared roundly, as if they would jump out of their eye sockets at any time. He didn't even dream of thinking that Mito was almost 9-tailed. Will be suppressed by the wind with one hand. He just 8 years old, right? As expected, Hefeng took a deep breath, staring at Mito, who was growing his 9th tail, and couldn't help but sigh, 9 tails. I almost can't hold her with one hand. Shen Zuo. Ji Ma. Sheni. Hefeng. This kid is talking human words. What do you mean? I can hardly hold the 9 tails with one hand. Does he think this Kyuubi is someone's pet? This is the strongest tail beast in the ninja realm. It is no psychic beast of any kind, and it can't be compared with one another. It's better to say that 9 tails are a collection of all the negative emotions and evil chakras in the ninja world. Think deeply in your heart. What exactly is a tail beast, how it appears, and how it exists? Advertisement. It doesn't know the truth either, it can only guess. But no matter how you say it, there is one thing, there is no need to guess. That is, the strength of Kyuubi is undoubtedly powerful. It's unreasonable. The green veins on Shanyi's forehead began to bulge. Now that Kyuubi is suppressed by the wind, he can't put his Susanoo on Kyuubi's body. Use the prestige to be able to care about. So he had no choice but to continue to take action, imitating Hefeng's actions, and realizing his chakra again. The tens of meters long Chakrata sword was transformed from Kenichi's hand. Next second, Kenichi controlled Suzuo Nengu holding a knife in both hands, using all his strength, swept toward the gentle breeze. At the same time, the 9 tails, who occupy the dominant consciousness of the body, are even more unwilling to be treated so rudely by the wind. It guides its own strength and turns the 8 tails into sharp spears. At the tip, head straight for the breeze. If you can't beat me alone, should you go together? Hefeng couldn't help but vomit when he saw the scene before him. If he was asked to deal with Sheni or Kyuubi alone, he would have enough information. End the battle in a few minutes. However, dealing with Fu Sheni and Kyuubi at the same time is indeed a bit tricky. When Xian heard the words, his expression of astonishment was relieved. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Hefeng's words reminded him. No matter how strong Hefeng is, he is only alone now. No matter how weak he is, he now controls 9 tails. Maybe one of them is not as strong as the 8-year-old kid Hefeng. But as long as the two work together, they can keep pace with the breeze. Even beyond the breeze. Defeat him, even kill. This is the truest law of ninja world. Although your grandpa Zujian wanted to tear up this rule, he has forgotten the most fundamental and important part. If he doesn't have that terrifying strength, he has no ability to challenge the law. It can even be said that the reason why he can do all that is based on this law. To blame the current pillars, they can no longer protect you. Sheni chattered endlessly, trying to use the pillars to break the psychological defense of Hefeng. Let him expose his flaws. However, Hefeng is only 8 years old, and his actual age is much more mature than Xian Yi imagined. Oh, hearing Shanichi's words, Hefeng couldn't help but chuckle. Advertisement. Even the look in his eyes became like he was looking at a clown. Do you think I need protection between the pillars? As he spoke, Hefeng's back began to bulge. This sudden change made Sheni unexpected. His gaze was deeply attracted. Both eyes stared wide, and his eyes straightened. An unknown premonition began to emerge in my heart. And the bulging part of the gentle breeze began to become tangible. It seems that the 5 wooden stakes that have been initially polished are changing at a speed visible to the naked eye. It looks more and more like a gentle breeze, and more lifelike. Whoosh, whoosh. Countless black shadows shot out from Hefeng and fell to every corner on the ground. Immediately afterwards, Hefeng controlled Suzuo Nohu and turned his head directly, welcoming the Chakrata sword that Kenichi had swept over. Susanna, who saw the breeze, opened his mouth wide and bit at the oncoming Chakrata sword. Such a rude response made Sheni stunned on the spot. I seriously doubted myself whether there was any hallucinations. The scariest thing is, Susanoo's teeth have been strengthened by the celestial chakra of Japanese wind. Although Zefeng is only 8 years old, his chakra is the chakra between the pillars. Muscle strength has become extremely strong under the training of Metbo. In addition to being only 8 years old, all aspects of the Japanese style are far more than the current Kenichi. Bite it down, causing Kenichi's chakra to break on the spot. Broken into several blades. However, this was not the most shocking and terrifying scene for Xian Yi. Kyuubi's tail pierced directly through Susao's body, firmly inlaid on it. Although Kyuubi was held tightly by Susanoo's motion joints were also completely locked by the power of Kyuubi. But just when Xian felt relieved by this, the black shadows rushing out of Hefeng are all exactly the same as him. Standing around Yun-Il with his arms folded. Without exception, all of them are Mu-Dun clones of Hefeng. Before my Mu-Dun clone starts, I have a question I want to ask you. Hefeng doesn't care about the situation of his own Susanna. He raised the corners of his mouth and stared at Kenichi. My Mudden clones, do you want them to use Susanna? Isn't it necessary to have Susanoo? Chapter 297 I'm here to save you, Mito. 2 more. Advertisement. Hefeng created 4 Mu-Dun avatars at once and rushed out of him. It is different from the low-profile version of Yamato. Today, I own the wooden ninjutsu between the pillars and the huge chakra between the pillars. The created Mu-Dun clone. It is undoubtedly the same level as between the pillars and the spots. Since Uchiha Madara's Mu-Dun clone is available, Susanoo can be used. It doesn't make sense, his Mu-Dun clone can't do this. Not waiting for Sheni to react. The 4 Mu-Dun avatars of Hefeng burst out the majestic chakra directly from the body, and in an instant, they completed the materialization. I saw the purple chakra rising from the sky, like a flame, holding up the height of the Japanese wind. The tall Valkyrie posture, once again descended. Shen Zuo and Jima were stunned. They are quite clear about how powerful Susanoo can be. Back then, Uchiha Madara's avatar had made a big fuss in MT. Miyagi. If it weren't for his avatar at the time, all chakras would be consumed. I am afraid the consequences will be disastrous. In the current small wind, the chakra is like a bottomless pit. Jima couldn't help but complain. It is really incomprehensible. Why is the amount of chakra of the wind so terrifying? It seems that it can't be used up. How to use it? Yes, yes. Shen Zuo nodded, completely agreeing with what Jima said. The amount of chakras in the gentle breeze is almost more than that of Kyuubi. The Uchiha people on the ground were even more dumbfounded. When they saw Hefeng's doppelganger, they also tried to help Uchiha Kenichi to eliminate these guys. Let the gentle chakras be wasted. But who knows, they haven't waited for them to make a move. These avatars of Hefeng have been wrapped and protected by the extremely terrifying chakra. The shurikens they threw, and the various ninjutsu they released. All blasted above Susanoo Nohu. Not to mention the elimination of Hefeng's clone. Their moves, even the slightest trace, could not be left behind. There is no hierarchy at all. Seeing Suzuo Nengu who appeared out of thin air, he stood in front of them like a warrior. Every Uchiha tribe's face had an expression of horror. At the same time, an unprecedented despair shrouded Hefeng, This kid is a real monster. Sheni and Kyuubi joined forces, and they couldn't suppress him. Now Hefeng has 4 more helpers. How do you fight this? Sheni stood there blankly, blinked vigorously, and seriously doubted whether he had any hallucinations. Advertisement. Or do you mean that you have been hit by a gentle illusion? Otherwise, how would you explain that there will be 4 Susanos around you? How abundant is the chakra volume of this kid, Hefeng? For a long time, Sheni felt that his chakra volume was already very large. Even Susanoo, who was only used by Uchiha Madara, managed to master it by himself. But now it seems, compared with Zephyr, his chakra amount is nothing more than that. It's simply too outrageous. Next second, Hefeng's 4 Suzuo Noji shot at the same time. One of them waved vigorously, and the sword beam went out vertically and horizontally, splitting all the 8 tails of 9 tails into 2. Dissolved the situation of the Japanese style itself. The remaining 3 Susanoo Nohus displayed powerful swordsmanship, wielding Chakrata swords, and pierced Kenichi's Susanoo Nohu straight. Then, the 3 Susanoo Nohus exerted their strength at the same time, and Kenichi's Susanoo Nohu was torn apart and shattered. Falling apart, Shion Il's eyes became horrified involuntarily. He doesn't have the terrifying chakra volume of the gentle breeze. It can't be done at all, and he can repair Suzuo Nohu's injuries at will. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Until this moment, Sheni seemed to understand completely. Why did Uchiha Madara lose to Senju Junma? In addition to ninjutsu, illusion, physical skills. Chakra volume played a vital role. For example, my current self. I can win the piece once or twice. Even 10 times, 20 times. But no matter how I beat the wind, his chakra volume can be repaired in the next second, so that he can start from scratch. Sheni couldn't help taking a breath, and felt that this was the real horror. The current breeze will not be defeated at all. You can start all over again no matter how many times. As for himself, as long as he fails once, he is destroyed by the gentle wind once, Susanoo can be. Myself. There will never be a chance to come back again. From the beginning, I might not have any chance of winning. Damn it. Sheni clenched his fists with both hands, feeling very unwilling. With Uchiha, why should there be 1,000 hands? Why, the grandson between the pillars can have the talent of shocking the world, the amount of chakra like a monster. And myself. Advertisement. And the geniuses of the Uchiha clan. After Uchiha Madara, he can only go downhill. That man has left the village for so many years. There is no one who can surpass him. Even the current self is far inferior to Uchiha Madara. Because there is no relationship between brothers and sisters, I have no chance to open the eternal kaleidoscope. Not reconciled. I'm so unwilling. But at this moment, one of Hefeng's avatars suddenly grabbed a fist with 5 fingers. In the process of Shanyi's fall, he slammed his fist and smashed Zhang Sheni impartially. Rumble. Along with the loud noises, Suzuo Nohu's fists directly blasted Xianyi to the ground. A terrifying air current spread out in all directions. A huge pit was destroyed under Shanyi's body. As for the ninjas of the Uchiha clan, it is even more difficult to resist this terrifying shock. For a time, they all flew out uncontrollably like a kite with a broken line. The Hefeng body directly ignored Kenichi's fiasco. Now, there are more important issues than him. Mito. In any case, Mito is his grandmother. Moreover, the 9th tail and skin are growing out of Kyuubi. If by that time, Mito's consciousness is likely to be completely wiped out. Today's Konoha Shinobu village, but there is no more suitable human column power than Mito. Thinking of this, Hefeng's eyes widened, and he lowered his head to look at the Kyuubi who was pressed on the ground. Hefeng's pupils shrank slightly, and then suddenly widened. Covered his illusion with Kenichi's illusion. For a time, the consciousness of the breeze seemed to have reached a spiritual world. Much like Naruto Uzumaki, when trying to master the 9-tailed chakra, he encountered the scene of Kushina Uzumaki. The current breeze is standing here, and you can't see the edge at a glance. However, his sight quickly focused on one place. I saw it with my own eyes, a woman with red hair and long hair fluttering. He is facing away from himself. It's just Whirlpool Mito. Grandma Mito. After hearing the sound of the gentle breeze, she slowly turned around, her eyes flushed, and she was crying. Chapter 298. Is he so handsome when he grows up? One more. Advertisement. With the power of the kaleidoscope to right round eyes, the wind entered the spiritual world of Mito. The huge 9 tails were entrenched behind Mito, looking down at the wind fiercely, grinning, as if they would rush up at any time, and bite the wind to death. Mito's emotions almost collapsed, his eyes flushed. How dare you run here? Kyuubi made a low voice, then raised his sharp claws and patted Hefeng. Even if he is only 8 years old, Kyuubi still feels very hot. In his eyes, the Uchiha clan and the Senju clan have nothing good. Uchiha Madara used his eyes to control himself. Between the pillars, he couldn't help but beat himself up. Finally, he sealed himself in Mito's belly. In the sealed cage all day long. But the current Japanese style not only has the blood of Shima and Mito. There are also eyes similar to Uchiha Madara. The anger in Kyuubi's heart was completely ignited, and he launched an attack towards the wind without thinking about it, trying to get rid of the 8-year-old kid. However, Hefeng dared to go to such a place, but not because of recklessness. Grandma Mito, I'm here to take you home. Hefeng directly ignored the angry Kyuubi and spoke softly to Mito, with a delicate and gentle tone. Attracted the attention of Mito. At the same time, the majestic chakra volume burst out from Hefeng, and turned into a tall warrior posture. Raised his hand to meet the sharp claws of the nine tails. Although this power was not enough to lift Kyuubi away, it was not difficult to block his brute force. Mito blinked, and she didn't notice the gentle breeze until then. Are you still alive? Mito's eyes were full of surprises. You should have been hit by the illusion of the Uchiha clan chief. Hefeng explained it without thinking about it. At the same time, he realized how Sheni controlled Mito and forced the nine tails out of her body. If I guessed correctly, Kenichi should have dragged Mito into the illusion world he created. And in that world, both Zujian and I died tragically. This led to Mito's emotional breakdown and gave him all his body and mind to Kyuubi. Although the death between the pillars has become a reality and he cannot change it, but he is alive now. You kid. However, at this moment, nine tails opened their mouths and condensed their chakras, and merged in a certain proportion, forming a powerful tail beast jade. Although this is the spiritual world of Mito, if it is hit by the Kyuubi tail beast jade, it will cause great harm to the spirit of the wind. Advertisement. Kyuubi, should you be quieter? Hefeng glanced at Nine Tails fiercely, and didn't take the beastly beast as a thing. Click. Hefeng slapped his hands with both hands, releasing his own wooden ninjutsu. Although it can't be compared with the pillars in the fairy mode, it is not difficult to deal with Kyuubi. And, nine tails in the spiritual world are much smaller than in the real world. The ground shook, and a wooden figure with a hideous face rose slowly from the cracked ground, as if it had surfaced. He is more than 10 meters tall, almost the same as nine tails in the spiritual world. Immediately after, before Juwei could react, the wooden man jumped up, making a fist with his 5 fingers, and aiming at Juwei's right cheek with a fierce punch. Bang! Accompanied by a loud noise. Kyuubi was overthrown directly by the power of the wooden man. Nine tails. Mito's eyes widened, her crying stopped abruptly, and she couldn't help but take a deep breath of cold air, and quickly turned and looked at Kyuubi. But saw an incredible scene. The powerful nine tails, now like a kite with a broken line, flew upside down from the same place, with a heavy back on the ground, sliding towards the rear for 8 feet. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, that Kyuubi who once made her tremble and fearful. Directly by the gentle wooden man, he flew with a punch. I'm dreaming. Still not awake. Mito rubbed his eyes vigorously, seriously wondering if he had any hallucinations. Otherwise, how do you explain the scene where Kyuubi was beaten out by wooden man? However, that's not counting. Hefeng yelled, and simply put the Suzao Nengu on his body on the wooden man. Wooden escape version. Prestige must be Zuo Nengu. With the power of this kaleidoscope, the wooden man became more aggressive, stepping 5 meters away in one step, and approaching Kyuubi. Before Kyuubi stood up from the ground, the wooden man clenched his fists again. Facing Kyuubi's cheek, he slammed it down. Boom. There was another loud noise, and the head of Nine Tails hit the ground heavily, smashing a deep hole. The majestic shock wave spread out in all directions. It even directly promoted Mito's body. Hefeng started to take a step forward. Advertisement. Moreover, every time he takes a step, his body grows by an inch. The distance between him and Mito was gradually shortened. Nine Tails completely handed over to Uezo Susanoo. But, Nine Tails didn't eat dry rice. After a few punches for Prestige Susanoo, he reacted abruptly, shaking his tail and entwining the opponent's hands. Then, Kyuubi abruptly got up, his hands imitating the wooden figure, but also made fists. Then, at the guy in front of him, he started to fight back. My uncle, I was really underestimated. Boy, Kyuubi's voice was full of anger. Hefeng didn't care at all, he only had Mito Whirlpool in his eyes. And, when Hefeng walked in front of Mito, his body had grown into an energetic boy. The height seems to be much higher than Uzumaki Mito. Properly a height of 1.83 meters. Moreover, the sword eyebrows and star eyes are fresh and handsome, and the body is tall and straight. Uzumaki Mito was a little surprised for a while. It looks a bit similar to the pillars, but is more handsome than the pillars. The man in front of him is Zephyr. For a while, Mito blushed directly, his breathing began to become rapid, and his heart pounding faster. Even Mito can't understand who he is now. Between the pillars, it has just passed away. Why do you feel this way? Moreover, the person in front of him is still his grandson Hefeng. Just when Mito's mood was a little disturbed, the wind's movements became bolder, erasing the closest distance between the two sides. Opened his arms and hugged Mito. One big hug. Of course, Hefeng naturally doesn't have any thoughts about his grandmother-level women. The reason why he did this was just to give Mito some sense of security and let her know. She still has herself by her side. She is not alone. There is no need to give all of his own to Kyuubi. In any case, not everyone is Naruto Uzumaki. It will never go black. Chapter 299 I am waiting for you in the real world 2 more. Advertisement. Mito never dreamed that Hefeng would become so handsome, let alone that he would suddenly hug himself and blush for a while. Especially the gentle sentence, no matter what happens, I will be by your side. It also made Mito's speech choppy for a while, only feeling that his mood became a little subtle. However, Hefeng did not hold on forever. When Mito's mood stabilized, the whole spiritual world changed again. He and Mito stood in a shallow pool of water. The whole environment is like an underground factory, surrounded by hard dark walls. And in front of the wind, there is a huge cage. It was exactly the same as Naruto Uzumaki's body where the 9 tails were sealed. Mito immediately turned around and saw Kyubi, who was fighting with Bison Susanoo, who was comparable. But this time, she was no longer the panicked little girl. She is the princess of the Whirlpool clan, First Lady Konoha, as well as the wife of the ninja god. In an instant, several silver chains burst out of Uzumaki Mito's body and went straight to Nine Tails, firmly entwining his hands and feet. Then, Uzumaki Mito pulled hard. The giant Kyubi lost his balance on the spot, leaned back and fell straight down. Boom. Along with loud noises, Kyubi's body crashed down. And Uzumaki Mito also seized this opportunity, twisted the seal on his abdomen, and shut Kyubi directly in. The seal lock is closed layer by layer. Rao is an angry Nine Tails, and can't break through the cage with his own strength. You guys. Kyubi's claws stuck through the gap in the iron gate, but he couldn't touch Hefeng and Mito at all. Kyubi has been resealed, and it's time for us to leave here. Upon seeing the breeze, the corner of Mito's mouth rose up, and a gentle smile of sunshine appeared. I am waiting for you in the real world. At the same time as he finished speaking, Hefeng's body began to dissipate. In an instant, he disappeared without a trace from Mito's sight. Harmony, gentle breeze. Mito clenched his hands into fists, placed it on his chest, and stared at the clearing where the breeze disappeared for a long time. Apart from the pillars, Kase was almost the second man who gave him a sense of security. And, looking at the current breeze, she couldn't help but think of the former pillar. At that time, he also said the same thing as Hefeng. No matter what happens in the future, I will be with you and face it together. However, now, Zujian had left the ninja world one step earlier because of a terminal illness. Do not. Mito shook his head vigorously, self-blaming. Now shouldn't be the time to think about these things. Advertisement. Before she got out of control, Uchiha Kenichi tried to become the Hokage in the village through rebellion. I have to get out of here quickly. Mito took a deep breath, then closed his eyes, wanting to return to the real world. However, looking at Mito, who was about to leave, Kyubi looked terrifying and warned Mito. One day, I will leave here and kill that kid by myself. Woman. This is not just a threat to Mito. It is also a promise made by Kyubi. If it weren't for the gentle breeze, he now has got rid of the sealing technique of the Whirlpool clan. Left here. Blame that kid Hefeng. I will be resealed. One day, he will avenge this revenge. Then you will never succeed. Uzumaki Mito opened his eyes again and glanced at Kyubi hard. That day, it won't be too late. In the final analysis, the lifespan of your human beings is extremely short. For our tail beast, it is just a momentary matter. There is no way for a dead person to become a pillar of strength. Nine Tails made a low voice. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Even if the tail beast is killed, it will reappear in this world. They are a collection of chakras. In other words, as long as there are chakras in this world, their tail beasts will not die. Instead, it was Mito. She is nothing more than a woman. How long can she live? 30 years, 50 years. Sooner or later, she will die. Do not. But who knows? Mito still shook his head. I mean, you are not a gentleman at all. Did you not find out? Nine-tailed. The corner of Mito's mouth rose. Under the intimidation of Kyubi, her mood that was accidentally teased by the gentle wind calmed down a lot. Now she has pride and pride written on her face. What? Kyubi's face suddenly became difficult to look. Because Mito's implication is undoubtedly saying, where did your eyes grow? Feng, he has inherited the blood succession boundary between the pillars. Wouldn't escape. And learned the fairy mode. Uzumaki Mito paused for a while, and continued, now, I have opened the writing wheel again. Do you think you can play a gentle breeze? Advertisement. Stop dreaming. After Mito said it, he left the spiritual world. Kyubi was left with an angry face, and kept his claws hitting the sealed door. You guy. At the same time, Baiju, who was responsible for delaying the time, also got the information from his companion using the mayfly art. Sheni, I was defeated by the gentle wind. Mito's rampage has also been suppressed. This news is undoubtedly a bolt from the blue for Baiju. I thought that giving Shion Yaikue would defeat the Japanese style. In the end, it failed. In this way, even if they continue to stay in such a place, it doesn't make any sense. Retreat. The headed Baiju had a low voice, unwilling, but helpless. However, I want to go now, isn't it too late? Suddenly, his face suddenly became low. Next second. He flashed directly behind this Baiju, and the Quanwu made a strong stroke on his hand. Cut off Baiju's head directly. Boom. Baiju's head fell to the ground and then rolled forward again. He didn't plan to let go of these Baiju. The art of walking in darkness. The hands were sealed between the hands, releasing a powerful illusion technique, covering all Baiju. Now I know that Hefeng has solved the problem. Instead, he didn't rush to Uchiha Station in such a hurry. But, Fei Jian's heart was shocked. He didn't even dream of a Zephyr when he was only 8 years old. Can prevent such a big crisis. Shanyi's rebellion. Renjuli's runaway. As long as he thinks that Hefeng is only 8 years old this year, it feels incredible. This kind of thing, even he, the god of ninjutsu, didn't have much confidence. If the time limit is added, it is even more impossible. I originally planned to use the dirty soil to reincarnate Hefeng. This kid is really abnormal enough. Suddenly, I was shocked by the gentle performance again. Moreover, this also declares that Hefeng has become a hero to save the village. Chapter 308. Year-old kid, is that reasonable? One more. Advertisement. As Uchiha Kenichi was defeated by the gentle wind, Uzumaki Mito's rampage stopped. Baiju's delay also became meaningless. Can only choose to give up. But Baiju, who had not had time to retreat, all became victims. In order to better study what kind of creature Baiju is, Zhangjian didn't kill them all, but controlled them with illusions. Although the illusion art in the door is not as sophisticated as the Uchiha clan, it is more than enough to deal with Baiju. After Shuei was dealt with, the ninja of Onbi was long overdue. He informed all the information he had investigated. The same as expected, the Uchiha clan chose to rebel and kidnapped Uzumaki Mito. Under the wrong circumstances, he was beaten up by the gentle wind. Shion Il's plan went into trouble, so he had to start in advance. Caused a fight broke out between them. Centered on the Uchiha clan's residence, within a radius of 1 kilometer, they were all damaged to varying degrees. In some places, they were directly razed to the ground by the power of the gentle wind and Sheni. This kind of thing is no joke to Konoha Hidden Village. Since the establishment of Shinobu Village, this is almost the most terrifying crisis. Fei Jian muttered to herself in her heart, but there was no pause in her footsteps. He handed Baiju over to the Onbi ninja and asked them to take it back temporarily. He went to the residence of the Uchiha clan at the fastest speed. Not only in the intervening period, the patriarchs of various families also started their actions after seeing that Susanoo and Kyubi had disappeared. Go to Uchiha Station. Although it is not clear what happened, no one is indifferent at this time. In less than a few minutes, the patriarchs of various families rushed here one after another. Uchiha Ken's body was wounded, his clothes soaked with blood, and he breathed, looking dying. It is not difficult to see how embarrassed Shion Il is now. And the recovered Uzumaki Mito did not get there as well. She slumped on the ground, with no strength at all, and she was extremely quiet. He just glanced at the side face of Hefeng from time to time. Shen Zuo, not to mention Ji Ma, seeing that the instigator's Xian Yi was defeated. The two of them also took the initiative to release the fusion state, standing on the shoulders of Hefeng. The mood becomes a little subtle. Today's Hefeng is only 8 years old and possesses such terrifying power. If he were to be a few years older and enter the peak period of his body, then in the entire ninja world, there are really people, will he be his opponent? Anyway, Shen Zuo couldn't imagine what that person looked like. Advertisement. And the genius ninjas of the Uchiha clan, now all without exception, stood shivering in place. There are big beads of sweat on his forehead. A large area was wetted by the cold sweat coming out from behind. After seeing the terrifying power of Hefeng, none of them had the courage to attack Hefeng. Fundamental. It's not a level. What's more, the various families of Konoha Yin village have all assembled here, staring at them with great enthusiasm. Let them dare not make any rash actions. The most terrifying thing was that the second generation of Hokage, whom everyone looked forward to in Muyeyin village, also appeared in front of them. Although the strength of Feijian is not as terrifying as Zujian, everyone in the village knows how strong Feijian's character is. And, the door room is not as good as the pillar room, but it does not mean that they are better than the door room. I saw Feijian's face gloomy, his arms folded, and he didn't say a word, giving people a feeling of not being angry or presumptuous. I looked around and glanced around. After confirming that Hefeng and Mito are not in danger, he breathed a sigh of relief in my heart. There are two of them, one is the grandson of the eldest brother, and the other is the wife of the eldest brother. So in any case, I do not allow it. What accidents do they have? Hefeng, what is going on? Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. After thinking about it for a moment, I asked Shang Hefeng directly. And the eyes of the patriarchs of each family have also focused on Hefeng. There were just 2 Susanoo and 1 with 9 tails. Such a configuration, even the powerhouses of their various families, did not dare to approach it rashly. And the distance is far away. Except for the ninjas of the Hyuga clan who possess pupil skills. Many people did not see clearly what happened. Even the ninja who saw something was unbelievable. But in the interim, how could it be unclear about this? And so, 1 second before Hefeng spoke to answer, he continued to say, is it that I saw something wrong? The ninja who just released Susao Nogu, is that you, Hefeng? In fact, the gentleman Susanoo has been seen long ago. Still fresh in my memory. The reason why he said this deliberately was to let others know. How terrifying is the current breeze? Yeah, Hefeng nodded. This guy kidnapped my grandmother, and I happened to meet him, and he got stolen. Do you have anything to quibble? With a gentle voice and a questioning tone, he asked Shang Sheni. Advertisement. But Sheni now has the thought of talking. He just feels desperate. Unprecedented despair. I actually never hit an 8-year-old child. Not only that, this battle is not about yourself, but the entire Uchiha clan. It's over. It's over. It's over. Kenichi Uchiha now has only 2 thoughts. One is regret, very regretful. How come I was so fascinated by Naruto that I wanted to follow the guy Hefeng and start doing it? Another thought is that he can't figure it out. Is this reasonable? An 8-year-old kid who also mastered Wood Escape, Fairy Mode, Kaleidoscope Writing Round Eyes, and Suzuo Nengu and other powers. It takes at least several decades for any one of them to be mastered. But the breeze. This kind of thing is incredible. Incredible. In Xian Yi's heart, he couldn't understand. Why is there such a scary kid in this world? And after hearing the question in the door, the patriarchs of the various families were all dumbfounded. They originally thought that the person who stopped Uchiha Kenichi would be the wrong one. This is the second generation of Hokage that everyone has come to expect. In the Warring States period, his reputation has spread far and wide. If he defeated Kyuubi at the same time, and Sheni. Although surprising, it is not unacceptable. But who knows? But in the middle of the story, he insisted. The ninja who had just used Susao Noho just now, turned out to be. Is he Feng, an 8-year-old kid? What a joke. Patriarch Sarutobi, did I hear something wrong just now? Master Shuima said that the gentle breeze stopped Kenichi. Patriarch Shimura rubbed his ears, inevitably questioning his own hearing. The Sarutobi Patriarch shook his head helplessly, the corners of his mouth raised, and a wry smile appeared. I now doubt whether I have been stunned by someone else's illusion. Otherwise, how to explain it, an 8-year-old kid? There will be such a terrifying power. Chapter 301 We believed your nonsense, 2 more. Advertisement. The audience was in an uproar. One can also explain whether there is something wrong with the ear. But everyone clearly heard what Hefeng said. He confessed that Susanoo just now was the ninjutsu he used. Look at it. However, at this moment, the head of the Nara clan suddenly exclaimed and pointed to Hefeng's eyes. Everyone looked over and noticed that Hefeng's eyes had turned into blood-red 6-pointed stars. Those eyes, aren't they kaleidoscope-writing round eyes? Chief Hyuga rolled his throat and swallowed nervously. I was surprised. Although the writing wheel eyes of the Uchiha clan are not as powerful as our white eyes, if the 3 Go Jade writing wheel eyes can be upgraded to a kaleidoscope writing wheel eyes, the nature will be different. To this day, he still remembers the power of Uchiha Madara. It is precisely the power of writing wheel eyes that has been developed to the extreme. But now, the power once possessed by Uchiha Madara has now appeared in Kazuka's body. It's unbelievable. Wait a minute. But soon someone noticed the blind spot. Hefeng, isn't he the grandson of Master Zujian? Why does he have a writing wheel? Isn't Shaolun Yan unique to the Uchiha clan? Writing round eyes is a matter of blood succession, everyone knows. In any case, in the Warring States period, the Uchiha clan had already become famous all over the world. Especially the strong who started the writing wheel. If they meet on the battlefield, they will often choose to retreat to avoid their sharp edges. As a result, this is what many ninjas dream of. Now. Actually appeared on Hefeng's body. This is too incredible. Hefeng once transplanted eyes. After noticing everyone's reaction, I simply explained it. Hefeng's eyes had problems at a very young age and faced the possibility of blindness. In order to save Hefeng. That's why I matched him with the right eyes. It's a child from the Uchiha clan who died of congenital heart disease. Only his eyes can match the wind. He put his arms around his chest, his face didn't change color, his heart didn't beat, and he explained it in a pretentious manner. Even the gentle breeze is in a state of ignorance. He felt that the reason he and Fei, Zujian said was enough nonsense. Advertisement. Unexpectedly, what I said in the interim is even more outrageous. Ghosts will believe it. Hefeng couldn't help but complain, but he noticed everyone's reaction. It seems like, I really believe it. Moreover, in order to increase the credibility, Janjian turned his head to look at the shivering Uchiha tribe. You say yes. In this situation, anyone from the Uchiha clan can see that they are in control of their lives and deaths. They have nothing to do except nodding their heads to cooperate with each other. The most important thing is that even if they shook their heads to deny, it would not have any impact on the time. However, I really didn't expect that Hefeng could open the kaleidoscope to write the wheel with its own power. Finally, I did not forget to sigh. Thanks to this power, it is possible for Hefeng to defeat Sheni. Resolve the biggest crisis the village has encountered in its history. When I said this, I raised my volume deliberately, and even shouted out. I'm afraid that some of the ninjas will not hear the same. At the age of 8, he not only learned the wood escape technique and the fairy mode, but also opened the kaleidoscope writing wheel eyes that few of the Uchiha clan had. Patriarch Sarutoi couldn't help taking a breath. He always thought that his grandson, Sarutobi Hizen, was already terrifying. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. At a young age, he is already the top ninja in the village. Born to have 5 chakra attributes. There are hundreds of types of ninjutsu. Among his peers, no one can compare with him. Both the Thousand Hands clan and the Uchiha clan are much inferior to him. It is even more fortunate to be a disciple of Shinshojian. Becoming Hokage in the future is just around the corner. However, what he didn't even dream of was that monsters like Hefeng would be killed halfway through. 7-year-old elite is on Shinobu. At the age of 8, he was already the hero who saved the village of Konoha. When he was 9 years old, I was afraid that he would not become Hokage directly. When he thought of this, the patriarch of Sarutobi clan felt his blood pressure soared. Why, such a god-defying kid is not his grandson. In fact, it is not just him, but every patriarch present is full of envy, jealousy and hatred. Look at what other people's kids are doing when they are 8 years old. Look at the children in your own family. It's simply incomparable. Advertisement. One in the sky and one underground. Hefeng, thanks to you, this crisis can be resolved. Fei Jian turned around to express his gratitude towards the wind. Without him, Konoha Hidden Village could not figure out what it would become. Zefeng is the hero who saves the village. These are all things I should do. Gentle nodded, indicating that it was nothing. On the contrary, there is no humility for the feats that Fei Jian said. Although it was a blunder, if you don't have yourself, the situation in this village, what will happen to it? Calmly. The rest is relatively simple. Facing the power of the entire village, the remaining Uchiha clan had no choice but to give up. And he was taken away by the Onbi ninja who was rushed to imprison him temporarily. Uchiha Kenichi, who was seriously injured, was even helped by the Onbi ninja. Just when he was about to be taken away from here by these ninjas, he suddenly spoke and stopped Sheni. The two sides face each other. Do you have anything else to say? Although Shanyi's plan completely failed, he didn't lower his breath in front of Feijian. He felt that the reason why he failed was entirely because there was a good grandson between the pillars. It has nothing to do with him. I should ask you this sentence. After doing so many things, do you have nothing to say? I didn't answer the question in the interim. And Ken Uchiha pondered for a moment before slowly speaking, I am advocating for this action alone. Those ninjas are just because of my identity as the patriarch and dare not resist my orders. Although Xian Yi didn't know if it would be useful to do this, he resolutely took the problem to himself. Cut with the family. However, what he didn't even dream of was. My own words seemed to be exactly the answer I wanted. A hint of satisfaction flashed in his eyes, and then he made gestures to let people take Xian away. Then, driven by the door, every ninja on the scene began to cheer the name of Japanese style. Even Mito is happy with the breeze. He is Konoha's new hero. Chapter 302 War is coming, one more. Advertisement. Jian attributed all the credit for the whole thing to Hefeng, and publicized it. For a time, the prestige of the gentle breeze resounded throughout Konoha Yin village. Especially the ninja who lived in Konoha Hidden village remembered the 8-year-old child deeply. Let him become the most prestigious person in the whole village. And this matter quickly reached the ears of the daimyo. Everything he planned carefully, not only failed to work, weakening the strength of the Thousand Hands clan. On the contrary, the popularity of Hefeng has risen to a very high level. Abominable gentle breeze. The daimyo slammed a fist on the table, furious in his heart, and that damn Uchiha Kenichi. As the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, I thought how strong it was. As a result, even an 8-year-old kid couldn't deal with it. However, today's big name, in addition to cursing Xian in his heart, is a waste. Can't do much. As for Uchiha Kenichi, seeing that the situation is over, he simply chose to lie flat and confessed all the crimes. Except for the fact that the Uchiha clan rebelled. No matter what the Anbu said, how to ask. There is only one answer. The whole thing has nothing to do with them. It was his own illusion of using a kaleidoscope to write round eyes and controlled them. They have no idea what they are doing. And even Mito can be controlled by his own illusion. It's just a Uchiha tribe who writes round eyes with 3 Guyu jade. What can be difficult? Only on this one, Uchiha Kenyi chose to insist. In any case, he does not want the Uchiha clan to be implicated because of his relationship. Of course, for the crimes of the Uchiha clan. I didn't go into it in depth. Just temporarily imprison Xian Yi. In the future, when there is a suitable opportunity, he will be judged. As for the other members of the Uchiha clan, they were asked to temporarily return to the station. Waiting for the follow-up, Feijian had no prejudice against the Uchiha clan in his heart. He was just worried that a second Uchiha Madara would be born among the Uchiha clan. What's more, I have confirmed that Uchiha Madara is still alive. Maybe Uchiha Madara instigated Kenichi's thing behind his back. And this is why he didn't kill Xian Il directly. I hope I can follow the vine and find something. Advertisement. No matter how you say it, the writing round eyes of the Uchiha clan are important combat power in the village. I thought to myself in my heart. With almost iron-blooded wrists, this matter was temporarily suppressed. And the rest of the focus will be placed on the reconstruction of the village. The power of Hefeng and Kenichi was too violent. Plus the power of Kyuubi. As a result, at least 1/3 of the entire Konoha Hidden village was hit hard. Rao is the Hokage building, and has not escaped the catastrophe. Most of it was destroyed. The construction work cannot be completed overnight. But, seeing the scene of destruction in the village, and my thoughts, I couldn't help thinking of Mito. She is the wife of the pillars. But it is also the most important human force in the village, once a runaway occurs. The consequences may be unimaginable. Therefore, Feijian dispatched a part of Onbi ninjas to monitor Mito in secret. If something goes wrong, report to yourself in time. As for the Hefeng side, although he controls Mu Dun, he didn't put this power on construction. Among the wood escape techniques that I have mastered, there is indeed the 4 pillars family art. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi. The so-called 4-pillar family art is the art of 3 rooms and 1 hall that everyone has passed on. You can build a wooden building in the open space as long as you pat your hands with the breeze. In Shippuden, after Pen destroys Konoha, Yamato used this ninjutsu to help everyone build. The only regret is that his chakra volume is not so many people like the column, the wind, and the Naruto. If you use it a few times, you should rest for several days. The efficiency is not so fast. Although Hefeng is different from Yamato, he doesn't want to spend his energy on such things. Now the news of Zujian's death has almost spread throughout the ninja world. The fuse of the First Ninja World War was itself due to the death between the pillars. Now the village has been destroyed because of Xian Il. The shadows of the other 4 villages can never do nothing. The key is, Hefeng recalled the details of the First Ninja War. In spite of these plots, he does not remember anything clearly. But there is one thing, he can be sure. The First Ninja World War was definitely not what happened in this timeline. If I don't remember, the first ninja battle was a contest between the second generation of movies. It was during the First Ninja World War. Advertisement. The second generation Water Shadow Ghost Lantern Phantom Moon, and the second generation Soil Shadow Nothing, both end up together. As a result, Wuyin Village and Yanyan Village had to retreat. The remaining second generation Hokage, unable to continue the war, chose to re-sign the peace contract. Caused himself to be killed by the Golden Horn and Silver Horn. But now, because of his own relationship, the entire history of shinobi has been greatly changed. The shadows of various shinobu villages now, except for Konoha and Union Village, they are all first-generation movies. And these first-generation movies are heroes who can build shinobu village in troubled times, their wrists, vision, and strength. It will not be worse than the second-generation shadow. Furthermore, the contests between ninjas are often intelligence contests, and I don't know what ninjutsu the first-generation movie masters really fight. If you don't do it, I will suffer a big loss. Hefeng thought about it in his heart. Simply found the doorway. I said something in advance of my worries. After all, the current ninja is the ninja in charge of Konoha's overall situation. As long as he completes the inauguration ceremony, he is the real second-generation Hokage. Hefeng, what's the matter? As soon as he saw the breeze, he immediately put down his work. Hefeng is 8 years old this year, but those things he did. Nothing, it has to do with 8 years old. Rao is just a matter of time, and now he is treated differently. Think he is the best ninja. Surpassing oneself, even between the pillars, is just a matter of time. Okay. Hefeng nodded, indicating that he was here at this time, and there was indeed something important. Grandpa Fagian, war is likely to come. Hefeng thought for a moment. When Grandpa Zuma was still alive, he was the guardian of the peace contract. All other shinobu's shadows will be obeyed. But now, Grandpa Zujian is gone, and Konoha has also suffered heavy losses. These shadows will definitely not assume that nothing has happened. Speak genially. And these things are now the distressing problems in the interim. Sure enough, you have the potential to become Hokage, Hefeng. Both eyes widened in the door, and once again he was shocked by the gentle breeze. How far in the future did he see? Chapter 303 Konoha, 1 enemy 4. 2 more. Advertisement. The news of death between the pillars spread throughout the ninja world like ripples. Hidden Fog Village, Union Village, Yanyan Village, Sand Hidden Village, and Shinobu villages, large and small, have heard of this. On the one hand, they felt sorry for the death between the pillars. It was him who, with his own power, ended the entire Warring States period and established the first Shinobu village. Let children put their hearts on their stomachs. From the beginning, the achievement between the pillars is undoubtedly quite high. There is no such ninja who doesn't respect him. Even the peace contract can be facilitated by the charisma between the pillars. He is undoubtedly the most respected ninja. But on the other hand, the land occupied by the country of fire is really fragrant. Wuyin village covets the landing place. Cheyenne village covets water. Yanyan village covets the soil. Union village covets the territory. The country of fire satisfies all their needs. Originally, when the pillars were alive, no one dared to strike the idea of the country of fire. But now, the person in charge of the overall situation in Konoha Yin village has become 1,000 hands. His strength is indeed very strong, and he has become famous during the Warring States period. But compared with his brother Zuma, he is not inferior by a little bit. For a while, these shadows also quickly made up their minds about Konoha Yin village. In addition, Kenichi Uchiha failed to rebel. Nine Tails run wild. The thing that severely damaged Konoha Yin village spread like wildfire. Let other shinobu's shadows be more sure in his heart, this is a great opportunity. In addition, Union village and Wuyin village. It's a feast with Konoha hidden village in itself. The golden horn and silver horn of Union village died at Hefeng's hands. Even the 6 ninjas fell into his hands. Wuyin village should have been the best candidate for the second generation of water shadows. The ghost lantern magic moon also died in Hefeng's hands. At the same time, it also messed up the entrusted task of Wuyin village. Let them, who have always been known for their deadly battles, have been greatly affected. Think carefully. The first generation of Shuiying Balian decided to join forces with Union village. So they sent a ninja to get in touch with the second generation Hokage. And when I heard that Wuyin village wanted to attack Konoha, the second generation of Hokage is also interested. Although the pillars are no longer there, the strength of Konoha hidden village is still strong. Advertisement. At the same time there is the Maelstrom family as their allies. It is not easy to swallow Konoha alone. After thinking about it, the second generation Hokage also felt that Shuiying Balian's plan was feasible. So immediately arranged this matter. In the country of Iron, met with the first generation of Shuiying Balian. And formed an ally, together crusade against Konoha. Attempt to carve up Konoha. At the same time, the first generation Hokage of Yanyan village died after he heard that Konoha was severely injured. I can't help but become active. He is now an age. The heyday of subversion has long passed. Talking about strength. It might not be as good as the time. However, today's Yanyan village is not a weak shinobu village. There is no dust that holds the blood following the elimination. Although Onogi hasn't fully mastered it yet, he has already learned it. A war will greatly increase the growth rate of Onoki. For him, it is not a bad thing. And, although Yanyan village is not as bad as the living environment of Cheyenne village. Within the country, the sky is full of wind and sand. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Water sources are even more difficult to find. But as a country living on rock walls, they really need soil. And the soil controlled by the country of fire is undoubtedly the most fertile and most expansive area in the world. How could he not be moved at all? After all, Raying in Union Village and Shuiying in Wuyin Village shouldn't miss this opportunity. Tuhei couldn't help but think to himself. If it is too late, let other shinobu villages seize the opportunity. The next person to be dealt with may be himself. Thinking about going, Tuhei decided to personally lead the elite ninjas from Yanyan Village to Konoha. The country of wind, sand hidden village. Shuiying Village did not participate in the First Ninja World War. The Feng who was in charge of Shuiying Village at that time was the second generation of shaman. It was the only shadow that did not start a war against Konoha after he died between the pillars. However, this is not because of any sentiment. Just because Shuiying Village was not strong enough at that time. In other words, shaman felt that the strength of Shuiying Village was not strong enough. I chose to wait and see. However, it is different now. The first generation Feng Raidu lived well and had no plans to retire. Shaman is only the elite. Although he was not optimistic about attacking Konoha at this time, Leto didn't think so at all. Advertisement. There is a beast like this in their hands. If it is put on the battlefield, it can definitely produce amazing results. In addition, Shaman has developed a new way of fighting. Puppetry, and its power is amazing. Now he is fully equipped with the strength of the shadow class. In other words, today's Shuiying Village has 2 shadow-level powerhouses. Plus the power of a tail. It is not impossible to annex Konoha. The most important is, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It is in Konoha Hidden Village, when it was the weakest. If you don't do anything at this time, once Konoha is given a chance to breathe, there will be no chance in the future. Expand the territory again. Lido has already felt that his lifespan is approaching. Before he died, he wanted to contribute to Shuiying Village again. Rakage, Water Shadow, Earth Shadow, and Wind Shadow unanimously reached a consensus. Want to unilaterally tear up the peace contract and declare war on Konoha Hidamura. Anyway, the pillars are no longer there. Why, let the country of fire occupy so much territory? And as the second generation of Hokage who is about to become Konoha Hidden Village. In Fei Jian's heart, how could he not know this? If he couldn't even foresee such a future, he could really find a place at random and bury himself alive. For a time, I thought about the current situation in my heart. Due to environmental problems, the population of Shuiying Village has always been the smallest among the top 5 forbearance villages. Because their water source is not enough to feed too many ninjas. Even if there is such a tail beast, their combat power is almost the smallest among the 5 ninja villages. Yanyan Village. When he was deterred by Uchiha Madara, he didn't even have the courage to resist. Not to worry. What really needs to worry about is Wuyin Village and Union Village. Among them, one is famous for fighting to death, and the other. The whole people don't want to talk about martial arts, they still have 2 tail beasts. Jian couldn't help but recall the time of the first 5 shadows meeting. With strong financial resources, Union Village bought 2 tail beasts from Konoha. Once put on the battlefield, they will undoubtedly become powerful and terrifying beings. Thought of here, a bold decision was made in the interim. Let the wind go to the border of Konoha. The Union Village that will be the greatest deterrent. Leave it to the wind. Also, the Whirlpool family. Chapter 304 Go to the border of the country of fire again, one more. Advertisement. To ensure the safety of the village. As soon as the riot caused by Uchiha Kenichi ended, deployment was carried out in the interim. He sent people to find Hefeng, Rizhen, Danzo, Hufeng, Shaochun and Yan. In the name of the ninja army, head to the northern border of the fire country. There is the border between the country of fire and the country of thunder. If Union Village wants to take the opportunity to start a war, it will definitely invade the village from that direction. And the advantage of sending Hefeng to station there is. As Konoha's ninja, Hefeng is strong enough. Unless the second generation of Raking personally shot. Otherwise, I can't imagine that there is anyone else who can beat the wind. Do not. It is the second generation of Raking, whether it can beat Hefeng, is also a question. The power that Hefeng possesses now may have surpassed me. As for the other reason, this matter is very important. It is related to the peace of Konoha's future. If the wind can really stop the invasion of Union Village, then he is undoubtedly the hero who saved Konoha Hidden Village. To be precise, it is to save Konoha Hidden Village once again. The last time Hefeng resolved the internal conflicts in the village. And this time, it's for the outside world. This is undoubtedly a considerable credit for the 8-year-old Zephyr. Enough for the name Hefeng to be recorded in the historical annals of Konoha Hidakun. Make calculations in your heart. It is worth mentioning that everything has 2 sides. The stronger the ninjutsu, the greater the risk the practitioner often needs to take. Although Hefeng can take advantage of this opportunity to gain a lot of prestige. In contrast, he also needs to face Union Village's actions at any time. However, I believe in my heart. If it is a gentle breeze, he will definitely succeed. After all, he is the gentle breeze. At a young age, he has a genius kid who is not inferior to his own strength. Naruto building. In the newly constructed Hokage office. In the interim, I probably stated my thoughts again. He insisted again and again, if it was the thunder shadow of Union Village. I will definitely take advantage of this opportunity to cause some trouble. Therefore, the work of border defense is very important. Now you are completely familiar with the work process of border defense. Advertisement. In the village, there is no ninja more suitable for this job than you, Zefeng. Rizan and others focused their attention on Hefeng. They also very much agree with Feijian's point of view in their hearts. Although Hefeng is only 8 years old, his strength is one of the best ninjas in the village. Even Rizan couldn't help but wonder whether Hefeng was already the strongest in the village now. He not only defeated Kenichi Uchiha who opened the kaleidoscope to right the wheel. It also stopped the runaway Kyuubi. If you think of Hefeng as an ordinary 8-year-old kid, it can only be said that that person is a blind man who knows nothing. I know. And Hefeng will naturally not refuse. The door is his grandfather. Everyone is a family. There is no reason to harm him. Moreover, it also attracted the genius of the younger generation of Konoha Yin village. Except for Uchiha Mirror, almost everything is here. Unless you want to destroy Konoha in the interim, K's can't imagine it. The reason for doing this in the interim. As for Uchiha Mirror, read more at hotmtl novel.zi. It's probably because of Shion Il's relationship. It was cold-treated. When the Uchiha clan rebelled before, Kagami temporarily moved away from him for a while. He doesn't even have any opinion on Hefeng. The rest are even less likely to have any complaints. Everyone dispersed and left the Hokage office. Get the luggage you need and set off to the border of the Fire Country. About 2 or 3 hours later, everyone assembled at the gate of Konohane village. As a foodie, I bring the most things. The second is the Japanese style. In this way, a group of people set off in a stride, the most important area in front of the border of the Country of Fire. However, will Union Village really start a war at this time? Take the wind to open a packet of snacks on the road, and began to throw it into his mouth. Since using the red chili pill, the fat stored on his body has been consumed. Can only accumulate again. The easiest way to accumulate fat is to overeating. It's very likely. Rizan thought for a moment, and then said his own opinion. Obviously, the shinobi world finally settled down. It has been less than 11 years since Konoha was founded. Advertisement. The people of Rizan are all 16 or 7 years old. In other words, these ninjas were all born in the Warring States period. It's like a genius-level existence like Sun Slash. I have also witnessed the battlefield with my own eyes. How much peace is hard to come by. They are very clear in their hearts. And, I don't want to go back to that era at all. Based on this kind of thinking, there will be doubts about taking the wind. Because he really can't figure out why there are ninjas who are obsessed with war. Hearing this, Rizan shook his head somewhat helplessly, and the corners of his mouth rose, and a wry smile appeared. The idea of taking the wind is still a bit naive after all. However, just when Rizan was about to explain, Hefeng took the lead and replied. What you think is too simple, take the wind. The reason why you cherish the current peace is because you feel that life in peacetime is better than in wartime. When you see the light, you naturally don't want to go back to the dark. The gentle breeze paused for a while. However, in some villages, even in peaceful times, life is still terrible. For example, the sandy village next door, where the sky is full of wind and sand, and the water source is even more pitiful. If peace is maintained, the resources that their territory has, sooner or later it will dry up. This has also caused the people there to crave water very much. For them, water is far more precious than gold. In fact, when the 4th generation Feng came to power, he once used the sand gold extracted from the magnetic escape to trade with other shinobu villages to obtain resources. Unfortunately, in addition to the 4 generations of Feng, other Feng is not good at doing this kind of thing. That's why they will repeatedly develop military capabilities and try to find opportunities. The villages living on the rock face covet the fertile soil. A country that lives on the sea longs for land. The outbreak of war has always been for the redistribution of resources. It's just that, there was grandpa between the pillars before, so other shinobu villages didn't dare to mess around. The breeze paused for a while. Continue to say, because they know that with their power, they can't break the balance at all and cannot redistribute resources. So now that Grandpa Zujian is gone, they will definitely try their best to get the resources they want from the Kingdom of Fire. And launching a war is undoubtedly the simplest and most effective way. And no one. Finished with the breeze. All the people present took a breath. Chapter 305 Check-in again. Lay done chakra mode. 2 more. Advertisement. In about a day's journey, Hefeng's group arrived at the border post on the border of the Fire Country. With previous experience, Hefeng has long been familiar with the handover process here. After a while, the handover was completed. As for the work of patrol, 2 people work in groups and rotate. As for whether Union Village will start a war, Hefeng and the others already had the answer in their hearts. They agreed. Union Village will not let it go. And today's Konoha, the situation is really not optimistic. The 1st generation of Hokage, the death of Senjuan. The rebellion of the Uchiha clan. Whirlpool Mito's runaway. Any problem is not a trivial matter for Konoha. These problems happened at the same time. It's not even kidding. But, the next period of time. The entire border of the Country of Fire is exceptionally quiet. There were no ninja troops attacking them. At the same time, the border post stationed by Hefeng and others is still the most critical and important one. If you want to invade Konoha Hidden Village, this is almost the only way to go. Coupled with Kagura's heart and eyes that Japanese style has. He couldn't imagine any ninja who could sneak into the village under his nose. Calm and calm. As soon as the days flickered, a familiar voice rang in Hefeng's ears. The cooling time of the check-in and check-in is over. Close black lens bracket. Whether to check in. Close black lens bracket. It's been a long time. Hearing this sound again, Hefeng only felt that it was a long time away. His check-in system is not a daily check-in, nor a place check-in. Each time the clock is over, the system will enter the cooling off period. And each time the cooling time is longer than the last time. Now it has been almost 3 months since the last time I clocked in. Now I can punch the card again when I see myself. Don't mention the mood of the breeze, how excited it is. If you can, I want an eternal kaleidoscope to write round eyes. Hefeng stayed in the lounge of the border post, muttering to himself. Although the power of the kaleidoscope is very strong, it is also necessary. But, every time the power of the kaleidoscope is used, the breeze will bear its price. Advertisement. His eyes will be hurt to a certain extent. And this kind of injury is irreversible. Rao inherited the Muji heel from the pillars, and he couldn't repair this damage. Especially the battle with Uchiha Kenichi. In order to defeat his opponent, Hefeng overuses the power of this eye. As a result, his current vision has been affected and declined. And, because it is impossible for brothers and sisters to have the relationship between Zhuanyan, Hefeng also has no way of transplanting other people's kaleidoscope to Zhuanyan. Come and upgrade yourself into an eternal kaleidoscope. In other words, the only price that Zephyr can get eternal kaleidoscope and eliminate the loss of eyesight until complete blindness is through clocking in. But you have to know that the rewards that can be drawn from the check-in package are really too many. Even if there are items that are drawn, they will disappear from the gift package, there are still too many. The probability of wanting an eternal kaleidoscope is still too low after all. And in the future, the cooling time of clocking in will only become longer and longer. From a few months to a few years, 10 years, decades. The current breeze can't help but start to be a little suspicious. When the storm passed, could his own strength surpass Wei? I originally wanted to use the power of the punch card system to become the strongest in the world. Now it seems, the mood is a bit subtle. Hefeng couldn't help but think to himself. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, then put your attention on the punch card this time. At the same time, make up your mind, before you get the power of the eternal kaleidoscope. Amaterasu is also good. It doesn't matter if Suzuo Nangu. If you can use it yourself, it's better not to use it. Therefore, Hefeng confirms it in his mind as always. Congratulations to the host for completing the check-in. Close black lens bracket. Get a check-in package. Close black lens bracket. Whether to open now. Close black lens bracket. Looked at the check-in spree that appeared in the inventory of his mind. Hefeng's mood is still a little excited. Although he knows the probability problem. Knowing that it is difficult to get an eternal kaleidoscope. But, in his heart, he still coveted the eternal kaleidoscope. Want to get one of the most powerful blood inheritance boundaries in this ninja world. Call. Thinking of this, Hefeng began to take a deep breath, adjust his mentality, and then confirm. Open the card gift package you get directly. I would like to use Madara Uchiha's 50-year lifespan to write an eternal kaleidoscope to write round eyes. The breeze prays in my heart. Advertisement. Various rewards began to flash in front of him. Click. The final picture freezes and shines with dazzling white light. Hefeng closed his eyes almost subconsciously, not daring to see the result this time. His breathing became hurried involuntarily. My mind is full of eternal kaleidoscope. However, some things must be faced when they should be faced. After some mental adjustments, Hefeng slowly opened his eyes. Saw the reward this time. A familiar voice also rang in his ears. Reward. Lei Dun Chakra Mode LV10. Close black lens bracket. Hefeng blinked and stared at this reward for a long time. Lei Dun. Chakra Mode. The breeze froze for a long time. As a traverser, he knew too well what this Lei Dun Chakra Mode was. Raikong's ninjutsu handed down from generation to generation. And, if Lei Dun Chakra has practiced to the limit. The speed of action is extremely fast, even not losing to the first 7 gates of Bamandunjia. Rao is the art of flying thunder god of the 4 generations of Hokage wave Fengshauman. It's all comparable. After further activation, it is even impossible to capture the riding wheel. Not to mention the destructive power. Rao is Suzuo Nangu, all have the power to fight. It can also form a unique chakra armor. Hefeng muttered to himself. There is no doubt that after temporarily abandoning the kaleidoscope and the power of Susao Nohu, Lei Dun Chakra Mode is undoubtedly a very good skill improvement. It is worth mentioning that Lei Dun Chakra Mode is neither physique nor ninjutsu. It's ninjutsu. The biggest difference between it and physique is that physique only uses the body to attack, directly causing physical damage to the enemy. It doesn't even need the most basic seal, and it has nothing to do with chakra attributes. Ninjutsu, on the other hand, uses Jayin to bring out the energy of chakra, which is very different from physical skills. No matter how you say it, there is one thing that needs no doubt. That is, Lei Dun Chakra Mode. Very powerful. It's not an exaggeration to say that this ninjutsu, whether it is power or might, all exceeded my surprise. And, Lei Dun Chakra Mode does not need to bear the risk and price of shocking the door. Chapter 306 The Next 3 Generations of Raikage. One more. Advertisement. Although the reward this time is not the eternal kaleidoscope writing round eyes, the Thunder Dunk Chakra Mode is also a very powerful skill among Naruto. Anyhow, it is also the unique skill of the 3rd generation Raikage and the 4th generation Raikage. How could it be weak? And, the price of kaleidoscope writing round eyes has not been solved for a long time. Hefeng must be cautious when using Amaterasu and Susanoo. It is impossible to use it when it is not a last resort. Fine, Hefeng cleared up his mood a little, and temporarily suppressed the reward for punching in this time. Walked out of his lounge. It just happened that Danzo, who came back from patrol, followed suit. Captain Hefeng. When Danzo saw Hefeng, he proactively greeted him, but his emotions were a bit complicated. In any case, Hefeng is only 8 years old this year. Many years younger than myself. Call the captain to such a big ninja. Danzo's mood is very delicate. On the contrary, it is an indifferent attitude. Hefeng is stronger than himself in all aspects, even with the help of external forces like Red Pepper Wan. He is not an opponent of the gentle wind. The loser is convinced. Then, Hefeng told about his encounter with Danzo. Basically nothing happened. Captain Hefeng, let's go. Rizhen walked out of the border post and came to Hefeng, just in time to hear the conversation between Hefeng and Danzo. Follow the rotation order. The next ninja to be in charge of patrol work is the 2 of them. If you follow the usual, training connection, it does not need to be so close. But now, whether it is Konoha's high level, or Hefeng and others, they are very sure in their hearts. Union Village will surely invade Konoha at the time of the death between the pillars. The more this is the time, the more you have to be careful. Let's go. Hefeng took a deep breath, leaving Tuanzo to follow the wind, and stopped at the border post with Xiaochun and Yan. He took Sun Slash and walked towards the border forest. Make sure that there are no other ninjas from Ninja Village invading Konoha. Time passed by every minute and every second. This patrol is no different from the past. This kind of fearful feeling is really not very good. Rizan couldn't help but vomit. He felt that if he didn't say anything, he would be crushed to death by this repressed atmosphere. Advertisement. When he first came to the border post, he was sure that Union Village would definitely do something. Result. More than half a month passed, and there were no ninjas at all, entering the border of the country of fire. Maybe they were overly nervous from the beginning. Maybe other ninja villages' shadows also cherish this hard-won peace. Never thought of starting a war at all. However, as Sun Slash's voice fell, Hefeng's face suddenly became tense. He made a gesture, and regardless of Sun Slash's reaction, he kicked his feet and jumped directly to a tree on the side to hide. Could it be? Rizan thought to himself, immediately reacted, and jumped onto a tall tree, and then used the branches and leaves to cover his body. Next second, Rizan directly used his perception ability to confirm. The result was the same as Hefeng expected. In this woods, ninjas really appeared. The chakras of these people are a bit strange. Through the perception of chakra, Rizhan couldn't help but take a breath. He felt that these ninjas were more likely to be strangers. Moreover, there are more than a dozen of them. It's almost a completed ninja army. The patrol of the border post does not require so many ninjas. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, a ninja in Union Village. Rizhan held his breath and watched carefully. Soon, this ninja troop was caught in the breeze, and Rizan's eyes appeared. Really a ninja from Union Village. Hefeng's eyes narrowed slightly, and he directly opened the 3 Guyu riding wheel. Although when using Amaterasu, Suzuo Nengu's pupil skills, it will cause irreparable damage to the Shilunian, but if it is just an ordinary 3 Guyu Shilunian, the load on the eyes is actually very small. Like Kakashi, it took more than 10 years without any problems after transplanting the soiled riding wheel eyes. Therefore, in the current Japanese style, I can use the riding wheel eyes with confidence and boldness. The ability to observe the subtleties through the eyes of the riding wheel. Hefeng clearly noticed the patterns on the foreheads of these people. Surprisingly, it is the symbol of Union Village. And, these people looked around one after another, with a vigilant look on their faces. Obviously come prepared, and many more. Suddenly, Hefeng's eyes straightened, and he noticed the most central figure in this ninja army. Even though he looks much younger than the impression of a gentle wind. But it can indeed be considered his identity. The next 3 generations of Raking. Advertisement. Hefeng was stunned on the spot. He never thought that he would meet the 3rd generation of Rakage here. But think about it. It is not surprising that the 3 generations of Raking appear on this timeline. After all, during the Zhongnan exam, he fought against the future 3 generations of Fengying. Speaking of which, at the end of the First Ninja World War, when I wanted to conclude a peace contract with the 2nd generation Rakage, it was rebelled by the Golden Horn and Silver Horn. The 2nd generation of Rakage died tragically. Golden Horn and Silver Horn chose to continue pursuing. In order to protect Konoha's future, I chose to sacrifice myself. At that time, the ninja who defeated the Golden Horn and Silver Horn completely resolved the crisis. It is these 3 generations of Raking. In other words, the 3 generations of Rakage at that time were already strong enough to defeat the full-blown Golden Horn and Silver Horn with 6 ninjas and 9-tailed chakras. Although because of my relationship, Zuma died a few years earlier, making the First Ninja World War a few years earlier. But there is no doubt that the 3 generations of Raking at this time are definitely very strong ninja. Hefeng's face became serious. According to his judgment, since the 3rd generation of Rakage is the captain of this ninja army, then they are unlikely to be a team spying on intelligence. There is a high probability that these people are the vanguard. They want to destroy Konoha's border post. Prepare for the follow-up army. Thinking of this, Hefeng closed his eyes slightly, put his index finger and middle finger close together, and pressed against the tree trunk under his feet. Then, Kagura's eyes were aroused. He felt the movement of Fang Yuan. However, apart from the ninjas in Union Village in front of him, Hefeng did not find any other ninja troops. There are two choices in front of the Japanese style. One, it is to destroy these ninjas. The other is to inform the village of the situation here, so that Jian will be prepared. But just when Hefeng thought of this step of choice, the following 3 generations of raking suddenly disappeared. The speed is so fast that it is not inferior to Bo Feng Shui Men's Flying Thunder God technique. Next second, he suddenly appeared behind Sarutobi Hizen. What? Sarutobi Hizen's face suddenly became pale. Chapter 307. Is this kid so strong? 2 more. Advertisement. Sarutobi Hazumi maintained his perception ability throughout the whole process, just to ensure that the suddenly appeared ninja was firmly locked in his line of sight. He can even guarantee, he didn't even blink his eyes. The ninja at the bottom disappeared with just 1 shot. Immediately after, Chakra, the ninja who had disappeared for a while, appeared behind him. The speed is even more exaggerated than the Flying Thunder God technique. Just, in the end, what happened? How did he do that? There were a lot of questions in Sarutobi Hizen's heart. However, a more deadly problem lay before him. That is, the opponent suddenly appeared behind him. He turned his head subconsciously and saw the next 3 generations of Raikage standing behind him. The 2 sides face each other. The air seemed to condense at this moment. Sure enough, Konoha's ninja. 3 generations of Raikage looked at the Sarutobi Risheng in front of him, only feeling that he was younger than he thought. It is a pity to die on the battlefield in this way. But, there is no other way. Wars are often so cruel and real. Pity. The 3 generations of Lei Ying could not help but said with some regret, but his hands were clean and neat, his 5 fingers gathered together to form a knife-like hand, and he went straight to Sun Zan's left chest. Attempt to kill with 1 move. ZZ. I saw a blue thunder and lightning burst out of the palm of the 3rd generation of Lei Ying, crackling, and heading towards the sun. Pouch. In an instant, the 3rd generation of Raikage's arm directly penetrated Rizan's left chest. His eyes widened and he felt sharp pain in his chest. The most terrifying thing is that his heart was not pierced by the 3 generations of Raikage, but was directly scorched by his lightning. Solve 1. 3 generations of Lei Ying said confidently. It seemed that a guy like Sun Slash was nothing great at all. But who knows? Just when the 3 generations of Raking decided to solve the opponent by themselves, the Sun Slash in front of him suddenly turned into a cloud of white mist with a bang. Next second, the white mist gradually dispersed, exposing a wooden stake, floating down. Surprisingly, stand in surgery. When? Advertisement. 3 generations of Raing's face changed in shock. He never expected that a ninja would escape from under his eyelids. It was really beyond my expectation. Of course, this kind of thing didn't make the 3 generations of Raikage feel troublesome. On the contrary, his mood was high. It really is Konoha Hidden Village. Does any ninja at a border post have such strength? The 3rd generation of Raikage took a deep breath, and quickly swept his eyes, looking for the whereabouts of Sarutobi Hizen. Quickly, his gaze was once again locked on Sarutobi Hitoshi. Although you can dodge my attack with a substitute, you only have 1 chance. I won't let you run away a second time. The moment the 3 generations of Raikage finished speaking, they disappeared again. And under his feet, a blue thunder and lightning burst out, directly scorching the place where he was standing. One could not breathe, and the 3rd generation of Raikage relied on its powerful speed to catch up with Sarutobi Sun Slash. The hand knife reappeared, sweeping towards Sun Zan. Oops. Rizan gave a secret cry. Stand-in is not a ninjutsu that can be used indefinitely, but a ninjutsu that is prepared in advance. In order to avoid the attacks of 3 generations of Raikage, he couldn't choose his way at all. The body fell down. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. He couldn't dodge at all, and he couldn't use the second substitute technique. Seeing the 3 generations of Raikage's hand knife attacking, Rizan had to parry his hands and assume a defensive posture. However, the gentle breeze on another tree witnessed this scene. Now, there is no need to make a choice. Hefeng couldn't help but vomit in his heart, kicked his feet and rushed directly up. It happened to fall between Sun Slash and the 3rd generation of Raikage, and was ready to take over the opponent's moves. As a result, what Hefeng never expected was, just when he waved his palm to release the spiral pill, the 3rd generation of Lei Ying suddenly changed the direction of his body in the air, pointed his 5 fingers at the ground, and slammed forward. Rumble. Accompanied by the loud noises, the 3 generations of Raikage's moves directly hit the ground. The smoke swept across in all directions. The entire ground was smashed into a half-meter deep pit by the 3 generations of Raikage. The ninjas of Union Village were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Okay, what a powerful force. What a terrible ninjutsu. The technique developed by the 2nd generation of Raikage-sama was actually cultivated to this level by him. Click. Although Hefeng was confused, he still seized this opportunity, grabbed the Sun Slash, and landed quickly. Hefeng and Sun Slash retreated at the same time, and separated from the 3rd generation of Raikage. The 2 sides looked at each other. Advertisement. The atmosphere became tense. Well, what a terrible power. Rizan rolled his throat and swallowed nervously. If it weren't for a timely move by the wind, I'm afraid it's not good enough now. It's just that reason is not quite clear, the other side obviously has a chance to get rid of him and Hefeng. Why does it suddenly change direction? Heian village, unexpectedly will send a child to take charge of border defense work. 3 generations of Lei Ying straightened his back from the deep pit, looking at the breeze. No matter how you look at it, he feels gentle and very immature, looks only 7 or 8 years old. And facing such a small ninja, it is difficult for the 3 generations of Raking to kill the killer for a time. It's really mean, Konoha. 3 generations of Rakage couldn't help but complain. Then he made a gesture directly and asked the subordinates behind him to catch Hefeng. Although Hefeng seems to be only 7 or 8 years old, he is still a child, but if he is left alone, will definitely hand over important information to others. This is what the 3 generations of Rakage did not want to see at the same time. After thinking about it, he felt that it would be better to control the harmony temporarily. Hefeng also figured out the truth at once. Why did the 3 generations of Raking change his direction in the air just now? It turned out to be because I was still a child. If you look at it this way, the next 3 generations of Rakage will be a good person. Hefeng thought to himself. But he didn't have the idea of being obedient. See the ninja in Union Village walking towards him. Hefeng directly dilated his pupils and activated the illusion of writing round eyes. In an instant, the 2 ninjas who were walking towards the gentle wind suddenly shook their bodies, with big beads of sweat on their foreheads, and leaned forward. It fell straight down. Thump, thump. Seeing his companion get a spike, the 3 generations of Rakage couldn't help but startled. For a while, I couldn't figure out the situation. What happened just now? The ninja in Union Village was killed by a 7 or 8-year-old kid. Is this kind of thing possible? That's Shaolun Yan. It's still at the level of Sango Jade. This kid is a genius of the Uchiha clan. Yun Ren behind the 3 generations of Lei Ying suddenly exclaimed again and again. After seeing Hefeng's eyes, they all felt incredible. Chapter 308 I now give you 2 choices. 1 more. Advertisement. Writing round eyes. 3 generations of Lei Ying blinked vigorously, staring at Hefeng's eyes for a long time. The pupil is dark red, and there is a black guyu on it. It is indeed the blood of the Uchiha clan. I really didn't expect that the little ghosts I met here would have Zhuanyan. 3 generations of Rakage couldn't help but sigh with emotion. He had heard rumors before that the Golden Horn and Silver Horn were said to have died in the hands of the grandson of the original Hokage. At that time, he was just a 7 or 8-year-old kid. When I heard this for the first time, the 3 generations of Raking only felt incredible. The Golden Horn and the Silver Horn are ninjas who have been famous during the Warring States period. After the establishment of Union Village, their status are even higher. Rao is myself, I respect them very much in my heart. To say that he was defeated by a 7 or 8-year-old kid, this kind of thing is simply a fantasy. As a result, he never expected that as soon as he entered the border of the Country of Fire, he ran into the Uchiha clan, a genius who opened the eyes of writing rounds. What happened to Konoha Hidden Village? It's just a 7 or 8-year-old kid, shouldn't it be so scary? All of them are like monsters. Of course, because of the lack of information, the 3rd generation of Raking was not clear about the fact that Hefeng started writing rounds. So after seeing his eyes, he subconsciously regarded him as a member of the Uchiha clan. Did not think that he would be the grandson between the pillars. Upon seeing this, Yun Ren moved quickly, surrounding the Hefeng and Sarutobi. Cut off the retreat for the 2 of them. Unfortunately, the 3 generations of Lei Ying took a deep breath, and put away the shock that Hefeng had started writing round eyes at such an age. I saw you were only 7 or 8 years old, but I was thinking about letting you go. But at your age, you have started writing round eyes. I now give you 2 choices. The 3rd generation of Rakage is not in a hurry. There are more than a dozen ninjas acting with him. Among them, the weakest ninja also has the level of ninja. Not to mention, there is a monster like myself. Deal with 2 ninjas in Konoha district. The 3rd generation of Raking really couldn't think of it, and he might lose the slightest chance. And in the team, there are also ninjas with perceptual ability. It can be ensured that within a certain radius, there is no support for the ninja to approach. In fact, thanks to this perception ninja, only 3 generations of Rakage will find Sarutobi Rishap on the tree. The first choice is to follow us obediently. I can assure you that I won't hurt you. The attitude of the 3 generations of Raking changed instantly. Advertisement. He is very different from him, who has just faced the breeze and chose to be merciful. But, Hefeng will naturally not be afraid of the threat of the 3 generations of Rakage. As a traverser, he knows who the guy in front of him is. There is nothing to be afraid of myself. I choose to. Hefeng answered without thinking, even in the face of a ninja army, he still remained calm. Let the ninjas present admire him somewhat. At a young age, there is such a courage. On the contrary, it was Sarutobi Hizen who was standing behind him, and he hadn't fully eased up until this time. The performance of the 3 generations of Raking just now gave him a great shock. He couldn't help feeling that even the speed of Master Shunjian was not as fast as the guy in front of him. Okay. Seeing Hefeng choose the second directly, the 3rd generation Rakage was taken aback for a moment, and then nodded. If that's the case, then gouge your eyes out. Zefeng. What's the situation? Normally, it shouldn't be the first choice. I will go with you. The second choice is to talk less nonsense. What do you do if you have won? What is the operation of directly asking yourself to goad your eyes? Seeing the black lines on his face and the confused gentle breeze, the third generation of raking explained. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The second option is to leave the writing wheel to us. Is there any problem? Union Village has always wanted to study the secret of writing round eyes. It's just that there is no chance to get the Shalanian. Now that he finally saw the wind, there are still 2-3 Go Jade writing round eyes. The three generations of raking naturally did not want to give up. Zefeng. Good guys. Hefeng called a good fellow in his heart. Anyway, no matter how you choose, it's a death chant anyway. Then choose a hammer. Okay. In that case, I will also give you two choices. The first option is to commit suicide on the spot. The second option is to kill each other. You choose. Isn't it just pretending? Who can't? I really think I'm great, don't you? Hefeng couldn't help but vomit in his heart, clasping his hands on his chest, as if he didn't even put the third generation of rakage in his eyes. But his move made the three generations of raking amused. Advertisement. Ha ha ha, you kid is really interesting. I'm afraid you don't know who you are talking to now, right? In the next second, the three generations of raking disappeared directly in place. So fast. When Sarutobi saw this, he couldn't help exclaiming. From seeing the speed of the three generations of rakage, his gaze has been focused on the opponent. He didn't even dare to blink his eyes. I'm afraid that one didn't pay attention. The other party disappeared directly from his line of sight. But who knows, even staring at him. Still useless. Disappear as if it should disappear. It is no exaggeration to say that the speed of the ninja in front of him has exceeded Sarutobi's cognition. Be careful. Hefeng suddenly got up and hit Sarutobi's abdomen with a kick, kicking him out first. Next second, Hefeng's 5 fingers clenched into a fist and threw his fist into the air in front of him. Immediately afterwards, there should be nothing in the air, and a figure suddenly appeared, with 5 fingers stretched out, making gestures of a hand knife, and then slammed it down. Impartially hitting Hefeng's fist, the two forces were equal and collided. The third generation of rakage relied on its own muscle strength to develop hand knives to a point more terrifying than kunai. Hefeng, on the other hand, condenses its own chakra volume, concentrates it on the fist, and covers it. Then, go head on. Bang! A loud noise exploded between the two, forming a very terrifying air current, spreading out in all directions. Rao, the Yunrin who surrounded the Hefeng group, did not expect the situation to develop into this way, and their steps began to retreat involuntarily. It took a full 8 feet away to stabilize the center of gravity of the body. But Sarutobi Hizen, who was kicked out by the wind, was quickly overtaken by this airflow, and flew out fiercely. I saw Sarutobi Hizen's body tumbling a few times in the air, hitting the ground, and rolling a few more laps before stopping. But, the place kicked by the gentle breeze is more painful. I don't know, I thought I was the enemy of the wind. Hefeng, your kick is too cruel. Sarutobi gritting his teeth tightly, spitting out in his heart. If he goes a little higher, he feels that his ribs will be kicked and broken. This strength is too exaggerated. Chapter 309 Your ninjutsu is very powerful, but it's mine too more. Advertisement. Have I been hit by an illusion? The three generations of Lei Ying's eyes were straightened, and he looked at Hefeng incredibly, seriously wondering if he was the same as the two fallen Yunren. The illusion of the gentle wind. Otherwise, how do you explain this scene? An 8-year-old kid from Konoha hidden village had a tie with himself in terms of strength. Just kidding. Whoosh. Frightened, the three generations of Rakage's footsteps quickly retreated, and distanced themselves from the wind. Hefeng also took advantage of this force to retreat a few steps to gain a firm foothold. The Yunren who followed the three generations of Rakage all took a breath and marveled at the power of the wind. A lie, this 8-year-old kid actually drew a tie with the captain. Did you see it too? I thought it was because I had an illusion. To be honest, I saw it too, it's horrible. The strength of the three generations of raking is naturally very clear in their hearts. Whether it is power, speed, or physical strength. The three generations of Rakage are like monsters, no. It should be said that his existence itself is a monster. When he was young, he was taken by the second generation of Rakage and cultivated as his successor. What swordsmanship, ninjutsu, all passed to three generations of raking. Especially in the field of ninjutsu, the third generation of Rakage has shown an unparalleled horror talent. It only took a very short time to explore the way, and after that, it grew stronger and stronger at an unparalleled growth rate. In addition, his physical body is already very powerful. For a time, he became a genius ninja beyond everyone's reach. According to these Yunren's cognition, there is no such ninja who can compete with the three generations of Rakage in physical skills. But who knows? Konoha's 8-year-old kid actually drew a tie with the third generation of Rakage. It's impossible. 3 generations of Lei Ying shook his head and confirmed his chakra. It turned out that he didn't have any illusions at all. Hefeng did draw a tie with himself. It's just that this fact is so shocking that it is difficult to accept it. Give up. Noting the gentle breeze of the 3 generations of Rakage's expression, he suddenly spoke. The power between you and me is very different. It is impossible for you to defeat me now. Solo announced in a low voice. Advertisement. As if afraid that someone would not be able to hear it, I deliberately increased the volume several times. As a traverser's Zephyr, of course he knew how strong the 3 generations of Rakage was. He is not only the longest-lived Rakage, but also the highest power and longest-time Rakage in charge of the Kingdom of Thunder. Moreover, after the rebellion in Golden Horn and Silver Horn, he led the ninja army to settle the rebellion. As the third generation of Hokage, signed a peace agreement with Konoha village. Zeng used his own power to suppress Yao's rampage. During the Third Ninja World War, it was even more for his companions to get away and fight against more than 10,000 ninjas alone. After fighting for 3 days and nights, he died from exhaustion. I have to say that the third generation of Hokage is a terrifying ninja. He is very strong, but I am stronger than him now. Wooden escape technique, fairy mode, kaleidoscope riding round eyes, must be able to be. Each one is quite powerful ninjutsu in the ninja world. And the reward he just got when he punched in is exactly the Lei Dun Chakra mode. No matter what kind of ninjutsu, you can't escape my eyes. He said in a mysterious manner. Looking at your age, it should also be a ninja who has experienced the Sengoku period. Then you should have heard of the rumors of the Uchiha clan. As one of the strongest ninja in the Warring States period. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi. Uchiha's reputation can be said to be unknown. Especially the pair of riding round eyes made many ninjas feel jealous. Whether it's ninjutsu or illusion, they will only have nowhere to hide under the pupil technique of riding round eyes. And, using the Shulinyan to the extreme, it can also perfectly replicate the opponent's ninjutsu. In other words, no matter what ninjutsu you use. Next second, it's all mine, Hefeng said without thinking. He didn't want to scare him. Because it is not necessary. With Hefeng's current strength, he doesn't need a fake tiger's power at all to scare off 3 generations of raking. Even if it is head-to-head, the breeze can beat the opponent. Do not. As for the recognition of Hefeng, his strength is enough to crush the current 3 generations of raking. Although the later 3 generations of Hokage are very strong, he is still young after all. Strength is still a long way from the heyday of subversion. Hefeng thought to himself. Based on this relationship, Hefeng will naturally not have any pressure when facing the 3 generations of raking. This has led to him now with a somewhat playful mentality. Advertisement. You just said, copy my ninjutsu. The 3 generations of Lei Ying frowned slightly, grasping the key in the gentle sentence. It is also the most incredible place for him. Su Wen Shaolun Yan is extremely powerful. However, copying your own ninjutsu is such a thing. 3 generations of Hokage did not believe it. Boy, do you think that if you take my move, you will have the same strength as me? An attack of that level just now doesn't even count as a warm-up to me. Once I act truly, it's up to you, it's not my opponent at all. 3 generations of Hokage roared without thinking. I don't know why, looking at Hefeng's expression, he felt a bit angry in his heart. The kid in front of him is really too self-reliant. Actually think he can copy his ninjutsu. What a joke. My ninjutsu. No, to be precise, it is ninjutsu. That's a brand new fighting method developed by the 2nd generation of Hokage himself. Even if it is taught by everyone, I alone can learn the entire Union village. Just when the 3 generations of Hokage thought of this, he no longer hides his moves. Anyway, whether it's this 8-year-old kid who speaks crazy words. It's Sarutobi Hitoshi. He is not going to let it go. As a result, the 3 generations of Hokage decisively burst out a majestic chakra, attaching the Thunder Dun attribute, and then concentrated on his body. In the next second, the pale blue chakra wrapped the 3 generations of Hokage, and lightning would surround him. Surprisingly, the Lei Dun chakra mode known as the armor of Lei Dun. The ninjas of Union Village were even more dumbfounded. None of them expected that the 3 generations of raking would use their own tricks in front of Hefeng. Now, it's so pitiful, Konoha kid. Even if he has a riding wheel, it is impossible to see the captain's movements clearly. End this battle. For a while, these ninjas could not help but feel sympathetic and gentle. At this age, he has to face 3 generations of Hokage-like monsters. Also made him serious. However, including 3 generations of Hokage. No one thought that Hefeng also started the Lei Dun chakra mode. Chapter 310 Gentle, proficient in 5 escape chakras. One more. Advertisement. Looking at the chakra and thunder that enveloped the gentle breeze. The 3 generations of raking looked stunned. Can anyone explain, what is the situation now? It took several years to master the Lei Dun chakra mode. The 8-year-old kid in front of you learned it just by looking at it. Cheat, deceive, just take a look at the Lei Dun chakra mode, and you learned it. How is this possible? Lei Dun chakra mode, but the ninjutsu developed by the 2nd generation of Hokage, the difficulty of training is not generally high. Fake. It must be fake, even if that little devil possesses the narrator, it is impossible to master ninjutsu all at once. Yun Ren talked a lot, and their faces were all surprised at the gentle breeze. No one had thought that the 8-year-old Hefeng could really replicate the ninjutsu of others with Shaolun Yan. Actually, it is true that Hefeng has always been labeled as a genius and a monster. But no genius has reached this level yet. Just glance at the Lei Dun chakra mode used by the 3 generations of Hokage, and you can easily master it. The reason why he knows this ninjutsu is because of his previous punches. This reward was drawn from the gift package. It's just for Yun Ren who didn't know it. The scene of Hefeng using ninjutsu now is really surprising. Harmony, gentle style, not far away. Sarutobi Hizen opened his eyes wide and blinked vigorously, seriously wondering if he had any hallucinations. Today's Hefeng actually uses the same ninjutsu as the 3 generations of Hokage. And in the impression of Sarutobi Hazaki, Hefeng, but I have never used thunder ninjutsu. And many more. Rizan's pupils dilated, and he suddenly realized this. Wind escape. The breeze meets the wind escape spiral shuriken. Not to mention toying and shuiying. That is the basic chakra attribute of Mu-Dun ninjutsu. Moreover, the water dragon bombs and earth dragon bombs of the gentle breeze are used superbly. Fire escape ninjutsu. The gentle breeze can burn everything out. Plus the current Lei Dun chakra mode. Hefeng, like me, is a genius proficient in the 5 chakra attributes. Sarutobi Hizen's heart set off a stormy sea, and he couldn't calm down for a long time. Kaze is not only a ninja with the same 5 attributes chakras as Sun Slash. The ninjutsu he mastered is still very advanced. Although I am proficient in 5 escapes, I have my own shortcomings. Sarutobi Hizen knew very well in his heart that his own wind escape was ordinary cultivation. Advertisement. But with the current Zephyr, he couldn't see any shortcomings at all. Asterisk at carat asterisk dollar asterisk carat. Every chakra attribute in him is very powerful. What a terrible breeze. This is Sarutobi Hizen's evaluation of Hefeng today. In addition, I felt some sympathy for the 3 generations of raking. It just happened to meet a ninja who was so unreasonable with the wind. This is impossible. I saw the 3 generations of Lei Ying yelling at the gentle wind, and with a strong kick with his feet, the whole person disappeared directly in place. The speed is so fast that people can't see his movements at all. Except for the breeze. So fast. Hefeng took a deep breath, his eyes condensed slightly, and instantly upgraded the 3 Go Jade riding round eyes to a kaleidoscope. Although I don't want to admit it, the speed of the 3 generations of raking is really difficult to capture with only 3 Go Jade. Even Medbo, who opened the shocking door, is not as fast as the current 3 generations of raking. Hefeng thought to himself. But it's worth mentioning. Union Village is different from other ninja villages. Each generation of rakage must abandon its previous name and inherit the title of I. Such as Darui. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. After becoming the 5th generation of rakage, he changed his name to I. Hefeng doesn't know what the real name of the 3 generations of raking is. Because Kishimoto also didn't explain it. And now the person in power in Union Village is the 2nd generation of Lei Ying. The 3rd generation of raking is not called I at this time. Therefore, Hefeng had to use the 3 generation raking name. Bang! Hefeng stretched out his left arm to parry, blocking the 3rd generation rakage's hand knife. His other hand quickly clenched his fist, and slammed it towards the 3rd generation rakage's chest. In an instant, Hefeng concentrated his chakra on his fist. Weird power. With the reinforcement of Lei Dun chakra mode. And the capture of kaleidoscope riding round eyes. Hefeng's punch hit the 3rd generation of rakage's abdomen head on. Not out of mercy from his subordinates, but because Hefeng's height is much shorter than that of the 3 generations of rakage. After all, he is only 8 years old this year. Boom. Accompanied by the deafening loud noise, a terrifying air current mixed with visible thunder and lightning spread out in all directions. Not good. Bad. Everyone, be careful. Advertisement. When the ninjas of Union Village saw this, their faces changed in shock. No one thought that Hefeng, an 8-year-old kid, would be so terrifying. Not only blocked the offensive of 3 generations of rakage, but also launched a counterattack. However, these ninjas still underestimated the outbreak of the wind. The ninja, who was moving slightly slower, was directly hit by the burst of shock waves. Spouting a bit of hot blood on the spot, both feet left the ground, like a kite with a broken string, flying out uncontrollably. What the hell is going on with this kid? The 3 generations of Lei Ying's face changed drastically. He really couldn't understand how the 8-year-old kid in front of him did it. Did he really use his own riding wheel to easily replicate his ninjutsu? How could this kind of thing be possible? But, if this is false, how can we explain the power of Hefeng? Whether it is performance or strength. They are all exactly the same as the Lei Dun chakra mode. Do not. It's not just the same. The power of the Fist of the Wind is greater than that of the Lei Dun chakra mode. I saw the body of the 3rd generation of Lei Ying withdraw. After 2 or 3 could not breathe, they stepped back 8 feet before they could stop and stand firm. The 3rd generation of rakage's breathing began to accelerate and became rush. Although the fist of Hefeng is very strong, it is enough to kill Shinobu in a flash. If it weren't for my body to be stronger than an ordinary ninja, that punch just now. The 3rd generation of rakage couldn't help taking a breath. It wasn't until this moment that he realized the little demon in front of him. It was scarier than he thought. I just wanted to be merciful, not to hurt an 8-year-old kid. I am so silly. How could it be an ordinary kid who can be responsible for the defense of the border of the country of fire at this time? 3 generations of rakage couldn't help but complain about himself. This changed his attitude and took it seriously. However, at this time, he also noticed the natural disadvantages of his body. If I were taller, it would not have been the abdomen of the 3rd generation of rakage, but his chest. Hefeng frowned slightly, recalling the fight just now. As a result, Hefeng's hands were sealed, and he used a transformation technique. Bang! A cloud of white mist gradually dispersed. The 8-year-old breeze disappeared. It is replaced by an adult version of Senjujuzuma. Chapter 311 3 generations of rakage people are stupid, 2 more. Advertisement. The 1st generation of Hokage. The 3 generations of rakage couldn't help being stunned, but he didn't expect that the gentle breeze would suddenly become the Senjujuma. For a moment, the 3 generations of rakage even wondered whether his opponent would be Senshozuma. Just disguised as an 8-year-old kid. But he reacted suddenly. This war broke out because of the death of Senjujuma. Therefore, the Senjujuzuma in front of him is absolutely impossible to be him. I feel that my body is too small, that's why. 3 generations of Reikage took a deep breath continuously, calming his emotions. Realized why Hefeng would use the transformation technique. The punch just now was powerful, but it was due to the difference in height. Hefeng hit his abdomen with a punch. Based on this relationship, Hefeng can change his body structure through the transformation technique. I have to say that Hefeng is really smart. But it looks like you, as a Uchiha clan, admire the pillars very much. But this is a matter of course. What the pillars did is indeed more powerful than that of Uchiha Madara. 3 generations of Reikage couldn't help but sigh with emotion. He had heard of this ninja in the post during the Warring States period. From the moment he chose to give up the generational hatred with the Uchiha clan and establish Shinobu village. I respect him very much in my own heart. Only, the 3 generations of Reikage didn't think of it, and asked unintentionally. It will lead to incredible things. The Uchiha clan. Haha, I am the grandson of the original Hokage, Senju Kazu. Hefeng said without thinking, but denied it. Yun Ren, as well as the 3 generations of Reiking, all stood blankly on the spot. The kid in front of him, unexpectedly. Say he is the grandson of Zujian. Wait, if he is the grandson of the pillars, then how would you explain Zhuanyan? Isn't that the pupil technique unique to the Uchiha clan? What is happening? Is it possible that Hefeng transplanted the Shaolin Yan? The 3 generations of Reiking couldn't help but startled. Transplanting the writing wheel, bring it on. And this time, Hefeng no longer passively defends. Advertisement. Although he used the transformation technique, his ninjutsu and physical skills did not produce any negative emotions. He still maintained the Lei Dun chakra mode and rushed to the 3rd generation of Reikage. Konoha rigid tornado. Hefeng jumped up from the ground, his body rotated, swept his right leg towards the 3rd generation of Reikage. So fast. Rao is the 3 generations of Reikage who was known for speed in the ninja world, and at this moment he feels an unprecedented sense of oppression. I didn't expect Konoha to have such a monster. 3 generations of Lei Ying couldn't help but vomit in his heart, but his hands didn't dare to have the slightest righteousness, and quickly made a blockade. Boom. The sound was thunderous, the terrifying air flow reproduced, and the majestic power surged towards the 3 generations of Reikage. Like the power of natural disasters. Push him back 8 feet away again. For a time, the battle area between Hefeng and the 3rd generation of Reikage has become the most dangerous zone in this forest. The ninjas of Union Village stepped back one after another. No one has just stepped forward. Go on, just kidding, an 8-year-old kid actually suppressed the captain. This speed is too exaggerated, I haven't seen his movements clearly. Yun Ren talked a lot, and they were terrified in their hearts. No one thought of it. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. In their consciousness, the battle that would end with crushing would turn out to be like this. The speed of the breeze is getting faster and faster, and the strength is getting stronger and stronger. When he landed on his toes, a powerful force poured into the ground. Directly smashed the layers of the earth, spreading cracks like spider webs. The shock wave spread in all directions. Uproot the big trees in the forest. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, the ninjas of Yunrankyun wouldn't believe it at all. An 8-year-old kid can possess such terrible physical skills. Actually, Rao is the Sarutobi Hizen who knows the wind best, and he is dumbfounded at this time. He feels that the current gentle breeze is totally different from him who uses Baman Dunjia. The scariest thing is, before fighting against the 3 generations of Reikage, Sarutobi Hizen had never seen Hefeng use Raiden ninjutsu. In other words, he really relied on the copying ability of Zhuanyan. Learn the opponent's ninjutsu. Do not. Sarutobi Hizen shook his head, thinking that this shouldn't be the credit of writing round eyes. Otherwise, the Uchiha clan would have become the strongest clan in the ninja world. It won't be suppressed by Senjuzuma at all. It is a gentle breeze. Even members of the Uchiha clan can never achieve such a degree of gentleness. Advertisement. Sarutobi drew a breath, marvel at the talent of the Japanese style. But, the 3 generations of Reikage are not waiting. Although Hefeng's offensive is very strong, the physical strength of the 3 generations of Reikage. More exaggerated than the tail beast. Even the tail beast Jade of 8 tails failed to hurt him. Just rely on physical offensive. Not to mention, although Hefeng's fist suppressed the opponent for a while, it did not cause much harm. Your power is really scary. Hefeng couldn't help but praise, and then used the wood escape technique. I saw his back bulge rapidly, like a wooden stake, slowly carved into a human shape. After 1 or 2 breaths, he became a clone that looked exactly like Hefeng, and jumped out of his back. Then, with a kick on the toes of the gentle wind, another piece of intact land was torn apart. The palm of the right hand began to gather the chakras and flow in irregular directions. And his Mu-Dun clone injects chakra attribute changes into it. Wind escape spiral shuriken. The next second, a high-density chakra appeared in Hefeng's hand, looking like a shuriken. The Yun Ren who were present were shocked again. What is that? Wind escape. What the hell is going on with such a high-density chakra? I have never seen this kind of ninjutsu before. 2. It's terrible, is this guy really only 8 years old? Yun Ren talked a lot and stood on the spot blankly. There was nothing but fear in their eyes when they looked at Solo. If there were no 3 generations of Reikage, they wouldn't even know how to fight against a ninja of this level. The difference in strength between the two sides is not even a little bit at all. Rao is the third generation of Reikage, his face is also shocked. That wind escape chakra is too outrageous. The three generations of Reiking were very determined. The wind dance spiral shuriken used by Hefeng is the most powerful wind dance ninjutsu he has ever seen. I must not be hit by this thing. 3 generations of Lei Ying thought in his heart, ready to keep a distance from the wind. But the next second, Hefeng decisively threw the Feng Dun spiral shuriken out. The speed is so fast that the 3 generations of Reiking did not expect it. Not only that, but the wind also enlarges the pupils of the kaleidoscope, and imposes illusions on the 3 generations of Reikage that appear to be horrified. For a time, the 3 generations of Reiking were set in place. Chapter 312 You should be Fenging. One more. Advertisement. Hefeng decisively used the illusion of writing round eyes in a kaleidoscope to anchor the 3 generations of Reikage. If it was Itachi's monthly reading, the 3 generations of Reiking could definitely be immersed in the illusion of a kaleidoscope. But Sasuke's kaleidoscope writing round eyes is weaker than Itachi in illusion. When dealing with Danzo, he only used illusion to affect a very delicate time. A powerhouse like the 3rd generation of Reikage, it is even more impossible to control it for too long. However, Hefeng had no intention of using illusion to tell the winner. Boom. Fengdun spiral shuriken hit the chest of the 3 generations of Reikage and burst open instantly, and the majestic Fengdun chakra expanded in all directions, forming an energy storm, enveloping the 3rd generation of Reikage. I saw 3 generations of Reikage lift their feet off the ground, floating in the center of the energy storm. Fengyin chakra is like a sharp knife, 7 3 generation Reikage's bodies. The Yun Ren who were present were even more stunned by the scene in front of them. What's the matter with the wind escape? It's too exaggerated. It's a lie, isn't he an 8-year-old kid? How could he use such a terrifying ninjutsu? Too strong. For a time, every Yun Ren's cognition of Fengdun ninjutsu was subverted by Hefeng. They really couldn't understand how an 8-year-old kid could have such an exaggerated power. 3 generations of Lei Ying, a master in Union Village, was directly beaten. Too frightening. In this way, the opponent will be resolved. Sarutobi Hizen clenched his hands into fists, staring at the 3 generations of Reikage in the energy storm. According to his knowledge of the wind escape spiral shuriken, no one can withstand the attack of this ninjutsu. But speaking of it, Hefeng, when did he enter the fairy mode? Sarutobi Hizen glanced at Hefeng. He remembered that Hefeng said that only in the fairy mode, the wind escape spiral shuriken can be thrown out. But in the battle just now, Hefeng has been fighting against the 3 generations of Reikage. There is no chance of being immobile. As a result, Hefeng suddenly entered the fairy mode, and threw Feng Dun spiral shuriken. Is it possible? Hefeng's mastery of the fairy model has been improved a step further. Such a difficult thing, I am afraid that only Hefeng can do it. Sarutobi Hizen couldn't help sighing inwardly. Actually, when Kazuka and Sarutobi Hazaki hid in a tree and observed secretly. Advertisement. Hefeng secretly left a shadow clone, absorbing natural energy. Wait until the right time, and then release. Although I got the reward of Lei Dun chakra mode by punching in the card, but Hefeng took a deep breath and thought to himself, the real power of the 3 generations of Reikage lies in his body, not in ninjutsu. The 2nd generation of Reiking, the 4th generation of Reiking. They are all masters who use the Lei Dun chakra mode. But compared with the 3 generations of Reikage, it looks like a dwarf. Therefore, according to the judgment of the wind, the real power of the 3 generations of Reiking should lie in his body. It is his muscle strength that created his legend. In other words, even if Hefeng mastered the same ninjutsu, it would be difficult to defeat the 3 generations of Reikage with this move. So he thought of the more powerful wind escape spiral shuriken. The current 3 generations of Reikage should not have reached their peak state. With the feeling of the wind, the energy storm caused by the wind escape spiral shuriken gradually subsided. 3 generations of Reikage's body fell to the ground and fell on it. Every ninja in Union Village held his breath at this moment and did not dare to act rashly. He stared at the 3 generations of Reikage, worried about his physical condition. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Really, what a great ninjutsu. However, the 3 generations of Reikage were not killed by the gentle wind escape spiral shuriken. He took a deep breath, sat up from the pit, and looked around. He is now sitting in a deep pit 30 meters in diameter and 1 meter deep. It is no exaggeration to say that in the lifetime of the 3 generations of Reikage, I have never seen such a terrible ninjutsu. If it weren't for his body, he was stronger than ordinary people. Maybe it's really going to die here. Boy, you should be Fenging. 3 generations of Lei Ying leaned on his knees, slowly stood up from the ground, and praised Hefeng. In his opinion, the guy who built Cheyenne Village was a fake Fenging at all. Able to use the wind of the wind escape spiral shuriken. Is the real Fenging. You are not bad, a ninja who can be safe and sound under my wind escape spiral shuriken, you are. Hefeng wanted to say that it was the first one. But think about it carefully, the avatar of Uchiha Madara I met before, Senju Zuma. It seems all right. Forget it. Advertisement. Hefeng shook his head, and simply interrupted these words. The 3 generations of Reiking couldn't help but startled. Before me, has anyone withstood such a terrifying wind escape? It should be between the pillars. The only person the 3 generations of Reikage can think of is between the pillars. However, he did not struggle with this matter any longer. I saw the 3 generations of Lei Ying slowly raised his right hand, and once again gestured with a knife. However, the difference is, this time, the 3 generations of raking bent his thumb and pressed it against the palm of his hand. Next second, 3 generations of Raikage's hair stood up, and the Lei Dun chakra on his body became stronger. Moreover, the 3 generations of Lei Ying exuded a terrifying murderous aura from all over his body, sweeping toward the gentle wind. Not difficult to see. This time, the 3 generations of Raikage were murderous. I was thinking about bringing you back to Union Village. It seems that if you don't hold the determination to kill you, it is impossible to defeat you. At the moment when the words were finished, the 3rd generation of Lei Ying began to act again. His body was extremely swift, and it looked like a cheetah that burst out suddenly. Go straight to the breeze. Hell Spike 4 Benkansho. In an instant, Lei Dun chakra released by the 3rd generation of Raikage began to focus on his 4 fingers. It turned out to be this trick. As a traverser, he will naturally not mistake the fame of the 3 generations of Raikage. During the 4th Ninja World War, he used this move to break the Tuden Wanli Tuliu wall released by the Ninja United Army. Very powerful, and, as the fingers decrease, the power will increase greatly. When this technique is strengthened to the point where only one finger remains, it is the strongest spear. Rao is a completely violent Yao, and he is not the opponent of the 3rd generation of Raikage. Mu Dun Wood Dragon Technique. Seeing the breeze, he kicked his toes, and the whole person quickly backed away. At the same time, he slapped his hands and the earth shook. Countless vines spread out from the foot of the gentle wind, condensed in one place, and transformed into a mighty wood dragon, spreading its teeth and dancing claws, and pursued the 3 generations of Raikage. Ouch roar. Accompanied by roars, the wooden dragon opened his blood basin and swallowed it towards the 3 generations of Raikage. However, the body of the 3rd generation of Lei Ying, like a flash of lightning, rushed into the huge mouth of the wooden dragon. Chapter 313 Hell Stab, a consistent hand. 2 more. Advertisement. The 3 generations of thunder shadows that used hell stabs were like a broken bamboo, and directly rushed into the dragon of wood. In an instant, large and small cracks broke out on the wooden dragon's body, all over the body. From the cracks, you can even clearly see the light of thunder that penetrated, illuminating the entire forest. Rao is a gentle wooden dragon, and can't stop the advance of the 3 generations of raking. Rumble. With the thunder, the 3 generations of Raikage rushed out directly from the tail of the wooden dragon. Of the 4 fingers close together, only 3 remain. The little finger is bent like the thumb. Further enhance the power. The wooden dragon crushed by him collapsed suddenly and turned into large and small fragments. Black thunder. Immediately afterwards, the 3 generations of Lei Ying who got rid of the wooden dragon roared and released black lightning from his body, which changed into the shape of a cheetah and ran towards the gentle breeze. The speed was so fast that he caught up with the wind in an instant, and bit his arm with one bite. Go away. Seeing the breeze, he flicked his backhand and swept his arm over. The thunder done and the black thunder on his body collided and rubbed against each other, bursting out hot flames. A terrifying air current mingled with thunder and lightning spread out in all directions. However, the gentle Lei Dun chakra is still better in quality than the black thunder of the 3rd generation of Raikage. The Black Panther transformed by this lightning was quickly destroyed. And the 3 generations of raking also seized this opportunity and rushed to Hefeng. Aim at his chest and run directly through it. Murderous burst. Die. Konoha's kid. Every ninja present held his breath at this moment. As if the outcome will be decided. If you change to another ninja, there is basically no chance to escape Sanbin Kano. You are really strong. However, Hefeng still has a calm expression. Whoosh. The 3 generations of Raikage's Kansho continued to move forward, but just when he was about to penetrate Hefeng's chest. This 8-year-old kid disappeared in front of him. For a time, the 3 generations of Lei Ying's eyes widened, and an unbelievable expression appeared. Disappeared. In the mode of own thunder escape chakra. Hefeng. Did it disappear? How can that be? This kid is faster than me. The 3 generations of raking were terrified in his heart. In his cognition, his speed was already the fastest person in the ninja world. Rao is the 2nd generation Raikage, and can't be faster than himself in the Lei Dun chakra mode. Advertisement. But, the breeze, which is firmly locked in front of my line of sight, is faster than myself. This unscientific. How could anyone surpass the captain in speed? Just kidding. What did I see? That kid disappeared in front of the captain. How did he do it? Young Ren people talked a lot, and no one thought that the speed of the wind would surpass the 3 generations of raking. Only Sarutobi Rishi had a suddenly realized expression. By the way, Hefeng is now, and he has learned the Flying Thunder God technique of Master Feijian. Furthermore, the physical skill match just now is enough for Hefeng to imprint the Fei Lei Shen Shu style on the opponent's body. Sarutobi Hitoshi's pupils dilated, and he exclaimed in his heart. The result was the same as he expected. The gentle breeze that disappeared in front of the 3 generations of Raikage reappeared. The place where Hefeng appeared was behind the 3rd generation of Lei Ying. It was the same as Sarutobi Hisaki expected. Hefeng surpassed the speed of 3 generations of Raikage by virtue of the technique of Flying Thunder God. Hell Stab, a consistent hand. Hefeng immediately shouted, imitating the 3 generations of raking and used the same moves. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The difference is. Hefeng did not gradually increase the power of Hell Stab like the 3 generations of Raikage. But as soon as he came up, he forced himself to use a consistent hand. If I remember correctly, Naruto finally defeated the 3 generations of Hokage by relying on the principle of using the strongest spear to attack the strongest shield. Hefeng thought to himself. The spear of the 3 generations of Hokage is stronger than his shield after all. Boom! Thunder erupted in Hefeng's ears, and the majestic power penetrated directly toward the 3 generations of Hokage. Right on his back. This sudden change is as if the 3 generations of Hokage hadn't thought of it. The body fell down uncontrollably, grabbed the ground with his head, and pounced on the ground. The shock wave spread to the surroundings, pushing the grass flat, creating a dimple and going out. The most terrifying thing is that the skin and muscles of the 3rd generation of Hokage are peeled off layer by layer under the force of the gentle wind, and blood is bursting out. The ninjas in Union Village were stunned, none of them expected. The power of the wind can be so terrifying. He actually wounded 3 generations of Hokage. You know, in their cognition, the 3 generations of Hokage have never had scars. This kind of thing is simply too outrageous. Advertisement. Outrageously outrageous. However, the strength of Yaiban Guansho did not last long, and with a kick on his feet, he instantly retreated to 8 feet away. An attack of that level, Rao is the 3rd generation of Hokage, shouldn't it be enough? Hefeng thought to himself, watching the billowing smoke in front of him. Soon, the smoke began to disperse. The 3 generations of Lei Ying lying in the pit came into view of the peaceful wind. His back was full of blood that had just flowed out. It looks shocking. However, isn't this running through? Hefeng stared at the kaleidoscope and wrote round eyes. He thought that his consistent hand would be enough to penetrate the body of the 3 generations of Hokage, leaving a bloody cavity, front and back transparent. I didn't expect it, it was just skin wounds. How strong is this guy's body? Hefeng couldn't help but complain, but soon realized that although reincarnation of the dirty earth can resurrect the dead and give them unlimited chakras, the shortcomings are also very obvious. The defensive power of a ninja who is reincarnated from the dirty soil will be reduced. And the current 3 generations of Raking not only have fresh flesh, but also the peak period of the body. It is not surprising that it can withstand the strength of a consistent hand. Is it perfect? 3 generations of Lei Ying clenched his teeth, supported his body with both hands, and stood up again. He clenched his teeth and felt the sharp pain coming from his back. My heart is like a sea swept by a storm, unable to calm for a long time. Hell spikes 4 Benkansho. It has always been the ninjutsu he is proud of. In the end, I didn't expect that I was only given a glance at the gentle kaleidoscope writing wheel, and I learned it. Not only that, but also used this ninjutsu to injure himself severely. Rao is the 2nd generation Raikage-sama's ninjutsu, and I can't break my defense. The Lei Dun Chakra mode is also known as the Thunder Armor. It is the absolute defense among the 3 generations of Raikage's cognition. Now it was broken by the wind, and it almost subverted his cognition. What makes him unacceptable most is, this looks like a ninja between the pillars, but in fact, he is only 8 years old. An 8-year-old kid inflicted himself like this. Is this kind of thing fair? Is it reasonable? It's even bigger than the Arabian Nights. What kind of monster are you? Chapter 314 Susao can almost collapse. One more. Advertisement. Forget it. Seeing the 3 generations of Raikage before him, Hefeng suddenly lost interest. He originally planned to use the Lei Dun Chakra mode to defeat the 3 generations of Raking. As a result, I didn't expect that even the strongest consistent hand in Lei Dun Chakra mode would only cause skin trauma. Even without Muji's ability to heal, the wounds of the 3rd generation of Raking quickly healed. Speaking of which, the same chakra attribute can offset part of the damage. Hefeng recalled the time when he and Naruto used the Wind Escape Spiral Shuriken against Kodo. None of them could destroy his Wind Escape heart. It should be because the chakras of the same attribute will offset some of the damage. Since even his consistent hand with extra strange power, he has not been able to severely inflict 3 generations of Raikage. Even if you imitate Naruto's tactics, use the strongest spear of the 3 generations of Raikage to attack its strongest shield. It may not be able to achieve any amazing results. Stop playing. Hefeng took a deep breath and directly released the majestic chakra volume. Like a flame, it instantly enveloped Hefeng's body. Immediately afterwards, white bones grew from it. Sarutobi's eyes straightened suddenly, holding his breath, and staring at the wind with all his attention. He really knows this ninjutsu too well. Can Suzuo care? Originally, Sarutobi Hiseki was still very strange. No matter how you look at this ninjutsu, Suzuo is better than the Raiden Chakra mode. As a result, Hefeng has not been used. It now appears that Hefeng did not have a serious mindset from the beginning. What's that? 3 generations of Raikage watched the Suzuo Nengu released by Hefeng, and suddenly felt an ominous premonition in his heart for some reason. But, think about the purpose of coming here. The 3 generations of Raikage still did not retreat. He bent his ring finger. Hell spikes Urban Kansho. Seeing 3 generations of Lei Ying kicked his feet, his body resembled a straight lightning, rushing out from the spot. Next second, the 3 generations of Raikage flashed directly in front of Hefeng, raising his arms and putting his fingers together, trying to pierce Hefeng's left chest directly before Susanoo was fully formed. However, Suzuo Nengu's defensive power is stronger than the 3 generations of Raikage imagined. Do not. To be precise, it was Hefeng who improved Sasuke's Susao. Advertisement. Just when the bones were wrapped in the wind, he decisively combined the Lei Dun Chakra pattern with Suzuo Nohu. On the purple Suzuo Nenhu's body, another layer of blue thunder armor was covered. Complementing each other with Susao no Hu, he instantly improved the defensive power of Hefeng. Rao is the second hand of the 3 generations of Raikage, and can't penetrate the double armor of the Japanese style. The ninjas in Union Village were even more stunned, no one expected. Hefeng can use such a powerful ninja. The strength of the captain is second only to the second generation Raikage-sama. What kind of monster is this kid? It's horrible, can't even Urbenkansho attack him. Yun Ren talked a lot. Inwardly, he was shocked to the extreme by Hefeng's strength. Still not working. 3 generations of Raikage clenched his teeth, he was already forcing his body now. In that case, then. 3 generations of Lei Ying took a deep breath, in order to defeat the wind, he could only fight thoroughly. In an instant, from the 3 generations of Lei Ying, a more powerful thunder and lightning burst out. His middle finger is also bent. There is only one finger left to deal with the wind. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Although in the eyes of others, the 3rd generation of Raikage uses fewer and fewer fingers. But his ninjutsu power is getting stronger and stronger. Hell stab, a consistent hand. The hysterical 3 generations of Raikage suddenly screamed, and more dazzling lightning burst out from their fingers. However, the breezy Susanna became semi-complete at this moment, condescendingly looking down at the 3 generations of Raikage in front of him. He abruptly defended his consistent hand. Break it for me. However, the 3 generations of Raikage did not give up, but focused more chakra and attention into this attack. Along with his desperate effort, a gap suddenly appeared in the armor of Susanna's thunder. Immediately after that, the gap spread in all directions at a speed visible to the naked eye, and it became larger and larger, turning from a gap into a crack. Rao is a gentle breeze, and never thought that the attacks of the 3 generations of Raikage would have such a terrifying power. You know, this is the dual defense of Susanoo and the armor of thunder. Each of them is an absolute defensive existence in the world of Naruto. Is this the strength of the 3 generations of Raikage? Hefeng looked shocked and found that he had underestimated 3 generations of Raking. Next second, the consistent hand of the 3 generations of Raikage directly broke through the armor of thunder, and went to the deeper level of Suzuo Nangu. Advertisement. Then, therefore, the technique is repeated, and the gentle Susanna can be torn apart. Sarutobi Hizen, who was not far away, was dumbfounded on the spot. He originally thought that after Hefeng used Susao no Hu, he would defeat the 3 generations of Raikage with overwhelming power in this battle. Never imagined that the 3 generations of Raking who were once at an absolute disadvantage. He just made a comeback. This kind of thing is too horrible. That's a genius from Konoha Hidden Village, a monster. Sure enough, does every village have its own monster? Up to this moment, Sarutobi Risen had to sweat for Hefeng. This time, he really encountered a strong enemy. Even Sarutobi Risen, with the strength of the 3rd generation Raikage, is already on par with the 2nd generation Raikage. Boom. With a loud noise, Suzuo Nangu shattered on the spot and cracked a big hole. And the fingers of the 3 generations of Raikage still have no tendency to be decadent. Die to me, kid. The 3 generations of Raking opened his mouth wide with a hideous face, and concentrated all his last strength on his fingers. Go straight to the breeze. It's horrible. Hefeng looked at the menacing 3 generations of Raikage, and had no choice but to avoid its sharp edges, and the figure disappeared again. A black shadow was left on the spot. Rumble. The thunder of loud noises spread to the surroundings, and the 3 generations of thunder shadows directly penetrated Susanoo no Hu, and continued to move forward. The burst of shock waves directly flattened the forest in front. The ninjas of Union Village even took a breath. The captain's consistent hand is so strong. This power surpasses the 2nd generation of Raikage-sama. Too scary. Every look in Yun Ren's eyes was completely stunned. Now, that kid can't live anymore, right? Damn it, is that kid damn it. However, just when everyone thought Hefeng would be killed by the 3 generations of Raikage with a consistent hand, the real gentle breeze fell directly on Sarutobi Hizen's side. It is still the technique of Flying Thunder God. Avoided the attacks of 3 generations of Raikage. Chapter 315 3 generations of Raikage. Dead. 2 more. Advertisement. Flying Thunder God technique. When seeing Hefeng suddenly appeared next to him, Sarutobi Risen noticed that there was a Thunder God technique left by the wind on his arm. But soon, Sarutobi Risen suddenly realized that it was Hefeng who had left behind when Hefeng helped him block the attack of the 3 generations of Raikage. At the same time, Sarutobi Hazumi felt lucky. As long as there is a Flying Thunder God technique, Hefeng can be invincible. Any ninjutsu, as long as it cannot attack the wind, has no meaning. It was really dangerous just now. Sarutobi Hisaki couldn't help sighing with emotion, and he was indeed shocked by being able to penetrate Susanna's ninjutsu in an instant. If it weren't for the wind, there would be the art of Flying Thunder God. I'm afraid the winner has just been decided. Is it the art of Flying Thunder God again? 3 generations of Lei Ying turned around, looked directly at Hefeng, and then looked around. Although Fei Lei Shen seemed incomprehensible, his weakness was also very obvious. The technique of Flying Thunder God belongs to a kind of time and space ninjutsu. If you want to teleport your body, you must rely on the technique. In other words, just confirm the position of all the surgical procedures. You can predict where the Zephyr will appear next time. As long as the speed is fast enough, he can attack the wind. It's over, kid. 3 generations of Lei Ying dropped his arms and pointed his hands at the ground. The wound on his back was completely healed at this time. Although it will still feel a little pain, it will no longer affect the physical condition of the third generation of raking. He is ready to end the battle with a consistent hand. Okay. Seeing it in the breeze, he nodded towards the third generation of Lei Ying. He is now able to figure out the strength of the 3 generations of Rakage. It is unrealistic to want to defeat him with the Lei Dun Chakra mode. However, there is more than just a Lei Dun Chakra mode for Hefeng's unique trick. It's over. The moment he finished speaking, Hefeng released his chakra to the extreme. This time, Susanna is no longer a semi-complete body. But, complete body. I saw the purple chakra burst out of Hefeng, like a flame, holding him up high. Even the Sarutobi Hizen on the side was directly enveloped in it. Then the bones, muscles, meridians, skin, and armor evolved from the chakras one by one, forming a substantive effect. 3 or 4 could not breathe. A behemoth suddenly appeared in front of the third generation of Lei Ying. Look down on the earth as a warrior. What is this? Open, kidding, is this also ninjutsu? This kid, isn't he only 8 years old? Advertisement. Did he always play with us from the beginning? Yun Ren talked a lot, and no one thought that Hefeng could suddenly use such an unreasonable ninjutsu. The scariest thing is, the ninja standing in front of them was neither Senjujuma nor Uchiha Madara. But, an 8-year-old kid in Konoha Hidden Village. An 8-year-old kid. It would have such a terrifying power. Where do you go to reason with this kind of thing? Not scientific at all. Rao is the third generation of raking, and they are all dumbfounded. He originally wanted to end the battle with a consistent hand. The result is now. Is this a hammer? Hefeng stands at an altitude of more than 200 meters. You can't fly, so can you hit it with your head? Grunt. 3 generations of Rakage rolled his throat and swallowed nervously. The mentality suddenly collapsed. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. He has always been dubbed a genius by Union Village. At a young age, he was selected by the second generation of Rakage and became a close disciple. Even the ninjutsu Lei Dun Chakra mode was taught to myself. I wanted to contribute my own strength and build a great cause in this war. Who knows, as soon as he arrived at Muyeyan village, he had not yet figured out the border defense situation at the border of the country of fire. I met such a terrifying kid with the wind. 8 years old, kid. The third generation of Rakage opened the corners of his mouth and gasped in air. And Hefeng no longer has to talk with the 3 generations of Rakage. Lei Dun Chakra mode. Hefeng once again released the ninjutsu that he had just punched in. However, this time, it didn't affect his whole body, but enveloped the entire Susanoo. Turn this complete god of war into a god of thunder. Next second, Susanoo directly raised his right leg, aimed at the 3 generation Rakage below, and stepped on it severely. The momentum is like a broken bamboo. The Yunrin behind the 3 generations of Lei Ying were shrouded in huge shadows. In addition, there is unprecedented despair. In their eyes, this is no longer the power a ninja should have. This is clearly the power of God. Advertisement. We have no chance. It's over. We lost. The Yunrin raised their heads and watched the soles of Suzuo Nohu's feet fall. Their hands drooped naturally, the 5 fingers loosened, and the ninjas they had been holding fell to the ground one after another. At this moment, they all chose to give up. The strength gap between the two sides is not in the same dimension at all. There are only 3 generations of Rakage. Although desperate, they did not give up. He kicked his feet, the whole person jumped up, raised his right arm, and stretched out the finger that contains the power of thunder. Performing his strongest ninjutsu once again. Hell stab, a consistent hand. The 3 generations of Rakage screamed and greeted Susanoo. However, this extremely powerful move was vulnerable to a complete Suzuo Nangu. Rumble. Along with the thunder, the fingers of the 3 generations of Rakage collided strongly with the soles of Suzuo Nohu's feet. A horrible air flow spread out in all directions. Re-photograph the Yunins below on the ground. Click. 3 generations of Rakage's finger fractured on the spot. The strongest spear, in front of Thor Susanna, is completely vulnerable. Rumble. I saw Suzuo Nangu's feet quickly landed, and the 3rd generation of Rakage directly stepped on the ground. Not only that, but under the control of the Japanese wind, Suzuo Nang immediately drew out the Chakrata sword. Aiming at the 3 generations of Rakage on the ground, it penetrated directly. Chakra Tachi, who was wrapped in blue thunder and lightning, even pierced the soles of his own feet and pierced the 3 generations of Rakage. The thunder armor of the 3 generations of Rakage was peeled off layer by layer. Immediately afterwards, his body was penetrated by Chakrata. Pouch. The blood spurted and infested Susanoo's Chakrata sword. Rao is the so-called strongest shield of the 3 generations of Rakage. In the face of the power of the wind, it is still vulnerable. Sarutobi Hizumi witnessed this scene all the way, only feeling that the current breeze was even more terrifying than when he stopped Uchiha Kenichi. He took a breath and glanced at Hefeng. Complicated feelings. Hefeng, is there really no upper limit for your strength? Sarutobi Hizen really couldn't understand how Hefeng did it. Stronger. The rest of the Yunren people were even more stunned, and their hearts were occupied by despair. Standing on the spot, I don't know what to do. According to their cognition, it is impossible for them to escape from Hefeng. Chapter 316. You can say last words, but I don't listen. One more. Advertisement. Rao is known as the strongest shield of the 3 generations of Rakage, and he can't defend against the wind Susanna. This is not only the posture of the full body of the Valkyrie, but also covers the Lei Dun Chakra mode. Coupled with the celestial chakra effect of the Japanese style. The power of the attack is far stronger than the tail beast jade condensed by the 8 tails. However, this is not yet. Although the current 3 generations of Raikage are already very strong, this should not be the peak of his body. Hefeng thought to himself. Until now, he still remembers that in order to delay time, the 3 generations of Raikage used their own efforts to face the highlight moments of tens of thousands of ninjas. If such a ninja stays in Union Village, it will only feed the tiger. It is better to take this opportunity to get rid of him. Moreover, this is the border of the country of fire. The 3rd generation of Raikage was not only an intruder, but also the one who launched the attack first. Regardless of the reason, the current Hefeng can dispose of the 3 generations of Raking at will. Thinking of this, the gentle breeze dissipated the full body of Susao Nobu, and his body fell from the air. It happened to stop at the side of the 3rd generation of Raking. As for the Yunrin who followed the 3 generations of Raikage, all their faces were ashen at this time, and they stared nervously at their 8-year-old gentle breeze. They all set off stormy waves in their hearts, staring at the wind, and did not dare to act rashly. After seeing the power displayed by Hefeng, they almost reached a consensus in their hearts. That is, the power of the wind is far beyond them. Even if he turned to escape, it was impossible to escape. However, Hefeng just glanced at them and didn't care. He lowered his head and squatted down, looking at the 3 generations of Raikage whose chest and abdomen were directly penetrated by the Chakrata sword. Even, Hefeng only needs to stare slightly, and he can clearly see the internal organs of the 3rd generation Raikage that has been severely damaged. It looked very disgusting. However, for the Zephyr who is a medical student, such a picture is not completely unacceptable. Your vitality is really tenacious. Hefeng squatted down and praised the 3 generations of Lei Ying. Although the stand is different, the camp is different, but for the 3 generations of Raikage's personality, Hefeng is still very admired. Able to delay time for the sake of partners, hesitate to fight tens of thousands of ninjas, until he died of exhaustion. This kind of thing can't be done just by cherishing one's companions. Any last words? Hefeng said softly before it turned out to the other party. Let the 3 generations of Raking explain his own funeral. Let it go. The 3 generations of Lei Ying's voice were intermittent, and it took a long time to squeeze out a complete sentence. My companion. Such a serious injury made him realize that he could not escape at all. Advertisement. It is destined to die here. But at least, let his subordinates return to Union Village. He is a subordinate that he cherishes. If possible, the 3 generations of Raking naturally hope that Hefeng can let these people go. Otherwise, with the strength of the gentle wind, wanting to get rid of these ninjas is just a matter of flying thunder god. The 3 generations of Raikage stared at Hefeng, his eyes looked extremely sincere. But in his heart, it was very surprised. He never dreamed that he would be planted in Hefeng's hands. An 8-year-old kid. In fact, the 3 generations of Raikage lurking at the border of the fire country were not for spying on intelligence. But, advance force. Whether it is strength or speed, he is one of the best in Union Village. Consoled the opponent silently. I was thinking about taking people, eliminating the border post, and opening a road leading directly to Muyein Village. Who knows, the first Konoha ninja I encountered was the monster Hefeng. Not to mention that the task was not completed, the entire subordinates must explain to themselves. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi. Even if there is a subordinate who can leave here alive, it's also a good thing. At least, it can also allow the 2nd generation of Raikage-sama to understand the information of Konoha Hidden Village. Be prepared in advance. Bring my body back to Yunlei Gorge. Cough. While talking, the 3rd generation of Lei Ying coughed up a mouthful of blood, looking very weak. And these words were almost his last request. Hope Hefeng can agree. But in any case, Hefeng is only 8 years old physically and mentally, not an 8-year-old child. This is war, and it was the largest war in the ninja world in history. And, because of the geographical location of the country of fire, and abundant resources. The first Ninja World War was almost Konoha Hidden Village, with one enemy for. The kindness to the enemy is the cruelty to oneself. This is the truth. Where does Hefeng know? Do you think I will promise you this kind of thing? Advertisement. After pondering for a moment, Hefeng asked back. Including the 3 generations of Raking, he didn't plan to let it go. Even if, at the beginning of the 3rd generation of Raikage, he thought about letting himself go. Yes, is it? 3 generations of Raikage's eyes became deeper. As if in his heart, he had expected this situation a long time ago. Run. Immediately afterwards, the 3rd generation of Raikage's throat stretched out and burst into an unprecedented roar. Lei Dun Chakra, who had disappeared for a while, burst out from the 3rd generation of Lei Ying again, covering his whole body. The thunder and lightning crackled, and the right hand of the 3rd generation of Raking was also held into a finger. Hell stab, a consistent hand. The 3 generations of Raikage returned to the light and once again became the strongest spear, heading straight to the heart of the breeze. Since you don't want to, then go to death with me. The 3 generations of Raing's eyes are fierce, and the face is fierce, like a wicked spirit, trying to kill with one blow. In his opinion, he approached the enemy who hadn't died. This is the rashness and conceit of the wind. At the same time, I also gave myself a great opportunity. After hearing the words of the 3 generations of Lei Ying, the Yunren ran away without saying a word. Seeing this, Sarutobi Hizen quickly took out the shuriken from his body, and then threw it at the Yunren. Next second, Sarutobi Rishi quickly formed seals with both hands, the technique of multiple shadow clones shuriken. With the activation of ninjutsu, the shuriken thrown out by him began to change from 1 to 2, and from 2 to 4. More and more, densely packed. Pursue them towards Yun Ren. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The slower ninja was directly overtaken by Sarutobi's shuriken and killed instantly. But even Sarutobi Hizen, the ninjas that can be eliminated are very limited. But, at this moment, the Konoha ninjas at the border post also rushed here. After all, Suzuo Nohu, who has just been released by the wind, is hundreds of meters tall. How could these ninjas guarding the border posts not be able to see them? The result came into the scene before their eyes. Surprisingly, it was the last of the 3 generations of raking to use the last consistent hand, which was close to the breeze. It seems to use this trick to die with him. Gentle style. Xiaochun, who witnessed this scene, changed his face on the spot. Chapter 317 A monster with 5 chakra attributes. 2 more. Advertisement. Danzo and others who rushed to the scene looked shocked. Although they didn't know who the 3rd generation Raikage was, they could feel how terrifying his ninjutsu was. That level of thunder done, in their cognition, has never seen anyone use it. For a while, I couldn't help but squeeze a cold sweat for the breeze. Worried that he would die prematurely. After all, he is the most shocking genius in the history of Konoha Yin village. Gentle style. Xiaochun couldn't help shouting. However, the breeze under the eyes of everyone did not die on the spot. Although the 3 generations of raking seemed to be dying, Hefeng did not relax. On the contrary, he has been tensing his nerves. Just to prevent the 3rd generation of Raikage from suddenly coming to do this. Although I have already had prevention in my heart, but in this situation, I can once again use my consistent hand. The next 3 generations of raking are really terrifying. Hefeng thought to himself. But this time, he didn't use the technique of Flying Thunder God to dodge. Although that is the safest way to deal with it. But he still resolutely chose not to evade. Hefeng took a deep breath, raised his right hand, bending his 4 fingers, leaving only 1 index finger. Then, the kaleidoscope's ability to write round eyes is activated. Subtly captured the trajectory of the 3 generations of Raikage's consistent hand. Next second, Hefeng raised his index finger and aimed at the offensive of the 3rd generation of Raikage. Lei Dun Chakra mode. Lei Dun Chakra, which is exactly the same as the 3 generations of Lei Ying, burst from Hefeng, covering his whole body. Hell stab, a consistent hand. The wind roared and used the same moves as the 3 generations of Raikage. Rumble. Accompanied by the thunder of loud noises, the 2 index fingers collided strongly, bursting out a terrifying air current, spreading out in all directions. In an instant, Xiaochun and the others who rushed up directly flew out. Rao is a genius who has become shinobu at a young age. It was not spared either, the chest was directly hit by this force, and his feet left the ground uncontrollably. Flew out, hit a big tree with his back, rolled down from above, and fell to the ground. And a girl like Xiaochun spouted blood on the spot. This shows how terrifying the power erupted by Hefeng in the 3rd generation of Raikage. But, 3 generations of Raikage's heart is more frightened. Advertisement. Although he was on the verge of death for a while, he forced his body to release a consistent hand. But I have to say, under the backlight, under the care of companions. Let the 3 generations of raking completely surpass themselves at this moment. His current hell stab is a consistent hand, infinitely close to the peak state in the future. However, he also used a consistent gentle breeze, and did not show any signs of defeat. On the contrary, he is evenly matched with the 3 generations of Raikage. Completely blocked the opponent's offensive. So strong and consistent. Hefeng expressed emotion in his heart for the strength of his opponent. If it weren't for the time before I met him, I punched in so many times. I am afraid, it really may not be his opponent. The scariest thing is, the current 3 generations of raking are still very young and have not yet ushered in his era. Unfortunately, he never had the opportunity to improve. The 3 generations of raking that should have been frightening and famous was completely strangled in the cradle by the gentle wind. A shock wave finally separated the 2 forcibly, and the wind retreated again and again, only 8 feet away before stopping. However, the 3rd generation of Raikage flew out on the spot, hitting the ground with his back heavily, and tumbling for several consecutive laps before he could stop. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. All kinds of internal organs are scattered all over the place. The blood is flowing. I saw the 3 generations of Lei Ying tumbling out and slapped on the ground, both eyes widened, staring at the wind, and the whole person was full of unwillingness. But they are powerless to change. Even he is not the opponent of Hefeng, an 8-year-old kid. His breathing gradually disappeared, and his heartbeat also stopped. The outcome has been divided and the decision is made. It's almost. Hefeng looked at the 3rd generation of Lei Ying, then glanced down at his palm. Until now, his palm is still a little trembling. It is not difficult to see how tyrannical the 3 generations of Raikage's consistent hands are. But, Hefeng took a deep breath and looked to the other side of the forest. Although the 3 generations of Raikage's desperate fight did not have any effect, but he created opportunities for his companions. An opportunity to retreat. Although Sarutobi Hizen used the Shadow Clone Shuriken technique to solve several Yunren, some of them disappeared from their sight. Even if you want to catch up at this time, I'm afraid you can't catch up. And the credit for all this is undoubtedly the 3 generations of raking. Forget it. Advertisement. Hefeng shook his head. The top priority now is not to investigate the whereabouts of the ninjas at all, but report this matter to the village as soon as possible. The First Ninja World War is here. Hefeng thought to himself. But, as for the Second Ninja World War, the Third Ninja World War. From Hefeng's point of view, it seems unnecessary. Perhaps, I can create a new era. There is no unified ninja world between the pillars because he feels that one generation can only do the things of one generation. But myself, maybe you can. Hefeng's eyes narrowed slightly, and a plan suddenly occurred in his heart. At the same time, Danzo and others got up from the ground, their eyes focused on Hefeng. A boss with eyes widened, he couldn't accept it in his heart. Gentle, Lei Dun just used, isn't it too exaggerated? Wait, what happened to the thunder escape just now, and when did you learn such a strong thunder escape? Taking the wind could not help but take a breath. I just feel that the cognition of Lei Dun has collapsed. Yan didn't get there either, and he observed that Kato Feng finally used the same thunder escape as the Union Village ninja. Combined with his writing wheel, let him think of a certain possibility. Couldn't Hefeng copy the opponent's ninjutsu with the writing round eyes, right? Copy ninjutsu. Xiaochun and others could not help but exclaim. Danzo only felt his mentality collapsed. Counting the previous wind escape, fire escape, water escape, earth escape. Doesn't this mean that Hefeng is a genius who is proficient in the 5 chakra attributes, just like Sarutobi Rishi? Thinking of this, the corners of Danzo's mouth twitched. I was jealous and hated again for his natural talent. Only Sarutobi Hizen, forcibly suppressing his shock, returned to Hefeng in 3 steps and 2 steps. I couldn't help asking him, what should Yun Ren, who ran away, do? Do you want to chase? Although Sarutobi Hizen felt it was difficult to catch up, he still asked. In fact, there are many ways a ninja wants to send out information. Even if he catches up now, kill those ninjas. The information should also be sent back. Such as, Psychic Beasts. Chapter 318 The 4 ninja villages officially declare war on Konoha. One more. Advertisement. The 3 generations of Raikage's final return to light gave the Yunren the only chance to escape. Although Sarutobi Hisaki's shadow clone Shuriken took the lives of several people, several ninjas managed to escape from the border of the country of fire. And brought back the most important information to the 2nd generation Raikage. However, when the 2nd generation Raikage heard the news of the tragic death of the 3rd generation Raikage, his face suddenly became pale. According to the description of these few Yunren, the death of the Golden Horn and the Silver Horn suddenly appeared in his mind. The grandson between the pillars. Although it is not clear why Hefeng opened the writing wheel, the 2nd generation Raikage is sure that the 8-year-old kid that the 3rd generation Raikage has encountered. It's definitely the Zephyr. The Mu Dun Wood Dragon technique he once used is the best proof. The Yunren who brought the information back knelt on one knee, and sweat beaded on their foreheads, like a big bean. His back was wet, but when they thought of Hefeng's terrifying strength, they didn't know what else they could do under the circumstances at the time. Nothing can be done at all. Unexpectedly, the grandson between the pillars is really getting better and better. The 2nd generation Raikage took a deep breath and muttered to himself. The strength of the 3 generations of Raikage, I am afraid no one knows better than him. His ninjutsu was taught to him by himself. It is no exaggeration to say that the strength of the 3 generations of Raikage is much more powerful than the combined strength of the Golden Horn and the Silver Horn. Even, I once wanted to appoint him as the next generation of Raikage after the war. As a result, he died in Hefeng's hands like this. The 2nd generation Raikage could not help clenching his fists. Feeling furious. Originally, I was thinking that it would be better to strike first, taking advantage of the chaos in Konoha Yin village, and take the lead in attacking. Use the powerful personal abilities of the 3 generations of Raikage to first eliminate the border ninjas at the border of the Land of Fire. Then aggressively attacked, cooperate with Wuyin village's offense and take down Muyein village. However, my own plan was directly broken. The current Konoha hidden village, I'm afraid it will be more alert. Do you want to give up at this time? Do not. After a lot of entanglement in his heart, the 2nd generation of Lei Ying still made up his mind resolutely and resolutely. Not only should he not back down. On the contrary, the death of 3 generations of Raikage made him completely determined. If you don't take advantage of Hefeng's growth, kill him. In the future, there will only be endless troubles. Advertisement. Once the Hefeng reaches his peak, the consequences will be disastrous. I never want to be forced to sign a peace agreement by Konoha Hidden Village. The 2nd generation of Raikage's thoughts returned to the real world. He looked around and looked at the cronies who followed him. I noticed that everyone's sights were all focused on myself. If this is the case, I announce that I will officially declare war on Konoha Hidemura. Assemble all the ninjas above the middle ninja in Union Village and attack Konoha. Even if it is conservatively estimated, the 2nd generation Raikage is determined in his heart. Assembling a ninja army of thousands of people is basically no problem. No matter how strong Hefeng is, his chakra cannot be a bottomless pit. Once chakra is exhausted, any ninja can destroy him. The most important is, Raikage too firmly believes that they will definitely not be the only ninjas attacking Konoha this time. Any foresighted shadow will not miss this opportunity. For a time, not only did Union Village not choose to give up because of the sacrifice of the 3 generations of Raikage, on the contrary, they directly assembled a ninja troop of thousands of people, and rushed toward Muyein Village mightily. And this time, directly led by the 2nd generation of Lei Ying. At the same time, Hefeng will naturally not conceal the affairs of the 3 generations of Raikage. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi, especially in this period. As soon as the pillars die, the peace agreement becomes a fragile waste paper. The First Ninja World War may break out at any time. It has already happened. Therefore, Kazuka directly ordered Sarutobi Hizen to bring this matter to the door, so that he could be prepared. And he stayed with others. If you didn't guess wrong, Union Village will gather ninja troops to attack Konoha Yin Village in a short time. This incident shocked Danzo and others to a great extent. Everyone is very nervous. But they had no choice but to pray that the war would not come, they didn't know what else they could do. However, Sarutobi Hizen took the heavy responsibility and returned to Shinobu Village alone. In order not to delay the opportunity, he dared not delay a moment. Finally returned to the Hokage building. Seeing the Onbi ninja, Sarutobi Hizen didn't have time to explain anything, so he could only tell them to retreat, because they had important things. Need to meet with Master Shujian. Taking into account that Sarutobi Hizen is the disciple of Feijian. These dark ninjas had no choice but to let them go. After arriving at the door of the office of the door, Sarutobi Hizen didn't even bother to knock on the door, so he pushed the door and walked in. Advertisement. Saw the horrible room. My lord, the big thing is not good. Sarutobi Hizen said anxiously, but found that the situation in the door seemed to be worse than himself. Actually, the border that has gone wrong is not the only northern forest guarded by gentle winds. Hidden Fog Village, Sand Hidden Village, and Yenian Village. They tore up the peace agreement and officially declared war on Konoha Yin Village. And every Shinobu village is almost using the power of the village to attack Konoha. Today's Konoha Hidden Village can be said to be enemies on all sides. And it should be an ally, the country of Uzumaki that has been repaired for generations. But it hasn't sent ninjas to support them for a long time. Seeing Sun Slash again, Feijian's mood became even worse. In order to ensure that Union Village would not launch a sneak attack, he deliberately transferred the Hefeng to the border post in the northern forest. Sarutobi Hizen, as Hefeng's subordinate, went with him. Now come back here suddenly. It just proved that there was a problem with the border. Okay. Sarutobi nodded, affirmed his conjecture, and unreservedly stated what he had encountered with Hefeng. Although Hefeng killed 3 generations of Raikage, copying the opponent's Lei Dun chakra mode shocked Feijian. But in the current situation, he really couldn't give birth to any joy. There was almost no change in expression during the door. But it's really a clear decision to confess the northern forest to the wind. If he didn't stop the opponent in time, the consequences would be unimaginable. According to the information provided by Sarutobi Hizen, Feijian felt that the 3 generations of Raikage were very likely to be the advanced troops. The purpose is to uproot the border post, so that the subsequent ninja troops can launch surprise attacks. As a result, their plan was interrupted by the gentle wind. This is undoubtedly good news for the village. In this way, there will be no way to summon Hefeng back to the village. I couldn't help but sigh in my heart. Chapter 319 Early Death is the script of Genius 2 more. Advertisement. Hefeng is the grandson of his eldest brother Zujian and his most important family member. If possible, I would also like to call Hefeng back to protect him. Don't let him get hurt. However, now this situation. Rao is the time, and my heart is also very embarrassed. You see, Hefeng is his cherished grandson, an existence he vowed to guard firmly. Yu Gong, Gentle Wind is a very important combat power of Konoha Yin Village. The Uchiha clan has just rebelled, if Uchiha Kenichi is released at this time. In my mind, I couldn't help but think of Kenichi, who also upgraded to a kaleidoscope of writing round eyes. His strength is unquestionably strong. But the problem is also very serious. In order to become Hokage, Uchiha Kenichi did not hesitate to stage a coup and even kidnapped Uzumaki Mito. Use a kaleidoscope to write the power of the wheel eyes to make Mito run away and trigger the power of Kyuubi. Even if Sheni is released now, who can guarantee that he will not betray the village at this time? After thinking about it, I had no choice but to suppress this idea. As a last resort, he didn't plan to use the power of Uchiha's clan. Anyway, you go back first. I estimated the combat power at the border. In fact, the frontier post in charge of Hefeng is just a stronghold on the border of the Fire Country. There are a total of 8 strongholds like this in the entire border forest. At every border post, there is a ninja unit in charge. The captains who led the team were also Shangren in the village. Together, there are almost 70 or 80 ninjas. After thinking about it for a while, I decided to dispatch some Onbi ninjas to go back with Sarutobi Hizen. And repeatedly explained, in any case, we must guard the border forest of the country of returning fire. The ninja troops in Union Village must not be allowed to leap over. Hefeng will take care of you. He put his hands on his chest, looked directly at Sarutobi Hisaki's eyes, and said with a serious face. Although Hefeng's strength was strong enough to crush Sarutobi Hizen, he was only an 8-year-old kid after all. Or his grandson, Master Shujian. Sarutobi recut the corner of his mouth and couldn't help taking a breath, his face looked a little embarrassed. As a disciple of Feijian, he should naturally follow Feijian's explanation and take good care of the harmony. But, he really couldn't think of a situation where Hefeng needs to take care of himself. As far as the mind is concerned, Gentle Breeze is a genius. Advertisement. Otherwise, he would not develop so many powerful ninjutsu, and easily learn the ninjutsu of others. In terms of strength, Hefeng has not only the blood succession boundary between the pillars, the wooden escape technique, but also the huge chakra and perception ability of the Maelstrom family. Right now, opened the kaleidoscope writing wheel eye again. If I fight with the wind now, I'm afraid I won't be able to hold on for a round. It will only be killed by him on the spot. Sarutobi Hizen couldn't help complaining in his heart. When he met 3 generations of Raikage, the strength gap between the two sides once made him feel desperate. If it weren't for the gentle breeze, I would really have to confess there. And so, let yourself take care of the breeze. Do not make jokes. However, even though Sarutobi Hizen thought so in his heart, he still didn't say it. He just took a deep breath and assured him that no matter what, he would protect the wind and make sure he is safe. Then, Sarutobi Hizen turned and left here, ready to return to the border post. Just when he walked to the door, he stopped, and the light from the corner of his eye focused on the body of the door. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, Master Phagian, this time the village can tide over the difficulties. Sarutobi slashed in a low voice. But for the answer, he felt that it was difficult even for Master Shujian. Most definitely. After thinking for a while, said. Okay. Sarutobi nodded heavily, then left Hokage's office and closed the door smoothly. But, he did not leave, but leaned on the door, in a complicated mood. I thought that the establishment of Ninja Village could bring peace to the ninja world. As a result, I didn't expect that as soon as the Lord between the pillars died, the fighting would reignite. And, this time the war was fiercer than any previous one. The most terrifying thing is that this time it is not the 5 ninja villages fighting each other and fighting each other. Union Village, Wuin Village, Cheyenne Village, Yenian Village. They seem to have reached a consensus and attack Konoha together. Thinking of this, Sarutobi couldn't help but lower his head and looked at his right hand. He spread out his 5 fingers, stared at his palm, and then clenched into a fist. It looked like he was about to hold something firmly in his hand. After all, my strength is still too weak. Advertisement. Sarutobi Hitoshi said to himself, he felt that if his strength was stronger, perhaps something can be changed. I hope the village will be all right. Sarutobi Hichi cleared up his mood, set off again, and took the Ondi ninja that he had handed over to him. Plus those ninjas at the border post. There are about 200 people who can be used for the Japanese style. But then again, Master Phagian, do you want Hefeng to command these ninjas and fight Union Village? On the way back to the border post, Sarutobi Hizen reacted violently, according to his knowledge of geographic location. The frontier post in the northern forest is to fight against the forces of Union Village. In other words, Hefeng will be the captain of this 200-man ninja unit, with Union Village, and even raking. Compete. This kind of thing directly shocked Sarutobi Hizen for a whole year. Hefeng is only 8 years old this year. No, if it's a gentle breeze. Sarutobi shook his head. He immediately denied this stupid idea. If it is a gentle breeze, how can he measure his level at the age of 8? Even an 80-year-old ninja is not as good as he is. Unless, 6 immortals. But then again, the 6 immortals, after all, are an illusory legend. However, just when Sarutobi Hizen left the village with Ondi Ninja, above the Naruto rock that is being repaired, a man wearing a hat suddenly appeared, looking down at the Konoha hidden village under his feet. If you observe carefully, you will find that he does not have the skin that ordinary people should have. The whole body was pitch black, and it looked more like a shadow standing on the ground. The corners of his mouth were raised, a smile appeared, showing white teeth. These are the only 2 colors on him. Everything went according to my plan. I planned to let the pillars die a few years later. It's a pity, but it can't be helped. That kid Hefeng completely exceeded my expectations. If he continues to let him go, he might become the next 6 Dao immortal. It's better to make him a history with the help of this ninja world war. After all, death early is the script of a genius. Chapter 326 Shadow Level Powerhouses. One more. Advertisement. Sarutobi Hitoshi took the Ondi ninja assigned to him by the door and returned to the border post on the border of the Fire Country. Hefeng, Hizen is back. He first noticed that Hizen took the wind and quickly walked back to the lounge of the border post, and notified Hefeng of the incident. Hefeng heard this, without saying anything, took everyone to the open space of the border post. Anbu Ninja. At a glance, Hefeng frowned. The costume of the Ondi ninja is very uniform, and the animal pattern mask is very iconic. In Hefeng's impression, Ondi should be a group of 4, under the command of the team leader. However, the Ondi ninja who followed Sarutobi Hitoshi's body could be described as black and overwhelming. There are hundreds of people. Hefeng took a deep breath, made 3 steps in 2 steps, and walked in front of Hizen. In this situation, even without Sarutobi Rishi's words, Hefeng could guess what happened. The war is about to begin. Gentle style. Sarutobi Hiri slightly lowered his head and looked at the 8-year-old Zephyr. His face looked a little gloomy. In such a situation, Sarutobi Hazaki didn't know how to laugh. Danzo, Xiaochun, Yan, Hufeng and others stood behind Hefeng, and they couldn't help but feel an ominous premonition. What happened? Danzo took a deep breath and asked Hizen. The war is coming. Rizan spoke slowly, revealing this terrible message to everyone. Wuin Village, Cheyenne Village, Yenian Village. All the ninjas were dispatched and officially declared war on the village. As soon as this remark came out, the audience was in an uproar except for the gentle wind. Is what you said true? It's a lie, Hizen, what you said must be a lie, right? Ninja world finally restored peace, how could it? The faces of Xiaochun and others suddenly turned pale, and it was difficult to accept such news in their hearts. However, the Onbi ninja behind Sarutobi Hattori was bloody proof. If the war hadn't really broken out, why should so many ninjas arrive at the border post where Hefeng is? Okay. There was only a gentle breeze, only a slight frown, without showing a shocked expression. As a traverser, he has a certain degree of understanding of the timeline of Naruto. The death of Zhu Jian became the fuse of the First Ninja World War, which he had known for a long time. Advertisement. Moreover, Konoha was the central country at that time. It is indeed a situation of one enemy four. The most terrifying thing is that Shinshojian really won the battle. As far as Hefeng knows, with his superb strategy and excellent fighting talent, Feijian forcibly took Konoha Hidden Village and won the First Ninja World War. It was also after this that other ninja villages began to imitate the ninja system and system established by Fengjian, and drastically reformed the ninja village. If the pillars are the ninja who built the Shinobu village, that is the ninja who created the system. If it weren't for the end of the First World War, the Golden Horn and Silver Horn rebelled, and the second generation of Raikage and Fei were desperately killed. Fang Jian's status in Konoha will only be high and not low. When he thought of this, Hefeng felt sorry for what happened to him. And he couldn't understand how the shrewd world would die in the death of the Golden Horn and Silver Horn. Those two guys obviously couldn't beat Raikage for 3 generations. The plot needs. No matter what he thinks, Hefeng feels that this is a plot need. But, Hefeng shook his head, and set aside the issue of the Golden Horn and the Silver Horn. Due to the relationship between their own travel, these two goods died one after another. It's not a concern at all. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. What really needs to worry about is the next war. Because of my own influence, the timeline went wrong. The first ninja war that was supposed to happen only a few years later. Several years in advance, it can be said that the first Ninja World War was a game between the second generation of movies. But now, the first generation movies have not all died yet. And these people are all heroes who have enough courage and strength to build Shinobu Village. I am afraid that the strength will be stronger than that of the second generation film. The column is a good example, especially Yinian Village and Cheyenne Village. The first generation plus the second generation means that their village now has 2 strong shadow level players. And, Hefeng remembers that the second generation Water Shadow Ghost Lantern phantoms the moon, and the second generation Tu Yingwu. The two of them should have died together during the first Ninja World War. To a certain extent, this incident can be regarded as saving the country by a curve. Helped Konoha to reduce the pressure of war. But now, the second generation of Water Shadow Ghost Lantern Wanyu was killed when he was in the country of Wave. Naturally, nothing will die together. Advertisement. Speaking of Wuyin Village, Hefeng's brain functions quickly, crazily recalling the story of Hokage he knew. At this moment, he felt that his brain was comparable to the speed of a central processing unit. At the first 5 Shadows meeting, Ghost Lantern Wanyu did not attend. Hefeng recalled the first 5 Shadows meeting. It was the first generation filmmakers to attend. Muyayan Village, Cheyenne Village, Yinian Village, and Union Village. The second generation film stood behind to accompany him. Only here in Wuyin Village, behind the first generation Water Shadow Balian, is the third generation Water Shadow. This also means that although the Ghost Lantern Wanyu in Wuyin Village was killed by the wind, in their village, there are still 2 shadow-level powerhouses. The first generation of Water Shadows and the third generation of Water Shadows. Thinking of this, Hefeng couldn't help taking a breath. Think about it so deeply. If Cheyenne Village, Yinian Village, and Wuyin Village attack Konoha at the same time, the worst will happen. In 1,000 hands, at the same time face the powerhouses of 6 shadow-level strengths. Even if it's 1,000 hands, you can't get out of it all. Hisaka, what you said, is it true? Hefeng couldn't help but speak. He really hoped that Sarutobi Hazaki could make a joke with himself. However, how could a person like Sarutobi Hisaki be joking about this kind of thing? This is the first ninja war in history. Although I also hope it can be fake, but, unfortunately, Hefeng, this thing is true. And it's Master Shujian, who told me personally. Besides, he told me. Sarutobi Hizen paused for a while, and continued, he hopes that you can serve as his commander in wartime, leading the frontier ninjas and these dark ninjas. Resist the attack of Union Village. As soon as this remark came out, everyone present took a breath. What? The Anbu ninjas were dumbfounded. Although they knew that they came here to prevent Union Village from invading, they gave the highest command to an 8-year-old kid. It was still far beyond their expectations. Even if Hefeng is a genius that shocks the world, this kind of thing still surprised them. Master Feijian, really rest assured that he will hand over the command of the war to the 8-year-old Hefeng.